Welcome inside the Pewter pregame show here in week 7 of the 2021 NFL season as the Bucs take on the Chicago Bears. I'm John Ledyard of PewterReport.com. With me today on this wonderful pregame show to get you ready for this matchup. The Bucs trying to get to 6-1. The one and only JC Allen, fresh off a suspension. JC, what's going on, man? Are you excited for today's game?
I'm back. Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait. This is I keep thinking every week this is going to be the game that they turn around everything, penalties, such and mental mistakes. Last year was the Bears, so hopefully this year, this game is going to be the same sort of catalyst.
You did there. Yeah, last year was a Bear. Yeah. No, I think this is a game that has a lot of potential. We're also we're focused. We're trying to see how the Panthers-Falcons game ends too. So if you see us looking around, it's because we're looking to see how the Panthers and Falcons games end today, so we can keep you up. Did he just get pulled?
Yeah.
Okay. Yikes. All right. Panthers 0-3 or Panthers 3-0 start was fun while it lasted for sure. I remember fielding some questions on that one. We'll talk about that as we get deeper into the show. But yeah, this is a game where both these teams, Josh, are going to be going through it because of the walking wounded on both sides of this thing. We'll get to the injury reports in a second. We are going to be live with you right up until kickoff, and then through kickoff, throughout the game, we'll be with you as well. Paul Atwal and myself will be doing play-by-play, running you through everything, X's and O's analysis and takeaways as we go through the game. We'll be breaking things down as it happens, talking player evaluation, talking schematic things of that nature, and having some fun as we always do. And a bunch of you always jump in and join us on the live show, so we're excited for that for today. When kickoff happens at 4:25, you can just stick right here, and we'll just take over. This same stream will be where it's at. So we're also excited, Josh, because today's show, as all of our all of our pregame shows, are brought to you by Celsius powers active lives every day with essential functional energy. Look, you've got a little Celsius shrine going over there. I love it. I've got the Celsius Peach Vibe that I'm rocking today. The white sparkling peach edition. No sugar, no crash, but unbelievable taste in Celsius. Game changer taste, I would say, in Celsius. The best energy drink that there has ever been and ever probably will be. Peach Vibe is a top 5 flavor. You've got, jackfruit there and blue pomegranate, right?
Blue pomegranate. I'm sipping on the blue pomegranate. Yeah. I had to put it in the Pewter Report cup, get it on ice a little bit. But I would definitely agree with you. I think this Celsius is probably the Bret Hart of energy drinks, right? The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Blaine Gabbert of energy drinks, some people could say. But no, it's terrific stuff for Celsius. The flavor is what really is amazing to me. The fact that they can get such good taste without it being bad for you is tremendous. So you can find Celsius. So use your store locator over at Celsius.com and find out where they're sold near you. They're sold a lot of places now, so it shouldn't be very difficult to find them in stores, or you can just order them online. Go to Amazon and use the subscribe and save option to order Celsius. Get yourself a variety pack, try a bunch of different flavors. Lots of fun ways to consume Celsius, and you'll always see people as they jump in here dropping their favorite flavors in the chat, so you can get some recommendations on where to go as well. So man, crazy Sunday around the league already, JC. I mean, you've got the Chiefs getting absolutely walloped right now by the Titans. Quickly scores around the league, and then we'll jump right into the Bucs and Bears matchup. We got the Titans up 27-3 on the Chiefs with 9 minutes left in that game. Chiefs are in the red zone right now. Giants up 15-3 with the ball over Carolina. 11.5 minutes left in that one. As you said, Sam Darnold yanked already in that game. You've got New England up 34-13 over the Jets. That one just started the fourth quarter. Feels pretty over. Atlanta up 27-14 on Miami. Miami is in the red zone, so that one not over yet. 10:20 left in that game. Tua just threw one of the worst picks you'll ever see in your life. Green Bay up 24-7 on Washington. 9.5 minutes left in that one. Washington's driving, but good luck there, fellas. Cincinnati up 27-17 on Baltimore. Baltimore does have the football. Cincinnati was just in position. I'm not sure what happened there, but 10-point lead for the Bengals with 12:50 left in that game. We'll see what happens with Lamar and company. Okay, let's talk about this matchup, JC, and we'll start with the injuries. The Bucs, a lot to overcome in this one. I'll go through the injuries real quick, and then I'll ask you which one you think will be most impactful today as they take the field. But right now, out is Scotty Miller's on injured reserve. Obviously, Sean Murphy-Bunting and Carlton Davis, the starting corners, remain on injured reserve. Richard Sherman is also out, but he will be kind of coaching from the sideline because defensive backs coach Kevin Ross is also, our cornerbacks coach Kevin Ross is also out on the COVID list. So cornerbacks coach, 3 of the top 4 corners. It's getting a little rough out there for the Bucs cornerback room. Antonio Brown is also out of this game with an ankle sprain. Rob Gronkowski still out with those ribs. Levante David with his ankle sprain. The hope is that AB, Gronk, Levante David, maybe all could be back next week against the Saints. We'll see. Today, got to take care of business. So Jason Pierre-Paul and O.J. Howard will play. They were listed as questionable, but they'll play. Of the players the Bucs will be missing for this game, JC, who do you feel like is the most impactful loss for them today?
I still think it's Levante David. I mean, look at the defense. You know, he just covers so much ground. He's one of the best coverage linebackers in the game. His presence is felt leadership, energy-wise, tackling-wise, which is something, of course, we know the Bucs have had plenty of struggles, and it's just another place to target. You know, Kevin Minter, love him, great guy. You know, great fill-in football player when it's a game or maybe a half a game or going into like 2-3 games. It's definitely Levante David for me. I think they can overcome Gronk, especially against this defense. They can overcome Antonio Brown with Tyler Johnson stepping up. At corner, I mean, Richard Sherman, was he really doing that much great anyways prior to the injury? And with Antoine Winfield Jr. back, you get Mike Edwards in that versatile role back. So I think it's Levante David for me, hands down.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is down on the field right now, by the way. Took a nasty shot trying to throw while he was falling down. He is getting up really slow, and he's very groggy. That might be it for him today. We'll see. The linemen are basically carrying him to the sideline right now, so we'll keep monitoring that one. But, yeah, he was trying to throw and went down, and as he was throwing, took another hit while he was falling down. He took somebody's knee right to his face, it looks like. That didn't look great for sure. So we'll keep you monitored on that one. Yeah. Yikes. I think you're right about Levante David, though, JC. It's a good point on him. But on the other side, you have the Bears with just an absolute ridiculous amount of injuries in this game, too. Akeem Hicks, their starting defensive tackle, their best defensive tackle, is out of this game. Robert Quinn, who's not tied for 9th in the NFL in sacks with 5.5, he's out as well on the COVID list. So those are 2 big losses up front. Khalil Mack's going to play, but he was questionable and barely practiced all week. He's been playing with a foot injury lately, despite not much practice. Still a beast, obviously. Looks like Bilal Nichols will play too, I believe, defensive tackle. He was questionable. He didn't practice Thursday or Friday at all. So that was a little surprising that he's going to give it a go. We'll see how he looks. Deshaun Gibson, one of their number 2 safety, and then Deion Bush, their number 3 safety, are both out of this game. Gibson just out this week. Bush on injured reserve. Earlier in the week, David Montgomery is on injured reserve as well. They're starting running back. Jimmy Graham was placed on the COVID list this week. Their number 2 tight end. Tariq Cohen remains out. Jermaine Ifedi remains out. Those 2 guys Cohen would be a key third down weapon for them, and the receiving and rushing as a running back, and it sometimes plays wide receiver too. And then Jermaine Ifedi would be a starting offensive lineman for them, and he's been out most of the season or maybe all of the season. And then Tevin Jenkins, who was their 2nd-round pick, was a guy they hoped would start, and he hasn't been out there at all because of injury in preseason. So they're hurting, and they're not at full strength either in this one.
And they just lost an offensive lineman right before the game to the COVID list too. One of their starters. I can't think of his name, trying to look for it off the top of my head, but yeah, they lost another offensive lineman. So yeah, I mean, they are a banged up squad, and a squad, especially you look at the offense, and you named all the offense. This is a team that struggled to get points on the board, and losing all those pieces. And then on the defensive side, trying to stop a team that scores the most in the league is going to be a challenge for this Bears team with all these injuries that they're facing.
Yeah, you're right. Right tackle Elijah Wilkinson. I didn't even see that. He is the starting right tackle now at this point for them. He's not supposed to be, but he's going to be out as well. Let's see if we can figure out who that brings into the lineup here, because he's not very good. In fact, Shaq Barrett beat him for a couple sacks last year when he was with the Broncos.
It's going to be Latavius Simmons.
I don't even. I mean, you know me, right? I don't know who Latavius Simmons is. that's
And
where
they're
that's where
down.
we're at, JC.
They're down to 2 tackles on there. Jason Peters, Latavius Simmons, and then they brought up someone from the practice squad again. I apologize, I don't have his name in front of me, but that's what they're dealing with. They have 3 tackles active today, so they better hope there's no injuries on that side, or else they'll be dealing with a practice squad guy in there. And as you wrote in your Pewter predictions, I think it's time for this D line to feast.
Oh, it's 100% time for this D-line to feast, Josh. And this is a game where you know the Bears are going to try to run the football. They really have no choice. It's not like they want to or believe they can against the Bucs, but they're 7th in the NFL in rushing. It's a good rushing defense. And honestly, Josh, right now, like, what are you going to do? Justin Fields isn't really ready to shoulder that much of a load. So you do have him coming into this game now, and it's like, okay, well, offensively, you got to do something to take pressure on him. If they can't run the football, they're not going to have much of a chance in this game. So that there will be one of the few teams the Bucs play this year that actually try to, not like the Eagles last time where like they get the Bucs in dime defense and they start running it twice, because it's the only way to do it. But I'm talking about like first down to start the game, the Bears are going to run the football. They're going to be one of the few teams on the schedule. So if the Bucs can dominate that aspect of the game, which they typically do, again, we'll see how it goes, and then offensively can do what they need to do, it could be put the Bears in a situation where they have to get way off their game plan early on. That has to be the plan, obviously, for the Bucs. Would be crucial in this game because the Bears can't win. There's not like a lot of paths to victory for the Bears, and without the running game, it's hard to see it for sure. So let's talk about when the Bucs have the ball, JC, first, then looking at them offensively. The Bears, obviously, they are a solid defense. I don't think they're an elite defense like they've been in the past. Can they, hold up against the run if the Bucs decide to go that route? And do you anticipate them trying to run the football a lot in this game?
Well, the statistics say that, sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. They're ranked 16th in the league, letting up 112 yards of rushing per game. But they're missing big players, right? We talked about that. We talked about Robert Quinn. We talked about Akeem Hicks, big guy in the minute. What's his name? Balil what?
Bilal Nichols.
Yeah, Bilal Nichols, he's been banged up as well. So they're dealing with injuries all along that defensive line. Roquan Smith's still one of the best linebackers, one of the top linebackers in the league in tackles, so he can still move and get after the running back. But, the big boys up front will be able to push some bodies around and get to the second level and open up some running lanes. And you got to think that Leonard Fournette is going to be taking advantage of them. So I think this team can get the running game going. I'm not – I wouldn't be surprised if all season Lenny gets his first 100-yard rushing game this matchup against the Bears today.
This game is fun to see. Like, does he get used a lot? Does Giovanni Bernard get used at all in this game? What's Ronald Jones' usage going to be? I think if it stays steady, it'll be a whole lot of Lenny, obviously. But I wonder if this is a game the Bucs really feel like they can take advantage of some things on the ground without Akeem Hicks in the game. I mean, that changes things for the Bears for sure. Robert Quinn is having actually a good year against the run, even though he's typically been more of a pass rusher. So I am very curious to see what the Bucs game plan is. I hope, though, that it's to be very aggressive on first down. Paul mentioned it to us earlier this week, and I think he's right. The last 2 weeks, things have been trending the wrong way a little bit for the Bucs on first down. They're running it okay, but they were finding a lot of explosive plays by throwing on first down. They got away from play action early against the Eagles. It was working for them like crazy early in the game, first couple drives. They were hitting play action. Then they got away from it later in the game. It seems silly to me. That's the time it could have been really effective for them, even by the Bucs, mindset of thinking where like we're gonna run obvious situations. We'll go play action, and they were up, and they could have used more play action. They just didn't use it very much. So do they come out play action heavy in this game? I think that's critical in a game like this. Do they look for their matchups over the middle of the field? No Antonio Brown. How does Tyler Johnson step up in this game? We've seen good things from Tyler Johnson this season. We've also seen. I know everybody raves about his smarts, but he's messed up some routes this year for sure. And he only had a handful of targets. It's gotten better over the last couple of weeks. I think, he's settling in for sure and getting more comfortable. That's the only part I worry about, the chemistry with Brady. I shouldn't even say chemistry, just ability to do what he needs to do in this offense with enough detail to work, because Godwin and Matt Evans had their period of time where it wasn't quite there for them last year. And then boom, it's clicked this year, and they look, very comfortable. Same with AB. Is Tyler Johnson there yet? Does he need a little more time? We'll find that out today, but I know you wrote an article this week about him, and you've got pretty high hopes that he's ready to make an impact in this game.
Yeah, I think he can come in and step up and not be AB, but fill that role. And you kind of mentioned, his routes. I think it's more route recognition and being on the same wavelength with Tom Brady about what he's supposed to do at the top of his route against certain coverages. And you saw some of those misses. You saw Brady actually miss them too once in that Patriots game. Just missed them, over the top a little bit. So, I think he can come in here. Obviously, the coaching staff, Tom Brady's trusted in him. That's huge. You go to a rookie for a huge third down conversion against the Saints. So he's got trust there. He's still looking for him. When he came into that game, against the Rams, he got a little bit of you felt a little bit of energy, a little bit of life. You thought they might bring it back. Obviously, it didn't work out, but I think he can bring a different dynamic. Obviously, good as a receiver, good as a blocker as well. So he brings more of a Godwin-esque, can play inside, outside. Majority of his snaps have seen outside, but he still has a healthy share. 30-something% of his snaps came inside as well. So versatile guy, and I think he's going to be able to step up and make some plays for you.
Yeah, and we'll talk about matchups with Scott here in a few minutes specifically, but I got to mention to you, I mean, obviously the one everybody's looking at is Tristan Wirfs against Khalil Mack, kind of best on best there up front for both teams and how that one's going to go. People remember the hip toss with Mack last year, and they remember that he had the sack on Wirfs, the only sack Wirfs has given up. Wirfs actually played really well in that game. He was handled Mack about as well as anybody does, to be honest, especially considering the Bucs offense and how much longer Brady was holding on the ball then, and how the deep drops and all of that stuff, how many deep shots, all that kind of stuff. Like, it feels like Wirfs kind of got thrown under the bus a little bit for that game because of that one moment really after the play that Wirfs had kind of clearly relaxed and Mack just kind of tossed him. And, but I think that was pretty even matchup last year. And I think, even the sack was kind of like one-armed. It was just kind of this amazing effort by Mack more than it was just horrible pass protection. So how that battle goes today, everybody will have their eyes on that one. Obviously, Mack hasn't given up a sack since that point. We'll see if Max or Wirfs hasn't given up a sack since that point. We'll see if Max is the only guy that can get him. But other good battles up front. I mean, Ali Marpet's having an unbelievable season. Nichols is a really solid player. Goldman's a solid player. The Bears have depth up front. And then at left tackle for the Bucs, Donovan Smith is going up against Travis Gibson, who is actually a pretty good number 3 edge rusher. He's kind of developed into a solid player for the Bears this season, kind of been a surprise guy for them this season. And so there are still some good matchups. The Bears, one place they really do have some solid depth, maybe not the difference makers that they've lost, and like Quinn and Hicks, but there's some solid depth up front for the Bears. And if you're Chicago, a team that hardly ever blitzes, I think they're like second, third, fourth least blitzes in the league. I don't know where it is after these games last week, but they don't blitz very often, hardly at all. And so how's that going to affect things today? If they can't get pressure with 4, do they blitz more, or do they just, hey, Gibson, Nichols, Goldman, you guys are the next guys up. You got to get pressure, even if Hicks and Quinn aren't out there, because blitzing Brady has been pretty futile this season. How they play that's going to be pretty critical to whether they can win or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want to blitz Brady. The Bears have this 8th ranked pass defense, but even so, you look at some of the players back there; they've had a lot of struggles. They're losing to Sean Gibson, as you said today. Eddie Jackson has been really horrendous when it comes to tackling. I know litany of Bears fans I've talked to are not happy with what his performance. And then Jalen Johnson, Kindle Vildor. I think you can really, if you're Tom Brady, really take advantage of those matchups if they're going to send the blitz. Now, you mentioned Donovan Smith, and Donovan Smith has had an incredible start to the season. Let up 1 sack, but he's actually the 8th ranked tackle in the entire football league per PFF's grading. He's just done a phenomenal job. And as for Wirfs versus Mack, I mean, this is something that I know Wirfs has circled, talking to him back in early preseason. Remember, he's saying that, he's excited for this matchup. Circled that hasn't let up a sack other than Mack his entire career. So, yeah, I mean, protection against Brady's always going to be key. And, everyone says, get the Brady up the middle by sending, without blitzing, and they're missing a huge presence there with Akeem Hicks. So I think this line should be able to hold up in pass protection, give Brady plenty of time to throw the ball, and also open up some good rushing lanes for Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, the Panthers are going to lose. The Giants are up big in that one. It's almost over. They are going to get walloped by the Giants, and Sam Darnold's benched. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But they have now lost 4 straight games.
Quarterback PJ Walker.
Yeah, Philip Walker, PJ Walker. Yeah. They have now lost 4 straight games. They play Atlanta next, then New England, then Arizona. So there's still some winnable games in there. But come on, like, they lost to the Cowboys. Okay, then they lost to the Eagles, the Vikings in overtime and then just got ran over by the Giants, and Darnold got benched. So we'll see. Also, Matt Ryan has just fumbled up 27-21. The Falcons are, but he just fumbled, and Miami is taking over at their own 40-yard line with 5:54 left in that game. Tua is in the shotgun working there, trying to get Miami down the field and get them in position to take the lead here. Got a first down there to Jaylen Waddle, but a flag's down now. So we'll see what happens in the NFC South. Looks like the Panthers at least are going to fall to 3-4 and losers of 4 straight. Obviously, the Saints play Monday night, so won't be able to monitor that one for you until that point. So let's talk about the other side of things, JC, when the Bears have the ball. But before we do that, if you're looking for a great place to watch the game today, you got to go over and see our friends over at Whiskey Wings. They've got some unbelievable food, indoor, outdoor bar. They've got a great atmosphere, games, all kinds of stuff going on. There's TV screens everywhere. It's super clean. The food is great. The service is great. The whole layout is great. Whiskey Wings over in Temple Terrace. They got a location over in St. Pete you should check out as well. Just a great place to watch the game, to hang out, a cool environment and everything like that. We've done some pregame shows there, and we'll do a couple more there before the end of the year too, and let you know about those as well. So great place to go out, watch the game, and watch all the games, and maybe stick around and watch tonight's game, the Sunday night game as well over at Whiskey Wings in Temple Terrace, and take in the college football slate. I think that's right. You got all the screens going. There's so many college football games. If you're big college football, great place to watch the games because you've got a bunch going on there. Yeah, the projector. I didn't even mention that. Yeah, they've got so many screens there. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about this when the Bears have the ball, Josh, because this is the tricky part, right? Like, how do the Bears do this thing? How do they pull this thing off? Trick plays, obvious caveat. Bucs beat themselves, missed tackles. The one thing I could say about the Bears, we're trying to be positive for their offense, is that they have not turned the ball over a ton this season. And so maybe if that can continue and the Bucs have a sloppy day like week 1, maybe it becomes a situation where, okay, Chicago sticks around because they're not making the same mistakes Tampa Bay is.
Yeah, it's going to be tough though. I mean, because this team is 30th in the league in points scored. You got to score points to win games. Byron Leftwich said it this past week over his press conferences.
Big take by Byron. Hot take.
Oh, he's so full of big takes. Like, if you want real information, Byron's got it. But I just don't see them being able to move the ball and score enough points. I mean, they're going to try to run the ball. They have a pretty decent rushing offense. I mean, you look at their stats, they're averaging over 129 yards per game, 7th in the league, but you're going up against the number 1 ranked rush defense. So, and Todd Bowles and the guys have been, hey, we let up a 100-yard rushing game last weekend, and they're going to be back to come out with a vengeance and stop it. And I know, like you said, a lot of it was in dime, spread out with Miles Sanders, and the big thing was not containing and letting Jalen Hurts beat you. So that's one thing that you can kind of get from Justin Fields as well. So it's going to be very disciplined when you're rushing, when you're blitzing, because you can't let this guy break out, finishing with your tackles and sacks. You can't let this guy get extra yardage. But you look at what they've been able to do through the air, and it's not good. It's not good at all. They're 32nd in passing offense, 117 yards. And Justin Fields just kind of got him there a few weeks ago. So some of that is on Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket. But yeah, I don't see, even with a banged up secondary like the Bucs have, I just don't see them being able to. Allen Robinson is limping into this game as well. Didn't practice all week, limited practice. I just don't see it. I don't see how they can move the ball to score enough points as the Bucs can against this defense of the Bears. I don't mean, if you see something different, I don't know, but maybe by quick underneath passes, screen passes, relying on, as you said, the Bucs beating themselves and missing tackles and yards after catch, which has still been a problem for the Bucs. So
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you're the Bears, you don't have to run it for 10 yards a pop. You just have to run it efficiently enough to stay in manageable down and distances and convert short passes. Then you possess the ball, you keep it away from the Bucs offense, and maybe you get a blown coverage or two, keep that defense on the field. The Bucs obviously playing with a ton of backups. I mean, you're talking about Jamel Dean. We'll see if Pierre Desir or D. Delaney start today, but Ross Cockrell's out there. And then obviously Winfield coming back helps for the Bucs, especially in terms of getting lined up. He's a guy that's not going to blow many coverages for sure, but it's still, this is not the starting secondary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that you're going against. Most formidable group, and one of their best other coverage players, Levante David's, also out of this game. So there's a path here for the Bears to have more success as a passing offense than they've had in other games this season, for sure. In fact, they would be pretty disappointing. I think if that doesn't happen to some degree for them, which isn't saying much since they're the league's last ranked passing attack. But I think the Bears defensive line or the Bucs defensive line is the group that has to make that not be the case, right, JC? I mean,
Yeah.
Jason Pierre-Paul is playing in this game. He's not practiced all week. If he can't be effective, then Joe Tryon-Shoyinka needs to play a lot in this game. He can be effective. We know that. We know Shaq Barrett can be effective. He's been great this season. Vita Vea has also been great this season. He gets a really good matchup going up against Cody Whitehair in this game. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I mean, just kind of across the board, there's good matchups for the Bucs defensive line. They need to win a lot up front, and they need to win without blitzing. I'm a little bit afraid Bowles says, let's just, not that he shouldn't blitz at all, but he's blitzed less in recent weeks so that he makes life easier for the DBs and stops giving up so many short outlets, checkdowns. And he said, let's blitz less. Let's get there with 4. And I think it's been smart, even though the 4-man rush has been a little hit or miss. I think you have to count on it again today and blitz sparingly, even though you want to get after field some. I'm afraid he might say, let's just go all out again. And the Bears are going to, because so many teams have already attacked him that way, I wonder if they'll have some answers ready if the Bucs take that approach and then Fields gets comfortable, gets in a little bit of a rhythm, or maybe escapes a few pressures as well. They got to keep contained. They didn't do that very well with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's one of the things I wrote in my keys to the game this week is containing and, just being, smart and staying within and being disciplined when you're rushing. You got to make sure that you can't let this guy out, and you get a hand on him, you got to bring him down. But Latavius Simmons, I think they can have some fun with him this week. But you're right too there. Jason Pierre-Paul, it's going to be really interesting to see how effective he can be. Last week he played and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka saw 20 snaps, which apparently was enough for Bruce. I don't, not for me, not for everybody else. I don't think we want to see this guy get out here more. But you got to be able to win without blitzing. And this is a guy too, Justin Fields, who still is having trouble progressing through his reads. I mean, and I get if you blitz him and gives him less time to work, through his reads and get to a second, third read, and has to struggle, panic. That might work too, but you have to just stay disciplined when you're doing it. You can't. I don't think, as you said, you can just go willy-nilly and blitz the entire game. You gotta pick and choose your spots and really get after them and make it count when you do.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you're right. And that's going to be where this game's won or lost for the Bucs defense is up front. I mean, you can, Justin Fields throws for 300 today. We can talk about the secondary all we want, but it's going to be is what it is in that area of the field. The fact that they weren't winning up front enough to prevent the 300-yard performance, that's where the concern will lie. So very, very important that I think that they get on top of things in that way with the defensive line and the pass rush up front. The Bengals are walloping the Ravens, by the way, for people who care there.
Can't believe that.
41-17. Running away with it for sure. There is no certainties. Very few certainties in the NFL this season. It has been a weird year for a lot of these teams. By the way, I believe Miami has just scored. So they are up over the Falcons. 2.5 minutes left in that one for Matt Ryan to make some wonderful magic happen. By the way, for the Bears in this game, JC, David Montgomery, I mentioned that he's on injured reserve. They got Damian Williams back from the COVID list. So that's interesting because he will play some today. Khalil Herbert has played very well for them. Some people remember him, Virginia Tech running back. Scott and I kind of liked him as a day 3 potential guy for the Bucs. Yeah, good solid player. He's been playing well for them too. The scheme is pretty good there, obviously, if they're 3 deep and still getting production. Lots of outside zone. Does Devin White finally get a chance for a big game today? That's the kind of matchups Devin White's done very well with. He's kind of fits that mold for linebackers against that kind of an attack. And again, if you're the Bucs and you're like, man, let's load the box and make them throw on us, which this might be one of the weeks I don't hate that approach. Devin White's got to be licking his chops. I finally might get some run defense snaps when the game matters this week. That could be a big difference for his mojo if he can get going a little bit, JC.
Yeah, this Devin White needs a game. Let's just say what it is. He needs a monster game. He needs to go out there and he needs to make some plays. You wrote a beautiful piece about it in the Bucs briefing about him trying to play hero ball and not being successful at it. We need, we need to see this guy step up and do what he's been doing. It hasn't been very good to watch. Coverage, impact splash plays. You just haven't seen it this year. So, with everything you just said about, the scheme that they're going to be running, he's got to make interception, force fumble, get to the quarterback at least. He's delivered some great pressures, hasn't been able to finish. He's got to do something. I think he's got to be the game changer this week for them to really kind of blow up and get a really signature win, a decisive win. They don't have one of those this season. The games that they have scored a lot of points have been later. That Falcons game and the Dolphins game were later in the game. You need to take control from the get-go, and I think Devin White having a monster game will be a huge part of that.
Yeah, completely agree with you. A reminder, we'll be with you all the way up until kickoff, and then through kickoff, through the entire game. Paul Atwal and I will be with you. We'll be breaking everything down, talking about the game as it happens, doing play-by-play, all of that at 425. We'll be with you up until that, too. We got more pregame coming up now. We got the matchups in this one. We're going to bring on Scott Reynolds to talk about some of the key matchups in this game on the Bucs offense against the Bears defense and the Bucs defense against the Bears offense. Scott, welcome to the show.
How you doing, guys? So we get the Bucs versus Bears matchups, and JC, that one of the matchups that you've talked about that I like is Leonard Fournette. I think he's got a good chance of going over 100 yards today on the ground. It'll be his first 100-yard rushing day, but he's had 3 games, JC, where he's gone over 100 yards of total offense, scoring 3 touchdowns. Yeah, in a row, scoring 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Roquan Smith, like you said, he's been a tackling machine this year. Sometimes those tackles are down the field; they're not at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. So maybe we see some power Lenny today, where he kind of drives Roquan Smith back, still picks up yards, and Smith gets some tackles, but not quality tackles.
Yeah, everyone wants a Leonard segment, right? Everyone wants a post-game Leonard segment. Right. So Leonard, you got to come through. Put your shoulder down, run through some guys. Last week he was carrying some guys on his back, so I want to see more of that. I want to see, he's. And Bruce said it best. He's rounding out his game. He's not just, a reliable running back. He's going back to that year before the Bucs where he had over 70 catches. He's catching the ball cleanly after that first game, confidently, and he's also doing very well in pass protection. So,
yes,
when you are doing a great job in those three aspects of the game, you get more opportunity, you get more rushes, you get more snaps out there, and that's what he's been doing. And when he's been getting those handoffs, he's and those receptions, he's been making the most of it. So just keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about the competition and just pound the rock, Lenny.
Sticking with the offensive side of the ball, Mike Evans versus Jalen Johnson. There's no question Johnson's their best corner. The interesting thing, JC, is the Bears have got a lot of small cornerbacks, right? So you're looking for those mismatches. And without Antonio Brown there with the ability to go deep, he's been the Bucs' best deep threat so far. So without AB there, I think the other mismatch you have to like is the size. 6'5" Mike Evans versus Jalen Johnson, their biggest corner at 6 foot. I don't think they're going to be matched up every single play, but I think that with AB out, Mike Evans has been the most productive receiver in Tampa Bay so far in terms of yards, catches, touchdowns. So it makes some sense to have Jalen Johnson there. We've talked about Tristan Wirfs and Khalil Mack, and I think you're right. I think this is a matchup, JC, when you look at Khalil Mack, he got the best of Tristan Wirfs last year. Yeah. Got him for 1 sack. It wasn't like a monumental game, but you saw the pressures that the Bears put on the Bucs in the second half. They really won that game on defense in the second half. The Bucs, of course, handed it to him with all the penalties in Chicago. But Khalil Mack, he's going to be trying to get in Tristan Wirfs' head saying, son, I got you last year. I'm going to get you again today.
Oh, yeah. And the crazy thing is when you look at this Bears team, right, they have the most sacks in the NFL, and they also allow the most sacks. So, you're looking at a team that's definitely going to be coming after Tristan Wirfs and everybody else and trying to get back to Brady. But this Bucs team has been great too, letting up sack, only 9 in the season. So they've been great protecting Brady, getting stronger and stronger. You see, like every week, playing as a cohesive unit, and the injuries to the Bears front is definitely going to help them in this contest. And Tristan Wirfs is out for revenge. We know that. He said it. We spoke about it. He wants to redeem himself.
Without Hicks up front, because he gets a lot of push, kind of like Vita Vea does. Without Hicks up front, without Quinn, I think you could slide some protections. No disrespect to Tristan Wirfs, but hey, Khalil Mack is really the biggest danger as I see it out there. And if you can do your best to neutralize him. Sometimes, though, it's better almost to have a tackle one-on-one. Sometimes you see the tight end almost create some problems, right, when they try to double team. And I almost like Tristan Wirfs better one-on-one against Khalil Mack than I do with
Jay Howard.
Yeah, with that, with O.J. Howard, exactly. Rounding out the offensive matchups, Alex Kappa. Without Akeem Hicks there, Angelo Blackson's a guy that's got a sack this year. He's got an interception. He's not a force up front, but he's the next guy. And I think that Alex Kappa has been playing well. He's given up one sack this year. Still probably the weakest link on the offensive line. That's not saying he's a bad player. I think Alex Kappa is having a good year, but that's just a matchup to watch. Looking at the defensive side, Shaquille Barrett versus Justin Fields. This seems like one of those games where, we've talked about how the Bucs, listen, we can just say it, right? The Bucs have ruined the Chiefs. Can we just say that? They've ruined the Chiefs, right?
Ruined them.
And with Patrick Mahomes being on the run virtually every play, it was kind of the same way with Jalen Hurts last time we saw the Bucs play in Philadelphia on Thursday night. Kind of the same thing. Shaq Barrett going sideline to sideline. It just feels like it's a Shaq Barrett hunting Justin Fields kind of day, does it not?
It does. It does. The thing about it, and Shaq said it too, is he needs to finish. He needs to, when he gets there, he needs to get him. And Shaq Barrett's speed is so deceptive because he was close. He was like just fingernails away from bringing down Jalen Hurts a few times. So, he's got to finish. He's got to get there. If he's going to make him run, and, you got to hope that the secondary will be able to maybe turn in some of those errant throws into some interceptions. And, but yeah, I think Shaq is, especially, you look at the offensive line, and while they're decent run blocking, they are just horrid pass blocking. And now again, I just love to say his name. You got in Lachavious Simmons. Good luck, Yeah.
So. And the funny thing is, Elijah Wilkinson would have been the right tackle in this game. And if you remember last year in Denver, that's a matchup that Shaq Barrett just feasted on, getting a couple of sacks against Wilkinson. So he's out. So yeah, the Bears are having some problems at offensive tackle, and we know what happens to teams that have problems at offensive tackles. Just go back and look at the Super Bowl, at the NFC Championship game. I expect a big day today from Shaq Barrett. Sure. Sam Mustipher is an interesting center because a lot of centers in this day and age, we've seen these gargantuan offensive linemen. Centers still are typically in that 300 to 315 pound mark. Mustipher is a bigger guy at 332. He's a squatty guy, 6'2". But that could present some challenges. The Bucs like to match up Vita Vea head up against the center in pass rushing situations, and we've seen what's happened in weeks before where Vita Vea just gets his mitts on the center and just drives him straight back into the lap of the quarterback. That might be a little difficult today with a guy as big as Mustipher. He's not a very good center, but he still has size.
Yeah, he, like you said, he's not. Last week they went up against a smaller center. This week they're going up against a bigger center. So it's Vita Vea is just gonna. He might not bring his, like you said, center on a field trip to the quarterback. But I still think he should win that matchup very handily. His technique, his skill, his size, his speed. Size and strength can only do so much. If Vita gets his hands up quick enough and can make some moves on Sam, I think he should still have a day against him.
Yeah. Ndamukong Suh versus Cody Whitehair. Listen, it could be Will Golston. It just depends. They like to move Suh around and try to find some matchups. Cody Whitehair, who went to my alma mater, Kansas State, has given up 3 sacks this year and 9 pressures. He's really kind of been the weak link along that Bears offensive line. And in years past, he's been a really good player. So there might be something going on there, whether it's Suh or Golston. Listen, Golston's actually ahead of Suh in the sack department. It's time for Ndamukong Suh to step up and live up to that $9 million per year contract. Jamel Dean and Darnell Mooney. Listen, the Bears have got one of the least explosive offenses in the league. If there is a guy that's a threat down the field, it's Mooney. But JC, as a matter of fact, he's the only player in Chicago that has a catch over 30 yards this year. He had a 64-yard touchdown from Fields against the Lions. He is really the only big play threat. As you mentioned, Allen Robinson, limping into this game. He really has been a shell of his former self, but Mooney's the kind of guy that he could get loose.
Yeah. I mean, that's a guy, as you said, he's got some speed. Jamel Dean kind of struggles with that sometimes, playing out of technique. Last week, it happened with a defensive pass interference. He made up for it, turned his head around, fixed his technique, and got the interception. So that'll definitely be a matchup to watch. And also, if they use Marquise Goodwin at all, track star speed. Jamel Dean is the fastest cornerback on this Bucs team, but if he can, if they're trying to play him in zone and he can get by Dean, I think Mooney or Goodwin, if they play him, because they haven't been, are 2 guys to look for in that matchup with Dean, because he could panic. He said, he panicked if he panics, if they get by him and with their speed, that's a play that Dean might make that turns into a defensive pass interference. So definitely good matchups to watch for sure.
And listen, if you have, if you're looking for financial help, don't panic. Muni Financial can help.
At Muni Financial, we help you live in the now.
Dude,
congratulations! We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
And even though the now may feel very different, you still need to plan for the future.
How's retirement treating you?
Oh, just fantastic.
I know I say it all the time, but you really got to come up to Colorado.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
We can help you develop that plan to keep you on track, so you can still prepare for tomorrow, today. Muni Financial. Plan ahead, stay ahead.
Managing your family's wealth means more to Muni Financial than simply allocating your assets. It means legacy planning, brokerage and advisory services, retirement accounts, college savings accounts, and insurance services. With 40 years of experience here in the Tampa Bay area, let Muni Financial help you plan ahead and stay ahead. Call Muni Financial at 1-800-868-6864. That's 1-800-868-6864, or visit amuni.com. JC, it's getting close to kickoff. It's 4:11 right now, so we got about 15 minutes or so before the Bucs take the field against the Bears. Looks like there is a chance for rain. Let me check the latest forecast. Have you seen any update in terms of the time that the showers are expected? It looks like it is going to be, it says it's raining now.
You never know with Tampa weather.
Yeah, you never know. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It's going to change.
Exactly. Scott, I have a question. So
yes.
Muni Financial, obviously they do great, mortgaging your wealth but if you wanted to make some more money for them to manage, how would you do that?
Well, I mean, there's a place you can go to that is one of our key sponsors, and it's MyBookie. When you look at MyBookie, the point spread for today's game is Tampa Bay minus 11.5. Now I got in on it earlier, and I wish that I didn't, because I got the Bucs at minus 13.5 at the beginning of the week. So it's actually dropped, which is kind of surprising given all of the Bears injuries. I know the Bucs have been banged up, but that's a little surprising. The other place too to check out is Underdog Fantasy.
Beautiful.
The Bucs fantasy football focus. We had some Underdog pick'ems, JC. Let's talk about that before we switch it over to John and Paul for the Pewter Game Day show.
Yeah, we were 2 for 3 last week, so we're hoping to go 3 for 3 this week. So if you haven't jumped on Underdog Fantasy, get on it now. The pick'ems is awesome. It's literally an over/under. They also have a rivals thing where you can pick against, Darnell Mooney versus Mike Evans. Go check it out. Underdog Fantasy. The app is awesome as well to use. Very user friendly. But Leonard Fournette, me and you both think this guy's going over 100 yards. So
yeah,
at 69.5 yards rushing, I'm pounding the over on that all day. I know Roquan Smith, again, tackling beast, but I think, with a lack of defensive linemen, Robert Quinn, injuries that the Bears are facing up front, and with this offensive line for the Bucs, I think they're going to open up some holes. They're going to be able to get to the second level with Akeem Hicks not there, take out some linebackers, and he's going to run all over this. Whether it's early in the game, whether it's later in the game to ice it out, I think Leonard Fournette is going over 100 yards easy today.
Now, the interesting thing is, let's also talk about another rushing guy, Tom Brady. The number is 1.5 yards rushing, JC. He's been scrambling, Tom, this year, but then do you have to worry about the kneel downs at the end of the game taking away some of those yards? What's your take on Tom Brady?
That's the scariest thing, right? Hopefully they send, the quarterback with the best passer in the league. Right. Yes, exactly. Blaine Gabbert. Hopefully Blaine Gabbert comes in and takes those victory snaps, maybe gets a few snaps later in the game on his own to do some things. Doesn't get stopped at the 6-yard line and can actually score a touchdown. Your boy can score. But yeah, Brady, I think you look at him, there's going to be times where with this pass rush, tends to get home. And, will he turn his best 30-yard run into a 10-yard gain? And will he get some yards? I think he will, even with a QB sneak, I think that's 1 yard, 1.5 yards. I think Brady goes over on the 1.5 yards rushing. He's going to scramble probably 1 or 2 plays because Khalil Mack is going to get back there. No offense to Trishan Wirfs, but it's Khalil freaking Mack. And, he might do a QB sneak or a dive or something like that for a touchdown. So I think Brady goes over 1.5. But you're right. You got to watch out for those tricky kneel downs.
I know. Just when you think you have the bet won, it might be taken away with a couple of kneel downs.
He's
So
not as
the
good as a kneel down as Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert won't lose a
That's-
yard, you know.
That's true. Yes, that's one of the many areas that Blaine Gabbert has an edge over Tom Brady. Not too many, but a few. The last one is Mike Evans over 68.5 yards. I think without AB, you're just going to see the volume of targets go up to Mike Evans, also to Chris Godwin today. So I think it's a pretty good shot that Evans goes over 68.5 yards receiving. With AB in there, who knows? But I think that without AB, this probably happens today.
You got the height matchup too, like you said. Mike Evans versus a smaller cornerback. Tom Brady's going to throw up some balls up there for him to catch it. This Chicago Bears defense is averaging at least 8 yards a play through the air. I think Tom, who's averaging, who I believe has the most 20+ yard passes in the league this year. He's going to be able to find him deep and for some jump balls. And Evans could go over that, I think, in the second quarter, to be honest.
Yep. We have a super chat from Brian today who says, which two folks are doing game day today? That is John and Paul. You are correct. So we're going to be having John and Paul join us in just a second. We do have some breaking news here. We've got some final scores here from earlier NFC South matchups. When you look at the Falcons today, they just beat the Dolphins 30-28. So that's
Young Ho. He's a
that helps them.
Great, I'll tell you.
That helps them move to 3-3 on the season so far. Panthers lose to the Giants 25-3. Darnold benched as Carolina falls to 3-4. After that 3-0 start, they've lost 4 straight. The Bucs, as you know, host the Bears at 4:25 Eastern. And, of course, the Saints will play Seattle on Monday Night Football prior to hosting the Bucs on Halloween.
Yeah, that's Saints versus Seattle. It's gonna be a tough matchup for Seattle with Geno Smith back there. The defense is hard. That's one game that obviously Saints are on a short week, but it can a win is still a confidence booster, and I think they should get that win on versus Seattle. So going into that game against the Bucs, which they're going to be hyped for anyways, they could be getting some key people back. Marcus Davenport, a few other guys back from injury. That's going to be a really good game. The one thing you can hope for is that Seattle plays them very physical.
It's
good luck. But
exactly. I saw a question on there about SR's Fab 5. Wasn't able to do it this week. I've actually been under the weather, but I am active today for game day. It was questionable, but I am feeling well enough to do the show today and provide Buccaneer coverage. So, speaking of Buccaneer coverage, we are moments away from John Ledyard and Paul Atwal joining us for Pewter Game Day. The Bucs host the Bears 4:25. I think that they're going to win this game handily. Weather now, the latest check, it's raining now in Tampa, but it looks like it's supposed to clear off until later tonight. There was some chance. There was going to be about 50-60% chance for rain during the game. It looks like we're getting the rain now. The fields at Raymond James Stadium do drain very well. So I think it might be slick to start, but as long as the weather holds off, and the latest forecast says that the rain won't kick in until 11 o'clock tonight. That'll be well after the game is over. So it looks like we might have some dry conditions for our chief photographer, Cliff Welch, out there taking great pictures for Pewter Report. And for JC Allen, I am Scott Reynolds. We're going to switch things over now to John Ledyard and Paul Atwal for Pewter Game Day.
Let's go.
Welcome inside the Pewter Game Day Show. I'm John Ledyard from PewterReport.com. With me today is the one and only Paul Atwal, also of PewterReport.com. And we are here, energized by Celsius, on the Pewter Game Day Show. We're excited to be bringing you Bucs and Bears and breaking this thing down as it happens. Week 7 underway. Paul, you look different to me. I haven't seen you in like, what, 17 days or something?
Something like that. It's probably I got the hair down today. That might be it.
Oh, is that it? Oh, okay, you got the
Probably.
hair. Oh, okay, I got you. You're also I can't see anything in your background, so it looks like you were just existing in this space. Just it's very menacing. It's
Yeah,
a little
I'm
intimidating.
look. I got the projector behind me. I'm in a dark
there you
room.
go.
That's it.
Wow, this is a true tape grinder room right now. You're about to watch some routes, and I love it. This is gonna be great.
That's right.
We'll try to get synced up here in a second on our connection and make sure that we're both on the same page with this one. But Paul, you've watched some of the Bears. You've watched the last couple of games of their offense. You've gotten a pretty decent feel for what they do and how they like to operate. Can you give us some information here about how this one's going to go down and what the Bears are going to try to do?
Yeah. So I mean, I think with the Bears, a lot of what they do, they want to center around their run game, right? It's a lot of their zone scheme, run game. So it's inside zone, outside zone, and then they're trying to kind of build rest of their game off of that. But the problem for them has been just a total lack of consistency in the passing game, and obviously part of that is their offensive line it's everything really. It's their offensive line's not great. The scheme hasn't always been there for them, and then of course, they also have a rookie at quarterback, and that's a really tough transition. As though we've been spoiled as NFL fans by, say, a guy like Justin Herbert, rookies aren't supposed to be good. And honestly, Fields really hasn't been that good so far. He's shown a lot of physical skills, but there are a lot of the technical aspects of the game he's still trying to nail down.
Right. That means that the Bucs pass rush needs to be really successful today, right? And more than anything, Todd Bowles needs to be really successful. These are the matchups as a defensive coordinator. You need to be able to feast a little bit. I know you're missing some guys, and that hurts for sure, but this is an offense that's missing a lot of pieces, that's looked overwhelmed pretty much every game this season. A rookie quarterback who holds the ball longer than just about any other quarterback in the league. You need to be able to dial up answers against a team like this, put them down pretty early. And offensively, you could say the same thing for the Bucs. The Bears defense has been good this season, but they're hurting. They're missing another starter at safety now. They're missing Robert Quinn. They're missing Akeem Hicks. So there's a couple of probably three of their best 5-6 defensive players are out now for this one. They still have some good players. Jalen Johnson, the corner. Eddie Jackson's having a rough season at safety, but he's a ball hawk. One play can change a game. Obviously, Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, again, not having maybe his best season, but still a good player. So there's a lot to look forward to for the Bears. So I'll ask you about the Bucs offense in a second. First, I want to acknowledge 199 super chat from Brian. Brian, we greatly appreciate the super chats. And Brian Shucker also keeping it going with the super chats. In that case, here's the good work they do. We appreciate that, Brian, the $20 super chat. You've been definitely spoiling us a little bit with the super chat. So we appreciate that for sure. Ask also if people are in here for the Pewter Game Day show and you're with us locked in here for game day and the live analysis and reactions, share the stream. Go to your social media, share the stream, let people know where they can watch us live. Bucs Bears, use the hashtags for the Bucs and the Bears. So when people search, they can find it, and like the video too. If a bunch of people like it once on YouTube and they hit that thumbs up, then it makes us look good and hopefully brings in some new people to the group as well. So that's what we'd like. And if you know people who are all about the Bucs or all about the Bears, send them this way, and they'll jump in and watch the stream too if you send them the link. So we appreciate all y'all help. That we tell you all the time. You guys are the best advertising that we do for the show is your word of mouth and the work that you can do in terms of sharing it. So we definitely greatly appreciate that. Lions are kind of jumping out to a pretty early lead here over the Rams. I know everybody's kind of be watching that one. They are up 10-0 on the Rams on that one. They got a touchdown. They got a touchdown, a 60-something yard catch and run by DeAndre Swift. Then they kicked onside, surprised them, didn't really go that far, but got the field goal out of it anyway and went up 10-0. And so a nice little start there for Detroit to kind of get up that way. Just like 7 minutes into the game, I think. So they've got a nice little advantage.
It's the revenge game of the year, right? Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff, and on the other side, Stafford against his old team and all the misery they put him through, obviously. So let's talk about this Bucs offense. Tom Brady coming out here, the big age gap between him and Justin Fields we've seen almost 22 full years, 21 years, 214 days. What do you expect to see from him in this offense against what you've seen in the Bears defense?
I think it's going to be a pretty good day for the Bucs offense as long as they're able to clean things up. As far as EPA and stuff like that, this Bears defense is pretty close to middle of the pack, if not even slightly below average. And as you add on to the fact that they're missing Robert Quinn, who is, obviously one of their absolute most important players on defense. So I think I think they need to continue with the underneath quick passing game, which we've seen them do a lot this year. It's because the Chicago Bears, they play a ton of zone. So I think it's going to be, again, about being patient and mistake-free. And if they do that, I think they'll have a very methodical and consistent attack that'll be successful against this team, even without Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, it's interesting. The Bears, we already mentioned, they got a bunch of guys that are out, but they have a bunch of other guys that have barely practiced this week that are playing. Duke Shelley, their slot corner, barely practiced this week. He's apparently playing. Bilal Nichols didn't practice at all on Thursday or Friday. The defensive tackle, who's played the second most snaps for them, D tackle this season. He's he is playing in this game, despite not barely practicing, not being 100%. Same with Khalil Mack, is playing despite not being 100% as well. He's not practiced much the last couple weeks. Still been a beast. Obviously, on the Bucs side of things, no Rob Gronkowski, no Antonio Brown, no Levante David, no Richard Sherman. Their starting corners are still on injury reserves. No Scotty Miller either. So the Bucs like to use a lot of wide receivers, Paul. And now you look at things and you're like, well, they might only be 3 receivers deep, depending on how much Jalen Darden knows at this point. Because remember, Jaden Mickens isn't up for this game. Cyril Grayson's up. So how much does Jalen Darden know? Does he get many opportunities in this one? We'll have to see. That'll be something to watch. Let's get synced up here. Looks like the Bucs are kicking off. So the Bears are going to start on offense. I have the high shot of the field right now on my TV. And
I just saw the kickoff.
Okay, so
I'll go back.
So you're a little ahead of me. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, you're probably. I'm still seeing the Bucs
know?
flag and the weather and the Bucs flag.
Okay,
I really zooming in on that flag. Here we go. Now Pinion's getting ready to kick off.
Okay, tell me when.
Pinion's getting ready to kick off. Here we go. He's running up right now. And he booted it into the air and back of the end zone. The Bears are going to let it bounce out. So the Bears will start from the 25-yard line now. And for this Bucs defense, Devin White, man, I think he's got to have a big game. It's time. He has had hardly any production this season. I think it's really important that they start with him, especially if the Bears are going to run it more. He needs to have a strong game in this one.
At least as far as he graded, I think he had his best game in coverage against the Eagles, right? So hopefully we see a bit of an uptick. I like some of the stuff that the Bucs have done on defense, and I think it's going to match up well against Fields, and I'll talk about that a bit more after this first play. Yeah,
for sure. Here's Fields from the shotgun. He's going to short pitch there and tripped up in the backfield, maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Jordan Whitehead flew through, tripped up Khalil Herbert. He got no gain. I think he stumbled back to the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 coming up for the Bears from their own 25-yard line. Brian, we appreciate it. Says, love you guys. Paid many years for PR content back in the day, and it's better than ever. So it's my pleasure. Appreciate that, Brian. The support over the years from y'all has been tremendous for Pewter Report. It's a big reason why we've been able to take off and continue to grow at the rate that we have this year, for sure. All right, 2nd and 10 for the Bears from the 25. Fields back to pass, pressure coming, stripped. Cockrell almost fell on the football and he couldn't get it. Looks like the Bears jumped on it. Quick strip sack of Fields. Cockrell jumped on top of it but could not corral it. 3rd and 16 is coming up for Chicago. That could have been it right there, right at the start of the game. The big game-changing play, it was Winfield. They walked him up to the line of scrimmage, blitzed him off the edge. Nobody accounted for him. Fields never saw him. Strip sack, and Cockrell almost had the recovery. Here's 3rd and 16. They're going quick. Here we go. Fields back to throw. He has all day. 2-man pass rush. Looks underneath and finds the tight end, but he's going to be knocked out of bounds by Jamel Dean for a gain of maybe 6 yards. So 4th and 10. The Bears get back to the initial line of scrimmage of the 25-yard line, but they'll punt from there. And the first sack of the day for the Bears for the Bucs. And we've talked about it a little bit before, but the Bears have given up more sacks this season than any other team, Paul.
Yeah, that was a huge pressure there on 2nd down. They sent 5, and initially they showed like they were sending 6, but then Sue actually dropped off into coverage, and just really tough for Fields to diagnose that pre-snap. Really well disguised, and I think that's a pretty smart move against a rookie quarterback. Bowles, we know he's so good with this exotic stuff, and it's against a rookie who hasn't necessarily seen every look there is. It might work out, and it did there.
And there goes Jaylen Darden on a big return for the Bucs. He is going to take the ball back, it looked like, to the Bears' 35-yard line. So a great start for field position for the Bucs, and that's why Jaylen Darden's out there. Juked the guy out of his shoes, got up the field with great acceleration. That's why he's back there now instead of Jaden Mickens, right, Paul?
Incredible start. Yeah, I mean, it's you wonder if he has a higher upside, right? I mean, Mickens, we know he's not going to make mistakes, and I think he's the one that made that joke about, hey, just get the ball in number 12's hands, or that might have been someone else, but hey, maybe Darden, if he has a higher upside, as long as he can stay mistake free, this might be just another boost to an already amazing Tampa Bay team that doesn't really need more help.
Right, here's Brady play action, looking down the field deep in the first play of the game, and he overthrows Chris Godwin, but the coverage was there, and a flag comes in now. Looked like it could have been pass interference on this one.
I don't know how you got ahead of me.
The ball for the Bucs. Oh, I switched devices because my screen on my TV actually froze up, so maybe I'm ahead of you now.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So
looks like it is pass interference against the Bears, so that'll move the Bucs down field a little bit further.
I mean, that first drive went so fast. I was saying, after the first play, I'll talk about what I like on the Bucs defense, but we'll have to wait till their next defensive possession. So I'm seeing the behind shot. Now they're showing the sideline shot of Brady under center, Godwin in motion.
Yeah, pretty clear hold at least there by Ville. That was pretty bad. I'm surprised it was a hold. It was called pass interference and not a hold. But 1st and 10 for the Bucs now. They are at the 17-yard line of the Bears.
Okay, we're out of
Brady handoff Leonard Fournette, big hole off the left side, runs through a man, first down, and gets down to about the 3-yard line. So the Bucs are cooking early on in this game. 1st and goal from the Bears 3.
Yeah, awesome run, great run blocking. We've really seen a great team effort as far as the blocking goes on the ground, and it's showed up. They've really improved, right?
Yeah. For sure. Great job by Fournette. Seeing the cutback option there, Donovan Smith really washed it down, and like great huge hole. That's about as big a hole as seen all season for the Bucs. Here we go. 1st and goal at the 2-yard line now. 15-yard run by Leonard Fournette. That's one of his longer ones of the season. Brady going under center. Takes the snap, hands off. Leonard Fournette up the middle, falls into the end zone for the touchdown, and the Bucs are up early, and there's a little bit of a scrum afterward. Kappa got shoved late by Eddie Goldman, and the Bears already losing some composure out there on the field. That was Goldman really reacting after that touchdown, but the Bucs are up 6-0 with the extra point coming.
Unbelievable start for the Bucs. I mean, it really can't go any better. 3-0, almost forced a turnover, huge punt return, and then just 3 successful plays in a row to punch it in, right? I mean, I know they're only counting 2, but one of them was a penalty.
Yeah.
So
this is the start. You knew they were capable of this, right, Paul?
Oh, for sure. Hey, so tell me when Suck Up kicks it.
Okay, let's get synced up again. Because my devices are going crazy here a little bit.
We're completely out of sync. It's making it hard to commentate.
Suck Up is lining up right now. He's taking his steps. All right, he's in position. Here goes the long snapper. This is going to be very suspenseful extra point call. Here goes the long snapper. Sends it back. Hold by Pinion. Kick by Suck Up is up and right through the middle of the uprights for the extra point. 7-0.
I think I might still be a couple of ticks ahead, but we're at least in the same range now.
That's okay.
Yeah. Incredible start. Anyway, I didn't even really get to fully take in what happened there schematically on any of the plays. I was just thinking about syncing up, but yeah, I'm excited to see more of what this Bucs defense does. One of the things that I think matches up really well for this defense is the fact that Bowles, he's always kind of like we talked about, played softer coverages and entices you to throw underneath and be quick and be patient, right? And what he's done even more so as his secondary's gotten more banged up is he's gone away from his single high coverages into more 2 high. He's actually playing just as much cover 2 now as he is playing cover 3, which to me would have been incomprehensible before the season, right? He's such a cover 3 guy, but now he's even schematically more committing to, hey, take the underneath stuff. And the reason I think that's really good against the Bears is Fields likes to throw deep. He leads the league. He was tied with Lamar going into this week with the highest average distance per throw, whereas everyone that's played the Bucs, they've had the second lowest average distance of throw of any defense in the whole league. So it's a kind of a mismatch in that way, and I think that's favorable for the Bucs because Fields likes to hold on to the ball, tries to go deep, whereas the Bucs are really doing everything they can to take that away from you now. So that gives the pass rush time to get there. That gives you an opportunity to disguise, create some sacks.
Yeah.
So we saw that on the first drive. Let's see how it continues.
Right. And you knew that was going to be the case, right? If there's been a struggle with Fields, it's been IDing protections, pre-snap, and then post-snap reactions to those calls. Or to whatever he's seeing pre-snap. And it's not been fluid yet for that, whether it's communication up front, him mastering the Bears system, coaching, we don't know. We really don't have any idea about those details, but we know that's been the biggest problem is being able to ID pressure. But it's a fine line, right? It's tricky for Todd Bowles in this game, I think, Paul, a little bit, because you want him in some ways to be aggressive enough to go after a young quarterback, but you don't want to blitz so much you leave your secondary exposed, especially because you know you can get pressure with four still too.
Yeah, that's right. I think one of the things that happens with blitzes is you can make it easy for the quarterback in the sense that, okay, he's just going to throw hot. He knows right away who his hot receiver is, right? Whereas I think what you want to exploit with someone like Fields is make him get to a second read. And the reason you want to make him do that is because he's been slow getting to a second read. So as long as he's not throwing to his first guy right away, and as long as it's not immediately obvious who he should be throwing to, you're going to make him hold the ball, and he's going to get through that process slower than a more experienced quarterback will. And that in and of itself is going to give your pass rush a better chance, even without necessarily sending the house.
Right. Here we go for Pinion. He's going to kick off, and we'll see if the Bears start from their own 25-yard line, and looks like they will as Pinion sends this one through the back of the end zone, and the Bears start from their own 25. 11:58 left in this first quarter. The Bucs are up 7-0 already as Fields takes over for his second drive of the game. Fields hasn't even started every game this year. He came into the game, I think he was sacked 18 times, tied for second most in the NFL. Bears were most sacked team in the NFL, and now I think that was sacked 19 against Fields. Maybe I'm one off on that, but
Right. And he has one of the highest times to throw in the league as well, just meaning he really holds on to the ball.
Yeah, almost 3 seconds, I believe. So
yeah, that's right.
Here we go with the Bears rushing offense. Khalil Herbert's going to take it around the left side. Nobody there, and he's going to rumble well out near midfield and past midfield before he's finally tackled all the way out to the Bucs' 46-yard line. So a 29-yard run for Khalil Herbert. That's exactly what you want if you're the Bears. You have to get the run game going. You can't rely just on Fields. And that time, there was no edge protection at all in the line of scrimmage, and that was an easy run for Herbert. He wasn't touched until he got well downfield.
Jarring to see that from this team, right? I mean, it's going to happen once in a while, but it's still weird to see that. Overall, I think the Bucs will still absolutely love their chances on the ground. So no, I don't think that's too concerning.
Right. We'll see. 29. They're at the Bucs 29-yard gain, gets them at the Bucs 46. Fields back to pass. Kevin Minter coming with the pressure. Fields gets away and is going to slide down after a gain of about a yard. So 2nd and 9 coming up for the Bears from the Bucs 45-yard line. But yeah, this will be the most the Bucs run defense is probably tested, not just because the Bears are good at running the football, and they are. Schematically, they're good at running the football too, but also because this is, a Bears team that will probably run more than anybody else that the Bucs have seen this season. And so that's going to be a key component of this one as well. And in the contain too, Fields with his legs, can he create rushing in these types of situations when you're in, when you breaks the pocket? That'll be key. As Fields goes under center, he's going to hand off to Herbert, who's going to go up the middle, and he's going to get maybe another yard. So 3rd and 8 coming up from the Bucs 44-yard line. A couple of Bucs there to stop him. Cockrell came off the edge and was a part of the tackle there, as well as Vita Vea.
And it goes without saying, right? Any team, any offense that wants to rely on their run game, that's just another way in which it's a terrible matchup for that offense against the Buccaneers, right? Because really any coverage that the Bucs are in, they're going to be really sound against the run. And just with their personnel, they're going to be able to be successful over the long run.
Right, for sure. And great point here by Vortex. Herbert is a shining example of why you don't need to draft running backs high. Talking about Khalil Herbert there for sure. Here's Fields from the shotgun, throws quickly and passes dropped by Cole Kmet. He had the first down probably as he turned upfield, but he drops the 3rd and 8 throw, and it's 4th and 8 now for the Bears offense, and looks like they'll come off the field from the Bucs 44-yard line. Kmet got open against Kevin Minter.
Yeah, really giving a lot of space. They were playing quarters coverage there. So again, another too high coverage. We've seen them do that a lot on 3rd down, really just giving up the underneath quick stuff and hoping to make the tackle in front of the sticks. But that was a lot of space that they gave up there underneath. So a bit of a lucky break with the drop.
Yeah, Kmet got open against Kevin Minter, maybe heard the footsteps of Ross Cockrell, a formidable hitter, closing. That was a joke. I wasn't serious. And that's maybe why he dropped it. He took his eyes off it. Now O'Donnell, he gets the punt out of bounds. I didn't see where it initially went out. See where the officials mark it. Looks like the Bucs 16-yard line is maybe where they're gonna mark. Now he's keep moving 16-yard line. So that's where the Bucs offense will start. It looks like from their own 16. So the Bears do flip field position with the 29-yard run, but managed just 2 yards after that, after picking up their first down of the game, just 2 yards on their next 3 plays. And so now the Bucs offense will take over, and 1st and 10 from their 16. You get into that situation, Paul. You saw them go play action first play of the game, throw the ball down the field, pretty easy penalty that kind of threw off the whole rhythm of play. It was pretty easy call. Held Godwin pretty much the whole way on that route. Now what happens? Like if you're the Bucs offense, you get that one play really, and then once you're in there, okay, let's run the ball. Okay, now we're first and goal from the 2. We're just gonna run it in. We still haven't. I don't know how quickly do you get off script in these situations? I think about all those things when you got a short drive like that ended by a quick penalty, and you're already like in the red zone. Now do we see them get back on script, or maybe we see them get back to kind of how they wanted to start the game if they were starting from their own end a little bit? And what kind of plays do you think do you expect to see here?
Yeah, I think the Bears are a very zone heavy team. So I do think we're going to see more play action. I also think because they have a bit of that Fangio influence with their defensive coordinator now. So I do expect them to play more light boxes. And I think the Bucs, have we seen, they'll run the ball against that. They'll take it for better or worse. And more recently it's been for better. So I think we're going to, I totally hear what you're saying. And I agree with you where that situation gets you off script. So that might not have been indicative of their overall game plan. But I do think their overall game plan nonetheless will involve running the ball quite a bit.
Yeah, I do too.
And then play action.
So, and because whenever they start with play action in the game, they're going to probably run the ball because they think the two need to be paired together. So we'll see. They've done both so well so far, so good today. Lions are up 10-3 at the end of the first quarter. Tom Bucs fan says, Vortex says Paul is lost in the void. Logan wants to know what quarters coverage is. Paul, you want to explain that one too?
Oh yeah, for sure. So you start with 2 high safeties, and then you effectively have 4 deep defenders, right? You have your cornerbacks on the outside. They both have a quarter of the field. The safeties in the middle, they each have a quarter. So you basically have 4 deep defenders that are each responsible for 1/4 of the field deep. And then that leaves you with 3 underneath defenders, and then 4 pass rushers, right? So the weakness there, just in the most basic terms, is underneath quick stuff. And it's trying to take away those deeper passes. And that's why the Bucs do that a lot on 3rd and long, is because they know you need, 8+ yards there. So they're just saying, hey, take the quick stuff underneath. We're going to come tackle you, but we're not going to let you get behind us.
Right. Yeah. And it's if you ever want to know coverages and just see them from live, try and figure them out. You can't always figure out stuff live, but see how many safeties are deep and then stay deep, and then kind of that narrows down your coverages. Here you see the Bears 2 high safeties on first down. The Bucs are going to run the football. Leonard Fournette cuts upfield and he's going to get about 4 or 5 yards. And there's a little extra after the play here too. And Kappa's not involved with this one. Is this Jensen?
I think that was Jensen
with a little extra. Yeah. Jensen and was it Bilal Nichols?
He's always going to be in there at least once a game.
Yeah. Yes, you do. And so 2nd and 6 coming up for the Bucs offense. They are up 7-0, 9:20 and counting left in the first quarter. And they have the ball at their own 20-yard line here.
Fournette is really struggling with his ripped jersey.
Yeah. That thing, I didn't even see that got torn, but that's around his knees right now. And here's Brady over the middle. Mike Evans wasn't looking for the ball at all. And Eddie Jackson was trying to jump that route, it looked like. And total miscommunication there. Evans never even saw Brady.
Yeah, Evans has to be looking there. He's in the slot on a quick route.
Right.
That's when you're going to get the ball. He's got that mismatch. At least it looks like a pre-snap. It looks like he has number 58, that linebacker across from him. Yeah. That guy actually ends up blitzing, so Evans is the hot there. And, to be honest, I know they played Evans a lot in the slot last year compared to his career overall, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I just don't think it comes naturally to him. And you just have other players on the roster, especially when AB's healthy, that are just flat out better at that part of in that area of the field.
Yeah, here they are on 3rd and 6, and Cyril Grayson is in the game here, but you're exactly right about Evans. We'll talk more about that in a second. Brady back to pass, looks like a quick screen, and Roquan Smith gets in the backfield and drops Giovanni Bernard for a loss of 4 yards on the screen. So the Bucs will punt. Alex Kappa, I believe, blew the block out in space there. And that not how the Bucs wanted that drive to go for sure. A couple of miscues offensively. First Evans and then Kappa there on the screen.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, they're not mistakes in the same way that a penalty is, but it's still kind of self-inflicted lack of execution kind of things that are slowing them down. And that's kind of the only missing piece really with this team is can they really get sharpened up, right? Can they be one of the more disciplined teams in the league? Because everything other than that has been as good as it gets.
Right. Here's Pinion looking to punt it away. Jakeem Grant, a dangerous return man, back to receive the punt. He was just traded for from Miami a couple of weeks ago. And he fields at his own 35-yard line, but quickly wrapped up and brought down there. Great tackle on special teams. Was that Bleedy? No, that's Rashard Robinson out there. Rashard Robinson making the tackle on special teams. Great stop on a dangerous guy in space in Jakeem Grant. And so now we'll see the Bucs defense come back out onto the field. But yeah, offensively, man, I am just getting out of your own way seems to be such an adventure for this Bucs offense at times. Like the slant to Evans there, we talked about all last year with him and hot routes. Seems like that's something that you'd hope he'd be a little bit better on at this point in time. But you're right, especially in a game where you're going to have Tyler Johnson out on the field a lot and Chris Godwin. They've played more in the slot. Why not have them there in that role? And then at the end, on the last play there on third down, you see Cyril Grayson on the field, and he's just obviously probably a field stretcher for that screen there. But somebody asked about why the Bucs are throwing so many screens this season, especially lately. It's because of how teams are playing them, right, Paul? There's all this space underneath. Everybody's dropping out, preventing the deep ball. They had 11 screens against the Eagles, and they were really a big part of why they were able to put up points, in that game. And so it needs to be a big part of what they do moving forward.
Yeah, I was looking at play type breakdowns and just comparing last season to this season. That's been one of the areas where they've really improved is their execution in the screen game. I wrote an article not too long ago where I was talking about them having more yards after catch, and a big part of that is that execution. And you're totally right. It's because of the way teams are playing them. Obviously, it's frustrating when on third and down it feels like it was a conservative call, it didn't work or whatever. But overall, I don't mind the process at all. Chicago, I think they might play more cover 6 than anyone in the league, which is interesting. And we're talking about cover 6 is basically quarters on half of the field and then cover 2 on the other half of the field. And so again, it's effectively still a coverage where you're prioritizing taking away the deep stuff, right? As teams have often done against the Buccaneers. So they're trying to find all the different ways that they can win underneath, whether that be with the quick screen, quick passes underneath, like we saw them try to Evans, or even the ground game. But yeah, not necessarily their strongest suit and not necessarily what they want to do, but it's the reality of the coverages they're facing. And overall, I mean, they've been good against it. It was last year they really struggled against that sort of stuff. Even though they won the Super Bowl, they weren't effective versus those type of coverages. But they've taken a huge step forward this year, and I think it's going to be a continued evolution of this offense.
Right. Yeah. It's needed to be to find answers to teams that are going to drop out against them the way that other teams have. It needs to be a big part of what they do. And so this is an important game to establish some of that stuff for sure, as last week against the Eagles was too. When you face those zone heavy defenses, you got to have answers in the screen game for sure. Now here's Justin Fields on a 1st and 10 from his own 35-yard line. He's back to pass, goes over the middle of the field. Pass is going to be caught for a gain of 5 by Cole Kmet, and D. Delaney quickly makes the tackle on him. And so it'll be 2nd and 5 from the 40 of the Bears coming up. So another good field position start, or I guess for the first good field position start for the Bears here, and they go pass on 1st down and put themselves in 2nd and 5. You can kind of do anything here.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I think that was a pretty good play by D. Delaney. He was in position right away, and he had it. He made a play on the ball, right? Like he got his arm in the way there. The receiver happened to hang on to it, but overall, you can't really ask for too much more.
Yeah. Bucs seeing what the 4-man pass rush group can do is there's Delaney breaking on another ball from Fields, incomplete, and so 3rd and 5 coming up there.
Basically the same thing, same play from Delaney there, right? I mean, in terms of the process there, again, he's in good position, got his arm in the way, and that time it happened to work out. The previous time it didn't, but both times he played it well, and you'll take that.
Right, for sure. It seems like the Bucs defense down, and here's the 4-man pass rush. Fields double clutching, stumbled, almost was sacked there, gets out of it, throws down the field, intercepted by Delaney. So now he finally gets one. He's running it back, crossing midfield, cross the 45 to the 40 and out of bounds at the 39, 38-yard line of the Bears. So he got a pick. D. Delaney.
What a drive for D. Delaney. Welcome to the show. I mean, honestly, the play where he's probably the least responsible for the success is the one where he got the biggest payoff at the end. But it's great complementary defense there from the defensive line, creating that pressure. I think that was Allen Robinson at the end of the route, just slipped there.
Yep.
And D. Delaney just there to pick it up. But awesome performance as a unit. On that play.
Here's the high shot of it. It looks like cover 3 for the Bucs on the back end, and Delaney just staying with it, staying deep, not coming up even when thought the sack was there. And now there was a guy behind him. I don't know if he thought Fields couldn't get it there at that point.
Cockrell's got to do better there, though. Cockrell did not do a good job of identifying the curl underneath. He's got that flat, and I know they're spot dropping, but he's got to be able to recognize that route.
Right, for sure. Here goes Brady, back to pass. throws one over the middle of the field. Chris Godwin makes the catch. He's going to get banged down by a couple of defenders, and he's going to pick up 6 yards. So 2nd and 4 from the Bears' 34-yard line coming. And now the Bucs defense has done a great job through a couple drives here. Now the Bucs offense really needs to take over and put their mark on this game. And this is where they've struggled, right? Can you put teams away and keep them away? That's where I think this game can really, be the kind of game that the Bucs offense needs. They've had a couple chances late in the game against Miami, but can you do it early in a game? I think that's what's eluded them so far this season. Here's Brady, quick throw, Tyler Johnson. He's going to get up the field and be knocked out close to the first down, it looks like. So I think he picked up 4, and it does look like they're going to give him the first down here?
They
first
are,
and
yeah.
10, yeah, for him. So, yeah, Bears' 30-yard line is where the Bucs now have a 1st and 10.
Love the patience. You'd certainly hope that you can bang off some explosive plays, but overall, you love the fact that they're willing to be patient and take what's given to them because this offense is that good. They can consistently execute and get down the field. They don't need to break off 40 yards on a play for them to score.
Yeah, for sure.
Evans back
Here we
outside
go,
as a
Brady.
true X receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, and here goes Cyril Grayson in motion. So he's in the game here. Brady, play action over the middle of the field. Great catch by Chris Godwin down to the 9-yard line. Brady dropped that one there pretty nicely.
That was an unbelievable throw. I really want to see that end zone angle from that because I don't think there was a big window and you were going to get it. I think that was just incredible timing and placement on that ball and great communication and timing with Godwin. Yeah, I mean, that's not a huge window there as that middle field safety is closing in on because that coverage is really taking that throw away in a lot of ways. So incredible time.
Because he had to throw it over the linebacker.
That's right.
Right. He had to throw it up over the linebacker there to even get it into what was already a tight window. Crazy.
Yeah, incredible throw.
1st and goal from the 9-yard line now. Brady snap was wide there, and he throws this one middle to Cam Braid in the end zone, right in the cluster, but Braid couldn't squeeze it.
That would look like he got a bit greedy on that one. I thought that might have been almost intercepted.
That was a tight window. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm skipping.
Oh, and he got it right in there. Holy.
Was it?
That looked like he got it right on to Brate. He did. Yeah, but nice play by Vildor over the top, just getting a hand in there to break it up. But that was an accurate pass.
Yeah, for sure. And that's you, especially in the red zone, you can usually count on that. There's Fournette now running for down to the 4-yard line as he stretches. Somebody got his ankle. He's stretching down to the 4.
And this is, obviously the biggest area where you miss Gronkowski, right? Just those red zone executions, just a big target down there, huge hands, giant catch radius. You can't say for sure, but you certainly feel like Gronk finishes that play.
Yeah, for sure. I told my wife to start Cam Braid in fantasy because I thought he was going to get a touchdown. He drops the first opportunity he gets. Here we go. 3rd and goal. Brady from the shotgun. Big play early in the game. Godwin short motion. Brady back to pass. Looking over the middle of the field. Chris Godwin caught back in the end zone. Touchdown.
Unbelievable grab by Godwin in tight coverage there. I mean, I don't even know if he's really open, but that's just superior strength. Unbelievable finishing ability. Looked like Tyler Johnson might have been open just at the front of the end zone there, but I mean, what do you even do there?
Yeah, that's tough because Brady just puts it in a spot that it's just hard to think about.
Yeah, number 6 there. He was turned around. So, I mean, JT O'Sullivan always says this. If the back of the head is to the quarterback for defender, that defender is just covering the width of the receiver's shoulders. So as long as you put it outside of him, right? Exactly. Yeah, there's nothing that the defender can do. And so great recognition there by Brady. So, yeah, like from watching it live from the sideline angle, it didn't look like Godwin was open, but obviously Brady identifying that weak defending position.
Yeah, some tight window throws for Brady early in this game already, and it's Brian Suckup on to attempt the extra point and send it through the uprights. Good. So the Bucs are going to be up 14-0 with 4:37 left in this one. That was set up by the interception from D. Delaney. Good ball skills back there in the cover 3 defense, and then Brady finds Godwin back of the end zone. And I'll give number 6 Danny Trevathan credit. He actually hit Godwin's hands as he was catching the football, and Godwin just the focus. They aren't the hand strength that he does so well, and he reels that one in. And so big start for Chris Godwin already in this game, and Brady's up to 599 career touchdown passes, Paul.
What's the number? Sorry?
599 career touchdown passes. And
he would be the
600.
And he'd be the first ever to hit 600. I mean, I still remember when Favre became the first to ever hit 500. It was to Randy Moss on the Vikings. I mean, what a weird season that was. But yeah, I can't believe Brady's, right on the heels of 600. It's unreal. By the way,
Right.
kind of out of sync again. So just let me know when you see the kickoff, all right?
Yeah, that's because on my end there being a lot of skipping. I think from the Fire Stick, and I'm so switching to my phone, which is ahead of my having on my phone when it does that, which is ahead of my other device. So, yeah, we're working through the technical difficulties here without too many hitches. But yeah, it is throwing off the timing a little bit. But I might switch Fire Sticks at halftime to see if I can get better connection on the other one so far. But yeah, that's the kind of drive that you really needed if you're Tampa Bay, right? You need to put that ball in the end zone, 14-0. It's too early for the Bears to change gears offensively for sure, but it's kind of the situation now where, okay, you feel comfortable defensively. You're playing with a lead now, and you've got Justin Fields a little bit on his heels as well. If you can make one more stop, this is the kind of offense you've got on the other side where, you could go up and you don't want to say insurmountable because we saw what the Eagles did last week, but you can go up in pretty nice fashion if you can get another stop here. So now it's up to the defense to continue to try and put this game away.
Yeah, I guess the Eagles, they just took their foot off the gas, right? As soon as the second half started, it seemed like they went run heavy, kind of became really conservative and kind of assumed that they already had the ball or the game in the bag, which, I mean, they kind of did, fair enough. I think I saw that even when the Eagles scored that touchdown after that failed fourth down from the Bucs, the win percentage went from like 95% to 93%. So the game was pretty out of hand. But overall, you'd like to see them finish a little better.
Yeah, seems like that's the key, right? The early, can you put your foot on the gas early and then just keep it on and finish the game? The Lions game last year comes to mind. Yeah. I think the Bears are a similarly hurting team right now. And the Bucs obviously up 14-0 early is what you want to see for sure. Definitely the beneficiary of some short fields thanks to the Jaylen Darden punt return, which we barely even gotten a chance to talk about. But also the interception and the run back too by D. Delaney as well. So
you see the kickoff yet, John?
Position. I'm seeing the kickoff right now. Pinion just sent it down out of the back of the end zone. So the Bears are going to start from the 25-yard line.
Okay, seems like we're pretty in sync. But yeah, I mean, unbelievable start so far. I mean, there's really, you can't, unless you're absolutely the most nitpicky person out there. I mean, just great start from both sides of the ball. I mean, and all three sides really. I mean, special teams has done well too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. And Richard Sherman is wearing that headset out there today. He is doing a little bit of coaching, it looks like.
How cool is that, eh, John? I mean, that's pretty cool. He just came in, but even though he's not necessarily super familiar with the system and terminology yet, the guy is just so smart. So he's certainly still an asset out there.
Yeah, for sure. One of the smarter defensive backs in NFL history, probably. So the Bucs in nickel here on 1st and 10, by the way. The Bears spreading the field a little bit, and they do give to Herbert, and he's going to pick up about 6 yards trying. Shoyinka tracked him down, and so 2nd and 4 coming up for the Bears on offense. So getting a couple good first down runs and spreading the field when they do it too.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if they stick with this ground attack or if they do become more impatient because, I mean, honestly, if you're a Bucs fan, you would love for them to continue doing this because overall, I don't think it's going to work out for them. Though they have been off to a good start, so got to give them credit.
Yep, here's Herbert again. Looks like he is going to pick up 4 yards. Devin White missed a flailing tackle attempt near the line of scrimmage, and so Herbert will have enough for the first down as he picks up 4. And so 1st and 10 for the Bears on the 35-yard line. They get their second first down of the game, I believe.
Yeah, and Bowles' philosophy, I mean, this is kind of playing into it, right? He's saying if you're going to score on us, you're going to have to do it with long drives where you don't make a mistake for 10-plus plays in a row, right? As soon as you make that one mistake where you throw that interception or get sacked, you're off schedule and you're kind of screwed. But if you can string together perfection, all right, fine.
Right. Yep. And here's Herbert, play action, back to throw, underneath. Khalil Herbert juggles, makes the catch, quickly wrapped up and brought down, gain of maybe 4 yards there by a bunch of Bucs defenders. So 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5 coming up for the Bears.
And speaking of that philosophy, this is exactly what you need to do. And what was missing at times in the first few weeks is that tackling once you give up that quick pass. So they're saying, fine, you can take that pass to the flats, but as a defense end, if you're going to play that way, you have to be able to tackle, which they didn't do the first few weeks, but so far they're doing well today.
Yeah, the yak is very, very important for sure. Here's the Bears 2nd and 5. Fields hand off to Herbert, who's knocked down in the backfield. Ndamukong Suh looked like he ran the blocker into Herbert, and Herbert lost his balance and fell, lost about half a yard there. So that was a nice play by Ndamukong Suh. Yeah, he took the center, knocked him straight back there into Herbert's path. Yep, threw him down at the end. So center actually got a good reach there. Herbert probably needs to run that one a little bit better, and I think Shaq Barrett closing in from the outside condensed that hole he was trying to get through as well. So here's 3rd and 5.
So now this is when they can really send the pressure, right?
Yeah.
Showing blitz.
And they rush 4. Here comes Shaq Barrett off the edge, stripped. And did they finally fall on one? It looks like they did. It looks like Vita Vea fell on it.
Incredible.
So the Bucs have the football.
That's what we were talking about earlier, right? They showed pressure there, but they actually only ended up sending 4, trying to confuse Fields, make him hesitate, make him hold on to the ball. And that extra half tick, that's all you need to try to make that big play in the backfield. And Fields will give you that extra tick. But there, Shaq Barrett just won outright. So incredible play. Again, the game plan from Bowles working to a T. Amazing start for the Buccaneers so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shaq Barrett going up against Lachavious Simmons there, who's the Bears' third string right tackle, I think. Depending on how you look at it, Elijah Wilkinson had been starting, but they wanted to start Tevin Jenkins there, and I'm not sure where you're at in terms there with the Bears, but they're obviously hurting at that spot. So Shaq Barrett beats him clean for the strip sack of Justin Fields. Not much Fields can do about that one. That one's tough if you're a quarterback. Barely any time off there. Brady back to pass. Great protection over the middle of the field. Mike Evans makes the first down catch and is going to be knocked down near the Bears' 24-yard line. So a gain of 11 for Evans, and the Bucs pick up a first down on first down.
There they went with that bunch set, but I think a part of the reason that they want to get Evans in the slot, especially in a game like this, is because of all the two high teams that the Bucs have faced, like the Eagles last week and like the Rams earlier. Evans has kind of struggled to get involved in those games because he's such an outside one-on-one type of guy, and they don't want him to be completely uninvolved from the game. So they're saying, hey, let's move him to the middle. Let's see if we can take advantage there with him.
Right. Here goes Rojo up the middle. He's got a first down. Gain of 12 or 13 for Rojo down to the Bears' 12-yard line. He's running wild, and the Bucs are open and up holes up front. The Bears want to keep 2 safeties deep, and the Bucs are showing they can run the football a little bit.
And just to finish up that last thought, I mean, the Bucs' ideal game plan or opponent would be one that's playing single high safety, so then they can just leave Evans on the outside as that true isolated X receiver that he is, and let him just win matchups there. But like I said, they don't want him to just become uninvolved when teams are playing too high. So they want to get him inside, give him some touches that way.
For sure. Here's 1st and 10 for the Bucs from the 12-yard line. Brady handoff, Ronald Jones up the middle. He's got 3 or 4 yards. Helmet came off there. It looks like it was Donovan Smith's helmet. And so clock winds, 45 seconds and counting left in the first quarter. And we'll see what the Bucs do with the clock here. They're going to have to snap another play before the end of the first quarter for sure.
You love the decisiveness from Rojo, right? You see such a stark difference. I mean, Leonard's obviously been doing great, but with Ronald Jones, and as soon as he gets the handoff, there's no hesitation. He just explodes. And whereas Leonard Fournette is more like there's more hesitation. He's kind of waiting to see a hole, and Jones just seems to process it a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Here we go. 2nd and 7. Brady back to pass. Good protection. Fires to Cam Brayden. It's broken up at the goal line. Good play by DeAndre Carson. Saved the Bears, who is their 4th safety, and he's starting today because of the injuries they have at that position. He breaks up that pass at the goal line for Cam Brayden. 3rd and 7 for the Bears. 9 is coming up.
Yeah, they kind of sent like a simulated pressure there where they were showing blitz, but they actually ended up only sending 4. But one of those 4 was a player from the second level. And then they dropped off one of their defensive linemen. So it looked like Brady perhaps anticipating the blitz, threw it hot to Brate, but just not able to finish there.
Yeah, that throw was a little bit late and a little bit behind Brady too, so tough one there. Here's Brady over the middle to Mike Evans, caught at the goal line, touchdown. Houston Carson hit him as he crossed the goal line. Evans held on to the football. Brady absolutely ripped that thing in there for touchdown number 600 for Tom.
Unbelievable. And there it is, right? Evans over the middle. They're saying, we're not just going to let you hang out on the outside and be a decoy today. And you know what? The other element of that is the fact that they don't have Antonio Brown, right? I mean, if you do have AB and if you do have Gronk, maybe you say, hey, we'll just leave Evans outside and let him open things up for us over the middle. But when you don't have that luxury of those guys out there, now you need to find ways to get Evans involved. So nice adjustment by Leftwich to do that. It wasn't immediately obvious to me, which is why I was questioning it on the first drive. But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. And Leftwich, you and I have been singing his praises, man. I mean, he's been doing a lot of things that are just really, really smart so far this year. It's been really cool to see.
Yeah, it's been awesome. The evolution of the offense has been crazy. I get some more comments about that in a second, but now it is 21-0 Bucs with 6 seconds left in the first quarter. We're going to get a few, probably we're going to get the kickoff here, and they've got a little commercial run on the side, and then we'll get the first quarter break here in a second. But everything you wanted basically offensively in the first quarter, right? I mean, you wanted to get up 21-0. You felt like you could get up 21-0 because of the opponent and the way they're hurting and the matchup. But you need some things defensively. You need them to step up, get their mojo back. They forced 2 turnovers. They've got a pair of sacks. That was the big thing to me, Paul, was you didn't want a bunch of clock-consuming drives and the Bears getting a bunch of a couple field goals or moving the ball. You wanted the Bucs defense basically to come out and feel very confident when they've allowed completions. They've tackled the catch extremely well. They've gotten after the quarterback well with 4. They've gotten the ball out twice now. They recovered one of them. But they're making the kind of splash plays that defensively you need to make for winning football in today's NFL. They're finally kind of making those plays, it looks like.
Yeah, and that's their defense has always been a splash play defense, right? That's what their success is predicated on. They're saying, hey, we're gonna make you be patient, and while you're being patient, we're gonna basically we're assuming that you're gonna make a mistake at some point, and we're gonna take advantage. And it's been working. And, obviously a rough start for this defense against 3 very good quarterbacks to start the season. But since then, the numbers have really stabilized. And now they're at a point where overall statistically, as far as EPA goes, they're not too bad at all. In fact, they're actually pretty solid as a unit overall.
It's almost like good or bad defense has way more to do with the opponent that you play than whether you're actually good or bad on defense.
It absolutely
now that
does,
the Bucs
right?
are playing opponents who are worse at offense, it doesn't matter that they have backups and they magically look a little better on defense. Here's Fields back to pass, screen pass, Cole Kmet, but a great play by Devin White. He was the only guy out there. He had to fight through Cody Whitehair's block to make the stop, but it's a gain of 5, but it could have been a lot more if Devin White doesn't make that play, Paul.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, awesome splash play there by Devin White. I mean, that speed, the way he's able to use it, when it's good, it looks amazing. And that's why, you see it sometimes that he can be why he's so well perceived by fans around the league is because when you see it work, it looks freaking incredible.
Yeah. The play sticks with you, right, when he stands out. And that was amazing because he actually fought through a block to make that one. And that hasn't always been his forte, but out there in the screens, the Bucs defensive line fell for it. That was a great play call, first down screen, try to get a little bit of a splash play going right before the quarter break. And now we are at the end of the first quarter. And, Devin White basically just sniffed it out and made a heck of a play out. I mean, Kmet probably gets ripped on the sideline for running right into the only guy out there who was being blocked, but still a good play by White to keep one arm free and be able to make that stop and give up only 5 yards. It's a really good play.
I think that was Whitehair on the Bears, right? The tackle. And for White to just be able to fight through a guy who has a huge size advantage on him, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, he just powers right through like no big deal.
Yeah.
Just an incredible athlete. Incredible athlete.
For sure. And so the quarter break, here we are, 4 of 7 for Justin Fields for 21 yards. He's been sacked twice and he's thrown an interception. He's fumbled both times on sacks. One he lost. Khalil Herbert has 6 carries for 40 yards. He had that 29-yard run, obviously not a whole lot other than that. He'd have a 6-yarder. Justin Fields has 1 rush attempt for 1 yard on a scramble. Cole Kmet, 2 catches, 10 yards, and the best of the Bears receivers. I don't need to read. There's not much going on there. And then on the other side of things, Brady 7 of 10 for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Leonard Fournette's 4 of 26, 4 carries, 26 yards. Ronald Jones 2 for 15 yards. Fournette's averaging 6.5 yards a carry, and Ronald Jones is averaging 7.5 yards a carry. So you love to see that for sure. Combined 6 carries for 41 yards, but there's not much yardage to go around for the Bucs because they haven't had very far to go thanks to a couple defensive turnovers and a kickoff or punt return by Jaylen Darden. They've had all short fields to work with. So this has been a very weird game in that the offense has looked great, but they're not really. They have 21 points, but they're still what are they? I don't even think they're at. How many yards of offense are they right now? 92 yards of offense, but 21 points. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting hooked up, right? I mean, every unit is playing great. It's not even like the offense is playing poorly, obviously. I mean, they're just maximizing the opportunities that they've been given. But by the way, they're still managing to make, somewhat explosive plays where they're getting chunks. But look at the way they're doing it, right? Because they're playing these 2 high coverages, they're getting those chunks over the middle. You know, they're 15 to 20-yard chunks as opposed to, say, 35-yard chunks along the sideline.
Right. Here's Fields underneath, quick throw and a good tackle right away by Jamel Dean. He's going to knock out the receiver or the running back, Damian Williams, 2 yards short of the first down. So 3rd and 2 coming up for the Bears offense.
Did you see
Mike Evans?
He made
Mike
his lips
Evans
there.
just
He's like, I
realized-
gave the ball away. He just said that.
He gave away the number 600 ball. Brady's throwing. He didn't realize it. And the Bears or the Bucs personnel you're seeing are working things out with the fan to make sure they're going to get something in return for Mike.
Yeah,
Evans
I hope that guy.
ball
I hope he gets a different ball at least.
He should get something. I'm sure he'll get something nice for sure. So the fan gave it back. It was a Bucs fan. Here goes Fields on 3rd and 2. He's back to pass. Bucs bring Devin White late, and the receiver dropped it. That was open. No question about it. Darnell Mooney just dropped it. So 4th and 2 coming up in the Bears offense coming off the field. So 2 third-down conversions they've dropped of Justin Fields in this game. Those are huge. That was going to be a decent little chunk
looks
play.
like he got another one.
Oh, he did.
I'm sorry.
Maybe that one's autographed.
I'm more invested in this whole ball thing right now. I mean, I'm still cracking up at the sideline shot of Mike Evans where you could clearly read his lips. He's like, "Oh, I gave it away."
Yeah. Hey, it's just another touchdown for the Bucs.
Yeah. I mean, we're still a ways from away, but the one thing I really want from this game is for Brady to get 4 touchdowns and give us this right here. Give us the 4 fingers.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Pat O'Donnell's kick. Did the Bucs get a piece of it? I don't know. Looked like they landed near O'Donnell, but I don't see any flags down.
Shaggy says he got another ball and we'll get a signed jersey. Well, I'm guessing he's speculating, but that's pretty good speculation.
They probably said it on the broadcast.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the 4, that would be a great moment though if he did that.
Yeah, that would make me so happy.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
1st and 10 for the Bucs when they take back over from their own 29-yard line. We're at a commercial break right now. 14:08 left in the second quarter. So here we go. The second opportunity in the game now for the Bucs offense to actually drive closer to the length of the field. I'm not going to say the length of the field, but from their own end, from a normal field position, starting field position, as Pat O'Donnell's second punt after Pat O'Donnell's second punt of the game. Their only failure was a 3-and-out when they had the ball earlier in the game and they had this opportunity and they didn't cash in on it. So now, I mean, you get up 28-0. It doesn't matter what point in the game it is. You totally change what the Bears have to do. And so this is a pretty pivotal drive in the game. 21-0. I think, that you still leave the door open for a team. You leave the hope there for a team. But 28-0, it really changes things a lot, Paul.
Yeah, I'm really curious, though, to see if knowing that Evans is going to play more inside, if now the Bears go, okay, fine, we're going to blitz you more often because we know Evans has had those miscommunications as that hot player, right? So that'll be a cool little back and forth chess match. And I wonder how that'll work out. I'm really curious if that does happen because overall, though, Brady is not a quarterback you want to blitz, and his numbers against the blitz have been fantastic ever since joining. Well, just forever, but even since joining the Bucs.
Yeah, you could see Arians and Brady, by the way, laughing about that 600 ball and Evans mistake there. So hopefully they can keep laughing in this one. Right now, 21-0 Bucs, 14:08 left in the second quarter. They'll take over at their own 29-yard line. Bears offense hasn't done much. Bucs defense has looked great.
Are you supporting the game again? I'm still on commercials.
No, I'm still on commercials.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. The supporting cast for the Bucs or for the Bears has really kind of totally let Justin Fields down, though. I feel like, the first sack, maybe you want him to ID the pressure a little bit for sure. Wade Walkwin pulled up late. That's a rookie learning mistake for sure. And the overthrow and the interception, definitely, but he's getting outside of structure when he's under pressure again right away. He got out of a sack, which we didn't even mention was pretty amazing. And then, he does make a bad throw there, but 2 drops on third downs, especially one, they were in Bucs territory. And the drop there was killer by Cole Kmet. The second sack, the strip sack, well, I don't know. I mean, that was an immediate win by Barrett. As soon as he actually was throwing the ball, he was getting it out quickly. Yeah. So really tough, man. There's not been a lot to work with for Justin
It's a
Fields.
whole team failure, right? It's like, I'm not going to pretend like he's been great either. But he's been bad, but so has everyone else, right? Like there's no one that's going to succeed in those conditions, and and rookies aren't supposed to be good. That's at the end of the day. Fields will get better.
Right. Here goes Ronald Jones up the middle for 9 yards. He looks good. He looks lively right now in this one, and so the Bucs trying to run the ball a little bit, and it seems to be working so far for them in this game. Everybody, Brojo and Leonard Fournette, both running the ball very well so far today. About a little over a quarter into this one. And so the Bucs are going to have a 2nd and 1 at their own 38-yard line. So 2nd and 1, lots of options on the table for you here. They're in jumbo personnel, and there goes Rojo for 4 yards. He'll have the first down as he pushes out to the Bucs 42-yard line. 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay there.
That was weird footwork on the first down handoff from Brady. I don't know if that was some sort of miscommunication or something like that. It didn't look like it was as smooth as it's supposed to be, but great second effort by Ronald Jones when he got stopped to keep moving his legs and getting those 9 yards and setting up that 2nd and short. And by the way, it is encouraging to see Ronald Jones get back in the mix, right? You want both those guys to be getting a fair share of handoffs, both of them be fresh, and they both have their strengths. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. Here's Brady from the shotgun. 3 receivers out there, all to his left. Brady pump fakes in the flat, turns and throws to Evans, and the ball looks like did it go off his hands? It was a little high, back shoulder for Evans with the safety closed, and he put it kind of where he wanted to. Evans couldn't come down with it. 2nd and 10 from the Bucs 42-yard line coming up.
I think Brady might have missed it a bit outside. It looked like
high.
The Bucs are trying to make it look like a screen pass to Fournette. So the receivers on that 3 side, they faked as if they're blocking, and then they kind of cut up field, and Evans was the outermost guy. So he faked like a block, and then he faded up towards the sideline, but it's just not able to quite connect on it. And I think that's more on Brady than Evans.
Yeah, here's Brady back to pass. Rifles this one for Evans, but coverage is all over it, and it's knocked down by Kindle Vildor. Evans was not open there at all. Vildor in his hip pocket. Hasn't been a ton of separation in this game. Like, there's no way that is open at all, and that's kind of been, even on the completions, that's been the story so far. Just not a lot of space so far for receivers.
Right, yeah, like, the Cameron Brate almost touchdown, and then the Godwin touchdown after that. I mean, even though, like the defender's head was to the back of his head was to Brady, but overall it's still tight coverage.
Right. Here's the Bucs on 3rd and 10. Brady back to pass. Bears do send pressure. Brady gets it off over the middle of the field, juggled and almost caught, almost intercepted too. Again, tight windows. Everything's tight window throws, and it's going to be incomplete. So the Bucs will punt 3 straight passes there, and you're all right. We're going to run the football now. You can hear him saying, we're running the ball well. And Arians, I don't mind it at all, but Arians gets away from it. And now the Bears with a little energy, they bring up a 4th and 10 here.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what happened there schematically. I mean, you don't expect there to be such tight coverage when they're blitzing as well, right? So for them to be able to send 5 and still have everything wrapped up behind it, it's really impressive for the Bears defense.
Yeah, for sure. As it would have been interesting to see a high shot of what happened there. I was thinking the same thing. It seemed like everybody was around the routes there. And here's the punt and a pretty good return by Jakeem Grant, and he gets it out to about the 30-yard line, 29-yard line. So the Bears are going to have a field position starting at their own 29-yard line, trying to get something going offensively. Down 21-0 with 12:24 left in the second quarter of this one. And you don't see three incompletions in a row very often for this Bucs offense. I wonder how many.
Here we go. We're already getting in the chat. Oh, Brady not looking too sharp today. Brady missing. Are we forgetting the drives before this one? I mean, he's been throwing some freaking dimes.
Hey, I told you all the time, Paul. The standard for Brady is impossible. This game started with a pass interference penalty on Brady's first pass attempt of the game. Yeah, and then Evans didn't look on the hot route. Then a design screen, Giovanni Bernard catches it and gets dropped for -4 yards. And I saw people in the chat say Brady's not looking too sharp today.
Yeah. And that Evans one,
none of those
plays might not have even been a miss. It's like if it was a miss, it wasn't like an egregious one. It was like a bit. And then we're also getting what happened to running the ball.
The standard is perfection for that dude, man. That's what it is. And then he set that bar for himself. So it's understandable. Bears offense hasn't been able to get anything going. What do you do here? Do you have a trick play? Justin Fields, 5 of 9, 24 yards, sacked twice, thrown an interception, fumbled on both sacks. What's the story here with the Bears offense so far?
Sorry, say again. I was reading the chat here. I got a bit distracted.
I was saying, what's the story with the Bears pass rush here so far? It just feels like, or the Bears passing offense so far. It feels like they want to hit splash plays, but that the Bucs have done a good job preventing those so far this season. We'll see if the Bears can find one. Obviously, in this situation, Bucs should be even more vigilant to not give those kind of plays up. Now, you look at it and you say, okay, this is a situation where if the Bears drive the length of the field and score on you the way they're playing offense right now, okay, all right. But problem is, Bucs have shown that they've given that up to some subpar quarterbacks before, so this is a little bit dangerous territory.
But so far, I mean, I think the story on defense has been the pass rush, right? And every part of the defense has been playing really well so far. But the pass rush has affected a lot of plays, right? Not just with the sacks or the sack fumbles, but with the pressures, and obviously the pressure that led to the interception as well. So I think if they can keep winning up front, that's an impossible proposition for a quarterback, right? If your offensive line is losing to 4 guys rushing, and then they're able to drop 7 in coverage, I mean, that's just impossible.
Right. Agreed. Here's the Bears offense is going to go from their own 29-yard line now. So we'll see if Justin Fields can get anything going here. Down 21-0. It's going to be handoff to Khalil Herbert. He'll pick up about 6 yards. Devin White makes the stop. And so second down coming up for the Bears offense. Came back from commercial break a little bit quick there. We didn't see the beginning of that play, I don't think. Looked like outside zone run, but yeah.
I totally missed it. But yeah, I mean, probably that's their most used concept for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bucs just have so much lateral speed. Even if you're trying to get outside or if you're trying to cut it back inside on outside zone, it's just so tough. I mean, I don't think there's a single run that's going to have a great probability of success against this defense.
Right.
But
here's Justin Fields, play action, and he rolls out and he hits Jesse James in the flat. He juke moves on Jason Pierre-Paul, who misses the tackle, and James will pick up a couple more. I shouldn't say juke moves. He stopped and went upfield. I've given Jesse James too much credit if I'm saying juke moves there, but he picks up first down.
So, and there they fake the wide zone, right? So they fake the wide zone to the left, and then they boot all the way up back to the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of these offenses are doing, right? These days, it's just such a huge horizontal stretch. And then you have 3 layers of receivers behind it. So they hit the guy in the flat, but they have a guy around the 10 to 15-yard mark, and then they have a guy a bit deeper than that as well.
Right. Here's Fields from the shotgun on 1st and 10. They're throwing again on 1st down. He throws underneath Khalil Herbert and quickly tackled there. D. Delaney and Kevin Minner, a gain of 2 or 3. And 2nd and 7, it looks like, coming up for the Bears.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to stay on schedule with quick passes on 1st down. And I think that's a pretty smart choice. I think that's kind of the same thing the Bucs have to do. But overall, against this defense, I don't think running a ton on 1st down is going to be the answer. Instead, I think their best outcome would be to set up downs where it makes sense to run, right? Like set up 2nd and medium, 2nd and short, where you're not necessarily needing 5 yards for it to be considered a successful play.
Right. Here's Fields. Oh, JPP, quick jump off the line of scrimmage there, and he strip sacks Fields. Shaq Barrett picks it up. He's tackled. He fumbled the ball ahead. Devin White scoops that up, and he's going to be knocked down at the 25-yard line. Looks like another strip sack. What happened with Shaq Barrett in the ball?
Holy.
What just happened there? JPP got a great jump off the snap. I thought he might have been offside, but they didn't call it. And the Bucs defense is rowing the boat right now. And we'll have a 1st and 10.
That was really something. I mean, but good Lord, what a day for this defense, right? I mean, they're regressing to the mean, right? And regressing the good way because now they're playing those weaker offenses. Yeah. And, I think I wrote it before the Eagles game that this defense is not something to really worry about. They're better than it seems, and it's starting to turn back around for them. And I think as they get healthier, it's just going to become better. And but when they do face some supercharged offense again, then maybe they'll struggle again.
And look at the right tackle spot. I mean, Fields has no time to throw that football. The right tackle spot killing the Bears. JPP won as quick as he's won all season there. Just an incredible rush. And Justin Fields, he is actually trying to get the ball out on both of those last 2 strip sacks. And that right tackle, the Bears are going to have to scheme something up because JPP with the club.
What happened with Shaq there? I want to see how the ball came out of his hands. What happened there? Did he get hit or?
Yeah, I want to see that too. They have not really shown that in the replay yet. And the Rams just scored, by the way, I think, to take the lead there. They reviewing this? Is that? They're probably reviewing the fumble. Did he throw the ball ahead? He threw the ball ahead. Why did he do that?
We need a Shaq segment.
Yeah, what in the world was that?
Oh,
there's nobody even. That's not even a lateral attempt. I don't know what that was. Good thing Devin White was Johnny on the spot there.
But you can't do that though, right? Like they're going to call that back, I'm guessing.
I don't think so. I guess you can do. I don't know. Maybe they're just saying he lost it. Maybe they're saying he didn't throw it ahead. Here's play action. Brady over the middle of the field. High for Cam Brady. And there's a for sure miss, right? That one looked like, and he's distressed at himself right now. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's pissed right now.
That was really bad.
Yeah, that's not one I don't think I've ever seen him miss there. Way high for Brady over the middle of the field.
I got to get the game.
And again, they're going pass first. I'm surprised by that. I thought that they were going, they would come out and they would run the football way more after that.
I mean, but overall, I mean, to see more play action on first down, certainly a pleasant surprise. They've actually been extremely run heavy on first down again this year.
Yep. And there's a drop by Leonard Fournette on second down. And so 3rd and 10 coming up for the Bears offense quickly. Fournette on the slant route, using him out wide there. And he couldn't pull that one in. Again, still pretty tight window if you're throwing a running back anyway, but that one was on the money.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good coverage so far from the Bears. You got to give them credit. But the defensive special teams has really helped the offense out by creating these short fields and making it easy to score points. But we haven't seen that sustained drive or consistent movement from this offense yet.
Yeah, for sure. And here's Godwin in motion on 3rd and 10. Brady 3 for 4, 2 touchdowns on 3rd down over the middle of the field. And that one, O.J. Howard never turned around, and the offense looks just out of sorts. He didn't stop at all for that ball. And Bears defense can hold again. 6 straight incompletions for the Bucs offense. That's not something you see happen very often. And looked like O.J. Howard maybe tripped on that one as he was coming. Safety jumped it, though, the whole way. Again, let's see if there's anything else open around the field. Not seeing it so far.
That one looks like a throwaway, to be honest.
Yeah. Pressure up the middle.
Yeah, I don't think
there. Yeah.
I think that Bright one was a bad miss. The second down was just tight coverage. That third one was a throwaway. I don't think that was a miss.
Here's Suckup, 43-yard attempt. And he didn't even come close. Not even close.
Wow.
Way wide right for Ryan Suckup. And so no points for the Bears or for the Bucs offense on that one. They had a chance to go up by 24 there by probably a healthy margin that could have probably put it away. Now they leave the door open a little bit. 10:01 left in the second quarter. The Bears will take over from their own 33-yard line. So no harm, no foul. And the Bucs offense is sputtering a little bit. 6 straight pass incompletions for the Bucs offense. I'm pretty sure we have not seen that yet this season.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just variance. I don't really think there's anything, overall huge to be taken away from that. Sometimes you just get good coverage. I mean, that miss is like a one-off thing. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how they adjust though, right? Is there something schematically that they see that, hey, we can change this up? From what I can see, not really. I think it's just, one team's executing a little bit better than the other right now.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to go back and look at some of these high shots and see the coverages, because I feel like when we've gotten high shots, there's not been a lot of people open. Like, even think about Evans on the touchdown. He's not very open on the touchdown. Godwin on the touchdown, not very open. Brate, even though it's, he's right into the end zone, right into a tight window and tight coverage, he's not very open. It's a lot of tough catches right now. And it doesn't seem like the scheme is getting guys open very well. And the Bears are handling one-on-ones a lot better than you thought, considering the fact that Kendall Vildor and Duke Shelley, you probably don't know, are 2 of their top 3 corners. Feels like they're actually playing pretty well when they're in man coverage, which they've been in a decent bit here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time where it kind of feels like they're missing Gronk, right? I mean, AB, they've missed him before. I think his missing him was kind of understated in the Rams game. I think he was missed more than people expected or kind of said, but it seems like today, with that lack of separation, right, you're seeing that effect a bit more.
Yeah, I still think I'm shocked that the Bucs did not run the football at all there, Paul. Shocked. Not that I even disagree with it at all. I don't. I'm not saying that. I think it's fine. They can throw the ball great. Like you said, there's always going to be some variance. There's always going to have that. You usually don't see 6 straight incompletions. So, I mean, the process is fine. I'm just surprised knowing the Bucs coaching staff, right? Like, that's shocking the way they're running the football. Averages 6.8 yards per carry as a rushing offense. Jones is averaging 7. Fournette's averaging 6.5. They've only run the ball 8 times. They've thrown the ball 16 times, and they're up 21-0. It feels like short field there. I thought they would. I'm stunned that there was no runs in that. I thought we'd at least see a good old 2nd and 10 run.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind the process at all, though.
No, it's fine. Bucs look a little bit confused on the back end. Winfield dropping out now. Here's Fields, takes the snap. Pressure slow to get there. He throws the ball down the field. Darnell Mooney wide open, and D. Delaney takes him down. He's going to get out to midfield, though, and the Bears are trying to go hurry up, going to go with pace here a little bit as they get a 1st and 10 out to midfield. So they're threatening already a little bit.
Yeah, quick turnaround on field position, huh?
Mm-hmm. Fields barking signals at the line of scrimmage, getting everybody lined up, getting them ready to go quick. He's going to take the ball, hand off. Khalil Herbert's got a huge hole up the middle. Devin White didn't fill, and then Devin White and Minter missed their tackles, and they finally knocked down Herbert after a gain of about 13, but all the way down to the Bucs 37-yard line. And so the door's been left cracked open. Now the Bears trying to get back in this one. 1st and 10 from the Bucs 37. Bucs lead
now at this
21-0.
point, I'm officially surprised by the success of the run game. It's not just 1 or 2 plays. Now it's actually sustained success.
Right. And that was against base defense there too. And here's Fields rolling out. He's going to take it for a gain of 5 before he slides down. And so we've got a 2nd and 5 coming up from the Bucs 32-yard line. So the Bears on the fringe probably of field goal range here already, but they're looking for more, obviously, down 21-0.
Yeah. I think this could be a kind of a turning point if they can get a touchdown here. The Bears will keep them alive, right? Whereas that could have kind of been a bit of a kill shot on that previous drive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Could have been and should have been for sure. A lot of failures to put teams away this season. Here's Herbert again with a nice carry, breaks several tackles down to near the 20-yard line. Herbert with a 12-yard gain, and this is just really poor run defense from the Bucs. We don't really see that. Herbert has 9 carries for 71 yards, Paul.
Yeah, and Winfield coming off the edge there on a blitz. It seems like they're trying to get more aggressive, but Bears able to create the gaps on the opposite side and break
tackle
tackles
by Devin White. And here's Herbert again, this time for 6 yards. Jamel Dean stands him up and knocks him down, but another good gain. And so 2nd and 4 at the Bucs 14-yard line, 2nd and 4, I believe, at the Bucs 14-yard line coming up here for the Bears offense. And they're moving with pace, and they've got the Bucs back on their heels. Lots of missed tackles for the Bucs, many of them coming from Devin White. Here's Fields from the shotgun. Again, they're moving quickly. Fields back to pass. Bucs send a ton, but they don't get there with much speed. They look gassed, to be honest, and Robinson makes the catch for a very short gain, but a 1st down. It looks like he picked up 4 yards, and Jamel Dean is down with an injury.
Yeah, just the secondary has been dealing with a lot. I mean, just unbelievable how much injury misfortune they've had so far.
Yeah, he goes off. Hard to tell what was injured there. He's kind of limping. Is it his leg? Are you looking at his hand too, though? Limping with the hand. 1st and goal for the Bears from the 10-yard line of the Bucs.
But Bears able to successfully hit that underneath stuff, right, to move the ball down the field. They again, like, they really haven't had like a big chunk that's gotten them down the field. So this is their success is still predicated on playing mistake-free football, which is difficult to do for a whole game.
This is getting to the point where it's pretty crazy, though, right now. The Bucs are in base defense here. Pat O'Connor is on the field right now for them defensively, and we got a timeout called, I believe. But, yeah, I mean, it is D. Delaney and Pierre Desir on the field for the Bucs defense right now. I didn't even see Ross Cockrell out there. He must only be playing in nickel, so they're not even playing Cockrell outside. Right. So that essentially means the Bucs are down their top 4 corners from the start of the season, plus Richard Sherman right now when they're in base defense. Yeah. You've got Pierre Desir off the street and D. Delaney, who had 5 snaps in his career until this season. To say it's a tough spot is putting it mildly.
And this is so they're playing more of those 2 high coverages, which is schematically going to weaken them against the run a bit. But you overall expect this personnel to be fine even without that extra defender in the box. But now when the Bears are finding success, it becomes difficult for Bowles, right? What does he do? Does he put that extra defender in the box and then kind of leave his corners on an island, or does he continue playing the way he has?
Yeah, for sure. Here it is, 1st and goal. Herbert gets the ball and not going to go anywhere. Shaq Barrett wraps him up, drops him at the line of scrimmage. Herbert tried to bounce outside after he ran into resistance up the middle, and 2nd and goal from the Bucs 10 is coming up.
But yeah, I mean, just an unbelievable challenge this season for Todd Bowles. And that's why I'm reluctant to throw many or much, if any, criticism his way, just because he's been dealt such a tough hand. And But I mean, overall, this if they score here, that's one touchdown so far, right? I mean, in today's NFL, it's not the end of the world here still.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely tough for opposing defenses to keep teams out consistently. Here's a 2nd and goal. Bucs do send pressure again. It doesn't get there. Herbert has plenty of time. He rolls out. Now Cockrell applies pressure. He throws over everybody out the back of the end zone. So 3rd and goal coming up now. And Jamel Dean is back in the game, by the way. And so that, again, the Bucs are sending the house, but it's getting picked up pretty good. And so there's Dean on Allen Robinson. You saw in that play pretty good coverage. Taking the bait, and D. Delaney on Darnell Mooney. Good coverage as well.
Great coverage everywhere. And he's rolling to the right, and no one on the right is open there. So well executed from the whole unit.
Yeah, for sure. And so now you've got a 3rd and goal situation from the Bucs 10-yard line. 6:17 left in the second quarter. Bucs up 21-0. Here's Fields from the shotgun. Takes the snap. No pressure. Ball looked like it might have been tipped. Was it tipped? And it was incomplete. Dean with coverage, good coverage on Jesper Horsted. They look like they threw the fade on 3rd and goal from the 10. Yikes.
Yeah, they had him one-on-one there and trying to take advantage of that size mismatch with, no safety help over top there, just safety in the middle of the field. But great job by the defense. I mean, they really tightened up there.
Right. Yep. Agreed. And field goal time for the Bears. And not too worried about field goals if your offense can get back on track at all in this game, so part of the struggle there for the Bears was having that 1st and goal at the 10-yard line and not being and needing to get into the end zone. The Bucs coverage to kind of lock up the areas they were trying to get to there. And Cairo Santos does send that one through on the 28-yard field goal. So it's 21-3 and the Bears get on the board. 6:08 left in the second quarter. Bucs are going to have to get things going on offense though, Paul. What do? Do you come back and run the football? I know everybody knows our thoughts about that. You go play action, you stick with it. Obviously, this passing attack, you hope that they can find some answers eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I wouldn't mind running the ball against this team, right? Like as far as what the coverage dictates and stuff like that, and like boxes. But I don't think you want to fall into the trap of being overly run heavy. Overall, they on first down, they've had this weird imbalance where they're very run heavy on first down and then very, very, very pass heavy on second down. So when you look at the overall stats, it looks like they're balanced, but on the 2 downs, they're actually very unbalanced. So it'd be nice if overall their pass run splits could stay the same, but if they could become a bit more balanced on those 2 downs, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I want to see them not go too extreme in either direction, right? I think it'd be very reactionary now to just start running the ball on every down or anything like that.
Yeah,
I mean, the strength of this team is still through the air.
Yeah, for sure. Raiders are up 17-7 over the Eagles at halftime. By the way, the Rams are up 17-16 over the Lions at halftime. McVay still has never lost leading at halftime. I forget what the total is, but I know he's never lost leading at halftime. The Cardinals are up 14-5 on the Texans, 2:45 left in the second quarter there. That's one that I think was 5-0 Texans early on. So Cardinals have jumped up. And then, of course, the Bucs up 21-3 over the Bears going around the NFC South. The Falcons won on a walk-off field goal over the 1-6 Miami Dolphins, 30-28. Falcons are up to 3-3 now for them. The Panthers lost their 4th straight game. They're 3-4 now to the formerly 1-5, now 2-5 Giants. They lost 25-3, and Sam Darnold got yanked in that one. The Saints play tomorrow night against the Geno Smith-led Seattle Seahawks, and the Saints have an opportunity to get to 4-2, and they should. The Seattle defense is one of the worst in the league, and now they're on their backup quarterback.
Sorry, say that. You cut out there at the end there.
I said the Seattle defense, one of the worst in the league, and they're on their backup quarterback in Geno Smith and have lost a good number of people. So I feel like the Saints should probably be 4-2 after tomorrow night.
Yeah, unfortunately for Bucs fans, right? And, as a Seahawks fan, it hurts. But, hey, it seems like Russ might be back kind of soon. He's supposedly an incredible healer.
Incredible healer, I was going to say.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Can the Bucs offense get going? Seems like a weird question to ask in a 21-3 game, but that's the question we're asking, given the weird way this one's unfolded a little bit. And so ball goes out the back of the end zone. Bucs will take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Can they answer the Bears' long field goal drive? It is 21-3 Bucs with 6:08 left in the second quarter. Keep in mind, Bucs will get the ball to start the second half too.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything really to panic about with this offense so far. We've seen some tight coverage from the Bears and a couple of missed throws and that sort of thing. But overall, I don't think the Bears are winning schematically necessarily.
Here's Jalen Darden on an end around, gets a block from Cam Brake, gets up the field, and he's going to go down after a gain of about 11 or 12. So a first down for the Bucs right away on this drive out to their own 36-yard line, and we'll see if they can get in a little bit of a rhythm after that end around to Jalen Darden.
Byron Leftwich just trying to manufacture some yards schematically, trying to get this offense in rhythm with a bit of a gadget play, and that's pretty cool and worked out well.
For sure.
Doesn't have to be a run up the gut, right? So he's finding more creative ways to do it.
1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. Here's Brady with the handoff to Fournette. He goes up the middle of the field for about 6 yards. So 2nd and 4 coming up from the Bucs 42-yard line.
I mean, if they're going to be able to sustainably run block this well against this defense, then yeah, I mean, you should just pound the hell out of the rock. That's the question though, right? Can you actually sustain this ridiculous success they've had so far? I mean, so far the run has been phenomenal. So, I guess, you could argue that stick with it until it stops working, right? Because if the Bears do adjust, then you're going to really have stuff opened up in the air. But I'm questioning if they can consistently tear off that.
Consistent. Yeah, exactly. And Cam Brate's in the backfield as a fullback. Brady goes play action, turns, looks, fires, got a completion to Chris Godwin across midfield out to the 47-yard line, 48-yard line of the Bears. So a gain of about 10 or 11 there to Godwin, who now is really clearly kind of leading the way. 4 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown for the Bucs offense.
Yeah, Godwin's the guy against these type of teams, right? Against these 2 high type of teams, it's Godwin. Against the single high type of teams, it's the Mike Evans show. And that's what makes this offense so unstoppable is they have guys who are like absolutely excellent at any type of defense you could throw at them. They have guys that are the perfect answer. And then on top of that, they have a couple more guys just for good measure.
Yeah, for sure. 21-3. Here's Brady. Play action again. Lots of play action. Looking deep down the field to Mike Evans. Got a step. Evans makes the catch. Hauled down at the 2-yard line. Big gain for the Bucs offense.
Okay, see, well, there it is, right? Like, is Brady having a bad day? Is it predictive? Is it predictive to say he was having a bad day, or is it just descriptive of what's happened so far? And there it is. I mean, this offense is just that good. Your success is going to be basically depending on the Bucs screwing themselves up, and they're just not going to do it for very long. They're too good.
Sheesh. Here's the throw. Mike Evans, back shoulder, caught, touchdown.
Oh my goodness.
And he got held.
And he wants the and one as he's signaling for the flag, but gets the touchdown anyway. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no issues there at all. Evans up to 4 catches, 68 yards, now 2 touchdowns, and Brady with his 3rd passing touchdown of the day. The 46-yarder to Evans set it up, and then he goes back shoulder to Evans there, who grabbed that one at the last second. Both catches working on Jalen Johnson, the Bears' top corner. In the first one, I don't know if you saw the 46-yarder, Paul. He almost dropped it. It went through his hands, and he caught it with his elbows.
Yeah.
The 46-yarder.
I did think it was going to be incomplete, to be honest, while it was in the air and kind of before he completed it. But awesome finishing and concentration by Evans. And that was really cool. The way they just went up tempo and said, hey, we're just going to screw you up while you're, kind of out of rhythm here, while you just gave up this huge play. Yeah. Bucs just line up right away, throw that fade. I wonder if that was an RPO there, if they were run blocking. I'm curious because that's what they do a lot of the times is they call a run play and then they put Evans on the outside. And if Brady likes the look, he can just throw it. So curious to see the replay, but yeah, awesome job. I think Brady might have read the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because Evans, maybe he did read the YouTube chat, but that deep ball ability that he has, right? It has happened here and it has happened there this season, but he's had to become a different type of receiver as defenses have actually said, okay, the Bucs are so good offensively now, we've got to change a little bit of what we do. He's had to become more of a slot receiver at times, more of a middle of the field threat, more of a short to intermediate route guy than he's been in the past. People always said Mike Evans, he's not the one knock against him from analytics people was always, Paul, that he wasn't efficient. He had great numbers every year, 1,000 yards every year, but he wasn't efficient. Catch rate for him was just so much lower than targeting other guys but what they failed to understand, I think, was because he ran such a high concentration of routes in one area of the field. And so give Arians and Leftwich and Brady probably too credit for saying, okay, we're gonna ask you to do a little bit of different things than you do sometimes, and we're gonna expand your game a little bit. And last year, highest catch rate of his career, and amidst a year that everybody said he and Brady didn't have chemistry, especially early in the year. Best catch rate of his career was playing with Tom Brady last year. Chance to pass up that number this year for sure. Playing with Brady again, and obviously more chemistry this year even, but off to another tremendous start for Mike Evans this year, and a tremendous start in this game as well with 2 touchdowns. He's up to 6 on the season. And then when he gets a chance for the deep balls, he can still do a little bit of that.
For sure. I mean, and to say that, to point out Evans' struggles in the slot isn't even a criticism of him, because that's not the type of player he is, right? He's an amazing outside. I'll finish up after this, but
right. Herbert for another 6-yard gain, it looks, and Devin White rides him down. They're getting outside a lot. Edge contain has not really been there. And that's a little bit concerning for the Bucs defensively. It's one thing if they're just, okay, you're in dime and you're thinking they're going to throw now, they're down 28-3 and you're giving it up, but that's just assignment stuff. And that's what hasn't been there in this game rushing wise. Here's a late 5-man pressure, and Allen Robinson gets away from Devin White, who finally tracks him down, but not until he gets out to about the 43-yard line of the Bears. 12-yard gain for Allen Robinson on the quick throw. And so now you've got 1st and 10 for the Bears, and they're rolling on offense.
The point I just wanted to make is Evans could be terrible in the slot for all I care, and he'd still be a great player, but he's actually becoming serviceable and getting better there. There's just obviously a few things that they got to clean up, but it's just a testament to him to be good enough as a player to even be able to add that element to the game and be that versatile, because it's not a given. I mean, but you'd hope for the offense when they're a little healthier that they can just stick with him being outside, because he is just so dominant there. It's just such a stress on the defense. By just having him on the outside, it's unreal what that does to a defense.
I don't know what the first down play was. It looked like Sam Mustipher snapped the ball along the ground and never picked it up and got it to Fields. So that ball just kind of rolled back there, and Fields did fall on it, but they lost a couple yards. And now 2nd and 12's coming up. And on 2nd and 12, Fields is incomplete. That ball looked like it was tipped to the line of scrimmage. Vita says he got just a touch of it, it looked like. And so now 3rd and 12 for the Bears quickly. And they're at their own 41-yard line.
I mean, really impressive day for the defense so far. I know that the Bears unit isn't, the best in the league or anything, or even close to it, but still the defense is doing exactly what you should do against an offense like this. It's awesome.
3-man rush, but Barrett still broke through, but he couldn't contain. Now Fields gets away, trying Schwenka tracking him down. They run him out of bounds 4 yards short of the first down.
You'd have to imagine the Bears go for this.
Yeah, 4th and 4 from the Bears 49-yard line. This is the 2-minute warning too, by the way, I believe here. So the Bears will have some time to think about what they want to do.
Is that they're showing Vita Vea running back highlights? These are just the best.
Yes.
These are so ridiculous.
Look at the feet. Ooh. Look at the sweet feet. Oh my gosh.
Look at, when you see him like that really just illustrates how fast NFL guys are, right? Like he looks so freaking fast. It's unreal.
Yeah. Completely agree. Let's see, 4th and 4 here. Yeah, 2-minute warning. Okay, so we should get a break here, I think. And
but yeah, I mean that was tough. Like you said, John, I think on that last play on 3rd down, they were rushing 3, and I think they were using one guy to spy.
They were,
but Fields still
trying Schwenka was spying,
Yeah, but Justin Fields, awesome athlete. These are the flashes, right? He's got a strong arm. He's got the physical tools. He's obviously got his legs, which he hasn't really used as much as you might hope this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he hasn't had a ton of rushing attempts.
Mm-hmm.
But he's able to do it. And so even when as a defense, you play well there. I mean, you can't really fault him there. But Fields just makes a good play and now sets them up for what you would assume is a 4th down attempt.
For sure. And at the 2-minute warning, we'll take this opportunity to talk about our friends over at livinggolflife.com. If you're a golfer and you love getting out on the course, these guys who started this business get it. They're all about getting on the course, having a couple brewskis on the weekend, and trying to get a nice little high score in golf. And they have this unbelievable clothing line, and they've got these polos that are extremely comfortable. They've got these Golf Life hats are unbelievable. It's one of my favorite hats that I own. Extremely comfortable as well. And they've got koozies and glasses, all kinds of stuff. So you head on over to their website, livinggolflife.com. You can also follow them on Instagram at livinggolflife. On IG, you can see kind of the newest stuff that they have coming out and check out all their line. But great gifts. Holidays are coming up. I said, I can't believe it's October 24th today. That feels utterly absurd to me. It feels like we were just in training camp. Now it's October 24th. So the holidays coming up, this is a great place to have kind of on your agenda, on your list. Say livinggolflife.com. that's one you'll be checking out as we get closer to the holidays. So Bucs now going to have we'll see what the Bears do, right? Are they going to go for this on 4th and 4, 49-yard line, 2-minute warning? If you're the Bears, you have to kind of think, what is there to lose? I mean, this is a no-brainer go for it situation, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is probably a situation that's already close, even if the game were still close. Like, if the score were close, I think this is a probably a go for it situation. When you're down 25, I mean, there should be zero hesitation.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see what the Bears opt to do. See if they do opt to go for this thing. 4th and 4 from their own 49-yard line. The Bears have actually had some decent field position today.
Yeah.
And they have just not been able to capitalize enough with it. So 28-3 is the score right now. And this could be kind of one of those swing plays. And the Bears are going to go for it at the 2-minute warning. Bucs showing pressure at the line of scrimmage, got the A-gaps mugged up on 4th and 4. Fields looks like he's changing some things up front, communicating with Herbert. Winfield also looks, now they drop out of pressure. They send 5, and JPP, can he get him on the ground? He does. Fields, he gets him for the sack. Fields tried to step up and get away. JPP was able to slow him down enough. The rest of the crew arrived, and it's a sack, and the Bucs are going to take over at the 48-yard line of the Bears with 1:54 left in the half. Can they add to this lead? Can they get it to 35-3, Paul?
Bowles continuing to confuse Fields. Just a really, I mean, it seems like a smart game plan, certainly working. They're showing man coverage pre-snap with that blitz look. And then it's actually more of I want to say a simulated pressure. I don't know exactly how many they sent. Did they send 5? But it ended up being zone coverage behind, even though they showed man pre-snap. So again, after the snap, making Fields recognize coverage and making process quickly.
Here's Brady back to pass. Pressure coming. He's going to heave one deep. Oh, looked like Godwin stumbled. But Jalen Johnson stepped on his heel. That was a touchdown.
Oh, just unlucky. Godwin losing his footing there a little bit.
Also, what game was it earlier? Godwin slipped and fell against, was it the Eagles game? I think it was on a deep ball.
But I think it was probably raining. It was raining there earlier, right? Or pouring. I mean,
yes.
Field is probably a bit slippery. So, I mean, not really Godwin's fault.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if they can get something before halftime. The Bucs have struggled generating out a little bit, but yeah, the Godwin stumble there. That looked like he was open for the touchdown there. Here's Brady back to pass. Underneath to Giovanni Bernard, who gets up and surges forward for about 9 yards. So the Bucs are going to have a 3rd and 1 situation at the Bears' 39-yard line. This should be 2 down territory no matter what, and that should affect the play calling too. Plenty of time. Oh, they are going to use a timeout here, though, with 1:40 left.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we saw a very similar situation against the Falcons in week 2, where they didn't use a timeout in this type of situation. And I kind of personally am generally more of a fan of just going up tempo here and not using a timeout. But maybe it's just a situation where they really wanted to nail down the play call.
Yeah. Get this one right on 3rd and 1 and not put themselves in the 4th down situation probably. But to me, I mean, I just hurry up and run the ball here probably. But they're going to go empty. It looks like Giovanni Bernard's in the game.
Okay. Empty on 3rd and 1.
Empty on 3rd and 1 is not what I do, but here we go. Brady back to pass, pressure up the middle. He gets out of it, throws one deep down the field for Evans in his hands, but he dropped it, punched away by Houston Carson. A flag
and there's a flag.
Houston Carson knocked it. He had it right in Evans' hands, and Evans is shook up too. That was a great little back shoulder throw there to Evans.
Holding defense.
Field. Yeah. So first down for the Bucs down to the Bears' 34-yard line. This one on Alec Ogletree, so not where the ball was thrown. Evans had that one back shoulder. Now he's shaken up a little bit too.
Yeah, it's a tough one to finish there. It's obviously a out of structure play where you're trying to make things happen on the fly. And that's not an easy catch whatsoever, right?
Because as he's pulling it in, the safety made a great play, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if Brady could float that a little less and put it a bit further out, which, I mean, he's throwing on the run, but.
Here's a quick one to Godwin, up the field. Put a little juke on Eddie Jackson, got down to the 20-yard line. Very sassy from Chris Godwin. He gets down to the 20, and they'll have a 1st and 10 on the outskirts of the red zone here.
I just love watching the Buccaneers tackles whenever they can get into space, or even their guards like Jensen, the center. Like they get into space so fast, do an unbelievable job.
Here's Brady back to pass all day, and that one's outside for Giovanni Bernard. So 2nd and 10 coming up from the Bears 20-yard line. Bucs lead 28-3, 1:08 left in the second quarter. Bucs do have 2 timeouts, so the whole field available to him here, but obviously you want to get one in the end zone here and make sure you see if you can get to 35 points.
More strong coverage there. Like you'd think that's a mismatch there with Gio on a linebacker, but really wasn't able to get a good step on him. So Brady just kind of put that outside and low where there's 0 chance of a turnover, but maybe Gio can make a play. But credit to the Bears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some coverage has been really good today, honestly. Here's Brady back to throw again. Quick pass to Fournette, but he stood up by a defensive tackle ball, and that looked like the spacing was all off on that one. He catches it, but no gain, and so 3rd and 10 from the Bears 20 coming up here.
Yeah, I think Fournette, that looked like a Texas route where he's supposed to get a bit more outside.
Outside, right.
But unless they were trying to design that as like a screen, which would be really weird. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that one seemed like an interesting call for sure. 3rd and 10 for the Bucs. They do use a timeout here, it looks like.
Yeah, this one I think kind of makes sense, right? Or was it the Bears that used the timeout?
I don't know. Maybe it was. It says the Bucs are down to 1 now. Yes, you want to get this play call right.
Yeah. Oh, Evans back out there, so that's great.
Yeah. Good sign for Mike Evans.
He's been awesome today. I mean, even that one where he got banged up on, just a great job tracking the ball and getting open in the first place.
For sure. Here's Brady back to pass. There's getting away from pressure, throwing to Leonard Fournette, who makes the catch, slowed down a little bit. I think he's going to be, is he just short of the first?
Short.
4th and inches.
Go
Get
for
up
it.
there
Go
and sneak
for
this
it.
thing.
Yeah,
no hesitation. No hesitation. You got to go for this.
Oh, it looks like they're maybe running off the field. I couldn't tell if they're running to the huddle or running off the field.
No, got to go for this. Are you going timeout here? Are they going
don't call a timeout. Why would you call a timeout?
Just be prepared to sneak it in these situations.
Yeah, that's some of that. That's like some of that situational football stuff, right? Maybe they could be a bit sharper on where you like you said, John.
You should already know.
Exactly, that's exactly right. You should know what to do here.
Especially if it's inches.
But at the same time, I'm certainly not going to fault the coaches for really wanting to make the right call in a high leverage moment. Well, high leverage as it can be when you're up 25. But
now, who called the timeout there, or did they stop it for a measurement?
Oh, maybe that was
called
right.
for a measurement. Yeah, called for a measurement. Because I was gonna say they're not taking away the Bucs timeouts around the field, so it looks like they're inches. This is inches.
By the way, this is always just a reminder to the chat. We're watching on mute, so it's always helpful when you guys can tell us, because you can hear the commentary. So if you can tell us, hey, this is what happened, that's always helpful.
And they have a timeout here, so you can run the football, and I would, and then just take your shots in the end zone.
Yep, totally agree. I think I would come out in my light 11 personnel, try to run it, and then go no huddle, so you can go back into your passing sets with that personnel, and hopefully you're creating a lighter box by coming out in 11 as well.
Right. Bears defense trying to get a stop before halftime.
That's what they're doing. They're in 11. They just have the one tight end, one running back. And I wonder if they're going to give up Evans one-on-one there up top. And I wonder if Brady just goes for it there.
What is the discussion here on the field? I would not throw the fade ball in this situation. I would not throw. Now the Bears just called timeout.
I think they wanted to maybe see what look the Bucs came out in.
Sure.
Yeah, so it looks like the Bears are trying to tempt the Bucs into that fade ball. Which makes sense, right, from their perspective. Obviously, that's not you don't want to give that up normally, but in 4th and inches, maybe that makes sense because it's a lower percentage play.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't. The fade ball is just not. It's just a lower percentage throw, especially from this far out of.
Also, I would rather have Ronald Jones in this situation
than Leonard. Because he's less hesitant. Because he's less hesitant.
Yeah, and you're not going to use him on pass blocking, right? There's 0 chance, even if you're passing here, he's not going to be pass blocking, most likely. So I would put him out there. He's a little more explosive.
All right, here we go. 4th and inches, 40 seconds left in the quarter. Here's Leonard Fournette. Runs over.
Oh, nice.
Pelted Duke Shelley. He had him at the line of scrimmage, and Fournette just knocked him on his butt.
Old takes exposed right away. I was wrong. Leonard Fournette. shutting me up, getting it done big time.
And here they go quickly too. Bucs had a second play ready. Brady throws to the end zone and overthrows OJ Howard there. Wow,
that's a
Brady's
bad
frustrated
miss.
himself after that one too. That's a touchdown.
That's a really bad miss. Yeah,
He's been frustrated with himself a few times in this game.
To me, like they're two bad misses now in my opinion. Like the one to Cameron Brate, obviously in the seam, and this one. The other ones, they're
right.
Whatever. It's not.
But
not
those
really
he never misses those throws. That's
Yeah.
why it's like so surprising is that he
Yeah.
never misses those throws.
Yeah,
So it's like,
exactly. So it's, I mean, certainly fair.
It's definitely very
certainly fair to
unusual.
criticize him by his standards.
Pressure coming a little bit, and Brady throws that one away on second down. So 3rd and goal, and they'll go to the end zone once again. 14 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah. So, I mean, that one probably tight coverage there, hard to see what's happening on the back end. But he has made some good throws in the red zone too, right? A couple of the tight window ones.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
the one that
the
wasn't
fade
a
was
touchdown-
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still think that one to break that wasn't a touchdown where the defender made a play over the top was still an excellent throw.
Here's Brady jumping, and Evans in the back of the end zone, touchdown.
What a throw.
What was that throw? That was
my.
as he stepped up in the
And
pocket, he kind of jumped
That's
and threw.
four. That's four
and-
already on the game, right?
Yeah, and Mike Evans going crazy right now. 5 catches, 76 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Mike Evans.
So holy,
What a catch
I
in
mean,
the back of the end zone.
So a couple of misses that Brady doesn't normally make, and then also some
a route.
unbelievable throws. And again, John, I mean, I haven't pointed it out, but I know you've seen it. A handful of plays where Brady's mobility has really helped him, right? Just getting outside of the pocket or stepping up, buying an extra few moments there.
Several
And,
times.
yeah, that wasn't a thing last year. I wrote an article around it recently. Glad to see it was read. Some people made it more evident than others that they read it, but leave it there. And he's using his legs. And
Low key shot.
And but yeah, I mean, it's really helping. That's awesome.
Articles about Brady's mobility, all the rage.
Yeah.
Evans, what a day for Evans, man. I mean, just not only that, but the degree of difficulty and some of the catches have been, that was just an unbelievable route. Like, just look at the work at the line of scrimmage. Cooked Kendall Vildor there.
You're totally right. I mean, I should apologize for not pointing that out right away. I mean, that equally as impressive, if not more impressive, is what Evans did on that play. And he's been having a hell of a game. I mean, I go back to that incompletion where he got banged up. He's been really on one, and he's doing it against coverages where traditionally aren't his strong suit, right? So the fact that he's able to do this is he's taking that extra step, in my opinion, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's great. His game has really developed in taking another step with Tom Brady as his quarterback for sure, which has been awesome to see. Brady with one of the weirdest stat lines you'll probably ever see so far in this one. 15 of 28 for 149 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And again, give Byron Leftwich credit for recognizing, hey, when I don't have AB, when I don't have Gronk, I can't just leave Evans outside against these type of coverages and let it open up stuff for other guys. I have to get Evans back inside so he can make those plays there, even if it's not our ideal setup for our offense. And I think, I think when AB and Gronk are back and they play these type of coverages again, I do think they'll be more content with just leaving Evans on the outside. But again, Leftwich playing it really smart here.
Here's Justin Fields with 9 seconds left, and he's just going to hand off to Khalil Herbert, who is going to get a 6-yard gain, 7-yard gain or so before the Bucs defense knocks him down. Vita Vea grabs his towel off and throws the towel down. And 35-3 is going to be your halftime score. So it was probably a B plus performance for the offense, and they put up 35 in the first half, thanks to the defense with their best performance of the season for sure in that one.
That's a fair assessment, John. A B plus. I mean, it's hilarious, right? But it's because of how well the defense and special teams have played. They've just been unbelievable. Both of those units probably their best, aside from the suck up miss, as far as like the return game and stuff like that. Super impressive, and the defense easily their best game. They've looked outstanding today.
Yeah, and what are the Bucs? Look here, because 35 points on the board. Obviously, halftime they are 5 of 5 in the red zone so far in this game. So I would say that that's what we call pretty good, Paul.
5 of 5 in the red zone?
Yeah, and that's where Brady is just on another level, the red zone. Like, since he got here, the Bucs have been one of the best teams in the league in the red zone. and that's just been kind of him combined with Arians and Leftwich, who I think are at their best, have always been great in the red zone. Arians offenses have always executed really, really well there. If you go look back over his history as a coach, and Leftwich has been a big part of that evolution now as the offense takes another step. Shaggy with a $5 super chat. Appreciate that, Shaggy. Bucs fan in Bears country. Don't like the teddy bears. Glad to hear it, Shaggy. Hope you're enjoying this shellacking here as it is 35-3 at the half. Bucs are rolling over the Bears. Tell everybody to get in here. We might have a second half party. Bucs get the ball, by the way, to start the second half. Will we see any starters out on the field, Paul?
Hey, I think
For
you
the
do,
offense.
because this isn't. They're better than Detroit, right? They're not as bad as Detroit was last year, where they were so banged up and they were missing their coaches and all that. So I think we still see them for at least a couple, like one drive at least.
I think we see him one drive, but was it 35-3 against Detroit or 35-0 against Detroit?
Something like. Hey, by the way, I like this comment from Big DZ. This is the perfect time to bring this back into the mix. He says, "Best receiver on the team!" ! Well, Mike Evans is making his case, right?
It really, yeah. I mean, we've said this before. It probably doesn't matter, but yeah. If we're seriously talking about it, it does depend a lot on what you're looking for. I mean, I'm not moving off Antonio Brown being the best if he's going to be the AB that we've seen so far this season. But yeah, I mean, I think that all these guys are going to have moments where they're going to probably make their case, and for that, I think AB is the most well-rounded guy. So I would take him if he's fully healthy. But look, I mean, all these guys are monsters.
That's the beauty of this team, right? You can pick any of those guys and you're not wrong, really. Like, how can you say you're wrong, right? So that's just what makes it so much fun. But yeah, right. I would still personally stick with 8 for the same reasons as you. And he's the production that he's done on basically half as many reps. But yeah, by the way, is Evans hurt there? Because some people in the chat speculating that he was hurt.
He went to the locker room after the touchdown, but I think it's just because there was 9 seconds left. So he knew he didn't have to go back out there. So I don't know. I don't think he is. I mean, we'll see if he comes out second half, or maybe he just doesn't play second half because why would you?
Big DZ, I don't think Steelers fans like AB very much. He's saying that you picked AB because you're a Steelers fan.
No. Oh, I know. I mean, AB's top 5 receiver of all time. You don't have to be a fan of the Steelers you just have to have eyes to know that.
No, but I mean, if anything, wouldn't being a Steelers fan make you like him less at this point?
Yeah, I mean, yes, for most Steelers fans, that's absolutely true. I don't really care. I've never cared about those things. I just analyze players. I don't really care if they're bad. I'll say they're bad. If they're good, I'll say they're good.
Yeah.
I said before the year Godwin was the best receiver, by the way, because I wasn't sure what Antonio Brown we'd get. So that bears mentioning there. Scott Reynolds is here. He is on the board, and so are the Bucs. Scott, a whole heck of a lot today. And how are you feeling about this one so far?
Well, they're in cruise control right now. You look at this, 35-3 at half. Tom Brady 4 touchdowns. Not been a very precise day for Tom Brady throwing the ball, 15 of 28 for 149 yards. But it's just one of those things where he's putting the ball in the end zone. That's really all that matters. Mike Evans, we talked about this on the pregame show. That matchup with Jalen Johnson going all Mike Evans' way. 5 catches, 76 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chris Godwin, 5 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. We expected him to get more work with AB out. That's happening. But Evans really just being the dominant receiver that he is right now. Leonard Fournette, 41 total yards and a touchdown. So you gotta love Ledyard finding the end zone again. This is now 3 straight games with 4 touchdowns now in 3 games. Yeah. So he is really come on. But listen, you know me, John. I'm a defensive guy. The defense has really come to play today. You got to like Todd Bowles' play calling right from the get-go. Justin Fields' first pass attempt, and he got dialed up a blitz. Antoine Winfield Jr., who had 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles last year as a rookie, finally getting dialed up for a sack and a forced fumble. It was recovered by the Bears, but throw in 3 more sacks, 2 by Jason Pierre-Paul, who's playing with the club today and actually playing pretty well. And Shaq Barrett, who also had a forced fumble. So did Pierre-Paul. Barrett had a fumble recovery. So the outside linebackers are really getting the job done today. D. Delaney got the start over Pierre Desir. That was a good thing for Tampa Bay because he got his first interception. And it's just been miserable for the Bears. 0 for 7 on 3rd downs. Great defense by Tampa Bay. And it's just been it's been a lopsided affair as we kind of expected now, bringing in J.C. Allen to talk about a little bit of a halftime news here. I think the most exciting thing so far, aside from all these touchdowns that Tampa Bay is putting up, is we're probably going to see Blaine Gabbert, the most handsome quarterback in the NFL, in the second half. What do you guys think?
Is he the most handsome quarterback in the NFL?
No, I'm just saying. What do you think? You think he's going to play in the second half?
Now that Cam Newton's not on the team, maybe, but also yes, I think we'll see him in the second half. Oh yes,
Cam Newton.
I think we'll
the fashion disaster. Cam Newton. No, please.
No, best dressed, best looking quarterback in the NFL. Not even a question. But he's not in the NFL right now. Blaine Gabbert is in the NFL, so yeah, that number one mantle can go to him, and I do think we'll see him in the second half. But will we see him in the first drive of the second half? That's my question.
Yeah. This seems to me like you would probably put Gabbert in now, right? Because I think it was a similar score in Detroit, JC, when we saw Tom Brady exit after the first half, and then Blaine Gabbert came in the second half.
Was it 35-0 or it doesn't matter? Against Detroit.
It doesn't matter, right? It's 35-3 right now, so it doesn't matter. JC, I think you're muted.
Yeah, you are muted, JC.
You're muted, JC.
Oh, he doesn't have a mic. Let me point this out while JC's figuring out his audio, Scott. 7 touchdowns now in the season for Mike Evans. I know everybody's curious to see if he'll break kind of the record that he set for himself already. Was this the third time he'll have broken it?
Yeah.
First touchdowns in the season if he breaks it this year. 13 was the franchise record for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Last year set it at 13, and now
he had 12
7 this year.
Right. He had 12 as a rookie, and then 12 again, and then beat it with 13 last year. So yeah, he's on a torrid pace, and
he's
and
on
certainly
496 yards too as he pursues 1,000.
Yeah, he's just having a remarkable start to this season, and the biggest thing is just staying healthy. If he can stay healthy, I think he's gonna probably smash both of those records. So getting 1,000 yards again for 8 straight seasons to start his NFL career, and then probably, like you said, smash those 13 touchdowns he had from last year. So it's quite remarkable what Tampa Bay's been able to do at home, John. I mean, this is now the fourth win. I think we're gonna call this a win, right? I mean, it's the 35-3. I don't see the Bears coming back and then making a second half charge here. So this is the 4th straight win at home, John. 31 points in the season opener, 48 points in week 2 against Atlanta, 45 points against the Dolphins, at least 35 right now. And you go back to week 17 against the Falcons. That was a 44-27 win. The last time the Bucs scored less than 30 points at home was coming out of the bye week, 26-14 against the Vikings. So this is quite a remarkable team at home, and you got to even include the Super Bowl, right? They scored 31 points there. John, you and I were there at Raymond James Stadium when they put up that many points against Kansas City and really ruined the Chiefs, right? I mean, I think we can pretty much say that the Buccaneers have just destroyed Kansas City, not just in the Super Bowl, but heading into the 2021 season now.
Yeah, not looking good for kids for sure. We're going to JC back in here and see if we can get his audio working a little bit. JC, we got you.
You hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you. Sir.
The biggest thing
observations from the first half.
The biggest thing for me is no penalties, guys. They cleaned it up. I mean, no offensive, no defensive. They're playing just clean, sound football. Brady, obviously, struggling to find some of his receivers. That OJ Howard wide open in the end zone, just missed them, overthrew him. But I mean, there's not many bad takeaways from this first half. They've been balling out, finding the end zone and stopping the Bears from finding the end zone themselves. This defense has turned on, finishing their sacks. Not only that, causing turnovers, 2 forced fumbles, an interception. D. Delaney, Arians guy. To answer the question, I think we can see Gabbert very, very quickly in this. Maybe one drive by Brady tops, but you don't want to risk it. I think Evans' day is probably over. Get Tyler Johnson more involved in there. He's a little banged up. He's got 3 touchdowns. You're up by 32 points. Don't risk it. But all in all, I think this Bucs team is just rolling, even more so than any of us thought they would in the first half.
Well, the defense has been the story. I mean, offensively, everybody's going to say, oh, they only have 200-some yards. Brady only has 149 yards, but what can you do? The fields are short. You can only do what's in front of you there, how many yards it takes to get to the end zone, and that's really what they've done. They've just taken care of the business that they can, 5 for 5 in the red zone, 4 touchdown passes. It's been dominant on both sides of the ball for sure, but obviously you expect some of that from the offense, especially with short fields, but you definitely the defensive performance has been kind of most surprising
And
JC, thank you so much for.
I was just gonna say
jumping. Go ahead.
the offensive line. I mean, can we just stand up and applaud the small
great.
little tiny pockets that Brady is sitting in and just being able to maneuver throughout it's been great to watch the offensive line play.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. JC, we appreciate you jumping in, giving some perspective on the first half for sure. Paul, this one is gone pretty much. We didn't know if it would be 35-3 in the first half. We did think it would be a double-digit Bucs victory across the board. This one's pretty dominant. It looks like Brady was out there throwing. We'll see if he starts the second half or not, but I wouldn't start Brady the second half. I want to make that clear. I would play Blaine Gabbert. We're thinking about what they would do here, but I am curious, what would your opinion be? Is Brady, would you play him to start the second half?
I wouldn't play him. I think that they will for a drive or something, but I probably wouldn't. But also, by the way, I think JC makes a great point there, because we talked about Brady's mobility, right? Moving within that pocket. That doesn't happen without good pass protection, though, in the first place. So giving him that space to step up and that sort of thing. And just overall, they've had a really good year so far, right? I mean, you even think about the run game improving. We have all the data in the world that tells us run success is basically it's basically on the offensive line. And the offensive line has done great in both the pass and the run game so far. So really cool to see them step up big time.
Yeah, for sure. The Raiders are up 30-7 on the Eagles. The Eagles do have a 1st and goal right now, but that one is 4 minutes left in the third quarter. The Lions are still trailing 17-16. They do have a 1st and 10 at their own 46, so they are driving a little bit with just under 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Arizona up 17-5 on Houston with 12:58 left in the third quarter of that one. And then obviously the Bucs up 35-3 over the Bears. So the Bucs with an opportunity to get to 6-1 if they can finish this one off, and we'll see how they come out to start the second half here. But remember, the Bucs will have the ball offensively. If Brady does come out for the start of the second half, running the football, at least it seems like they're going to probably look to do that a little bit.
For sure. I mean, it's now it is time to kill the clock, right? I thought they were a bit too early on that against the Eagles, but I mean, certainly now you can be as conservative as you want. By the way, are you seeing Romo here? And,
I am. Yes, yeah. Romo and Nance talking in the booth, laughing, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
few chuckles.
Okay. And now they're showing the graphic of the first half stats.
Yes. That's just saying. Yep. Cool. 3 for 7 for the Bucs on third down, but 0 for 7 for the Bears on third down, and 0 for 1 on fourth down. So,
I mean, I still think that that Evans throw, the touchdown at the end there, is just so unbelievable from both Brady and from Evans. I mean, Brady just missed that throw, not just missed it, he egregiously missed the throw beforehand, and then comes back on the very next play and makes an unbelievable throw.
Right.
On the move as well, and Evans obviously climbing the ladder.
Yeah, he's going to be very focused on those few misses. So Brady is coming out. $5 super. Yeah. $5 super chat from Brian Shucker here. Brian, we appreciate it. This team continues to win with tons of injuries. Makes it a bit scary if they ever do get all their guys back. Life is good today. Yeah, no question. It is. It's and next week will be a huge test too, especially for the offense. That there have been a lot of uneven movements still over the last couple games, I think. And so I do think this offense, they need to have one of their best games of the season. Brady's back to throw over the middle, OJ Howard, and he's going to pick up 9 yards.
Someone screwed up there.
Yeah. They did.
OJ or Evans, someone did not run the right route. But yeah, that's pretty hilarious. They're just coming out throwing. And what, are they going up tempo?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
People asking, why is Brady playing? I don't know. Reported BA says Brady's going to play the third quarter. Even Brady, if they score here?
Arian said that Brady's going to play the third quarter?
That's what people in the chat are saying. A couple people said that. The reporter said that on the sideline. So we'll see. Okay, there's Fournette for 8 yards, by the way. So out to the Bucs 34-yard line.
This is good for my fantasy
first
team,
and 10.
But
there's Brady, handoff, good blocks up front. Fournette's got plenty of space. Donovan Smith just paving the way, running Roquan Smith 12 yards down the field. That's what Fournette picks up. So 1st and 10 out to the Bucs 46-yard line.
Awesome job there by Donovan Smith, just getting around the edge there. This is what JC's talking about, right? Just a great game, but not only a great game, but great year for the offensive line so far.
Yeah, and threatening teams a little more out toward the perimeter as a run game too. I love that. We're seeing more diversity from the Bucs run scheme. Here's a pull by Ali Marpet. Fournette goes up the middle, but he's going to be met quickly. Kappa couldn't hold his block, it looked like, but a great little pull there.
Yeah, and John, that outside stuff, you and I, been texting about that a little bit, just off the air, like over the last week and a bit. They're running outside zone now, just as much as they're running anything else, or as much as they're running
Last
inside
couple
zone.
weeks.
Yeah. I mean, for the season as a whole now, the way it's averaged out.
Oh, wow. Here's Brady over the middle of the field. Chris Godwin makes the catch. He's going to pick up about 7 yards and be down about a couple inches short, it looks like. So 3rd and 1 coming up here.
And you might wonder as a fan, okay, what's the significance of it? Well, the significance is their primary runs in the past have been inside runs, and now they're adding an outside element of it as like a change of pace, and it also gives you new play action options off of that run as well that you can't do with the other ones.
Wow, Bears broke through quickly there, and Fournette is dropped for a loss, 4th and 2 there, and now the Bucs it's gonna be now. It was 3rd and inches.
I mean, I would go for this.
I would go for it. It's at the Bears' 46-yard line, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like man, coming off the field. So I would have loved to see them go for it as well, just because you're not going to get much from the punt.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless Pinion can pin them, which sometimes he can't. But
yeah.
Maybe the other added benefit is you just don't want to leave but why play your starters at all then if you're not willing to go for it here? I don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, it is 35-3. We'll hit them for it.
No, I mean, I think
Vincent says the play calling is horrible in this 35-3 game. Running Leonard Fournette on 3rd and inches is horrible. I mean, they've got to execute, but I don't know if that's a horrible call. He's running for like 7 yards a carry in this game.
So there, I mean, with the punt, you gain about 25 to 30 yards of field position, which, I mean, it's not a big deal either way. Like the win probability difference is going to be like so negligible because the game is already completely out of hand.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. For it. Yeah.
But if you get up 42-3, you're like, how you keep Brady in the game? It's absurd.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're keeping him in, I'm guessing it's because for some sort of, it's either because you want to see them be sharper, right? Or you're trying to pad his stats. And I think both of those are also reasons to just go for it on 4th down, right?
I don't think there's any way they're padding his stats, but they didn't go for it on 4th down. So.
Yeah,
no.
okay, fair enough. So
that would be crazy, dude.
What do you mean? Like, as that being the reason that they're playing him?
Yeah, it's the NFL. I just
right. So exactly, yeah. So like the more realistic reason is probably that they just weren't happy with the level of execution in the first half, which obviously was really good, but still a few miscues, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know the reasoning, honestly.
Yeah,
he'll say after the game something that doesn't make sense too. It'll be like, "That's our starter." We played 3 quarters, but that wasn't even true last year against the Lions. So
yeah, that's right.
But yeah, wouldn't be what I would say. But Lions lead 19-17 near the end of the 3rd quarter over the Rams. Interesting. Rams having some struggles lately, and the Bucs haven't pulled away from everybody either, I guess. But they've not been trailing very often. The Rams have been trailing a few times in some games that I felt like they should not have been trailing in, but not the Giants game.
Yeah, I was trying to think.
Not that one.
They've only
the
lost
Seahawks game.
They've only lost the one game though, right?
They have only lost one, to the Cardinals,
Yeah, that Seahawks one was that Seahawks one was really frustrating.
Yeah, that one was closer than it should have been, but Cardinals one was ugly. They got wrecked in that one. All right, we'll see what happens here with that game, and we'll update you on other games as they go here too. But now for the Bucs defensively, for the Bears, you have to start like, what's the adjustments? Obviously, you're going to go probably pass heavy, but what at this point, you might as well still run the ball a little bit, right? I mean, it's 35-3. Like, if you drop back every single time with Justin Fields, like, I don't know. Not sure.
Right. I think you can call some draws, right? You can use the run in that way. You can call some screen passes, that sort of thing. You're probably going to get pretty soft coverage for the rest of the way out. Right. Actually, maybe that's what I'm most curious about is how they approach it defensively.
There's Herbert, and he runs for a gain of about 1. Had to stop in the backfield because Vea broke through, and
that was a 4-man rush there. So yeah, I'm really curious. Does Bowles keep sending blitzes, sending a lot of disguised stuff, or does he go more conservative and more vanilla here? What would you do?
I would probably play it a little bit softer and rely on a rush forward just because it's worked so well. Like that's probably what I would do. You don't want to give up something explosive behind a blitz, run after catch, a screen, things like that.
Mix it up on 3rd down, though.
To use those things. I'd mix it up on 3rd down, depending on the situation for sure.
That's pretty much what they've done.
Yeah, here comes pressure from Devin White. They do get the ball out to who caught the ball there? Oh, Marquise Goodwin.
Wanted to say Cordell Patterson?
No, I didn't. I actually thought
okay.
it was Herbert for a second, but I did think it was 84. But Patterson's so much bigger than that guy. Than Marquise Goodwin, who's one of the smallest players in the league. That's a gain of 4, 3rd and 5 now.
So I mean, yeah, it seems
like
the
Bears start trying to go down the field, Paul, like the big shots.
That's the big question, right? Because the Bucs, they are saying we're not going to let you take it. So do the Bears kind of press the issue, or do they kind of stay within the game plan and just try to use this as practice reps?
Right. 5-man rush, quick throw out, and it's going to be an easy first down for Damiere Byrd, who's run out of bounds by Jamel Dean after a gain of 10. So Chicago converts, picks up a first down, now 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this is, again, like this is kind of the thing with Bulls' game plan, right? Like you can do that, fine. It took you 3 plays to pick up a first down. You've shown zero ability to play consistently mistake-free. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So Bulls, the way he's setting this up is you're going to make a mistake at some point. And he's been right.
Right. Here's Justin Fields from under center, going to go play action, back to pass. Wow, looks like a clear hold. Pat O'Connor, the pass is complete. Darnell Mooney beat D. Delaney. I don't see a flag now. That's a 22-yard gain out to the Bucs 43. That looked like a hold to me.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, he's turned. He's got his hands around his shoulders there.
Yeah.
By the way, I mean, D. Delaney overall having a great game, even though he got beat there, right?
Yeah, definitely having a good performance so far. Fields up to 13-20 for 103 yards. Does have that pick and has been sacked 4 times, fumbled twice. Or was it 3 times? I can't even remember. Here's Fields. He quick throw, kind of those jet passes to Herbert, who's going to pick up a big gain. He gets down inside the 25-yard line, knocked out of bounds at the 23 of the Bucs. So he picks up 20 on that, and the Bears offense is rolling all of a sudden here to start the second half.
Yeah, picking up a couple of first downs, a nice little gadget play there.
This is stuff you'll see against the Saints. I mean, the Saints, they got to scheme it up this year, and so this is some stuff that you'll see next week. You're going to see some of this trickery. You're going to see tons of screens, getting the ball out in the flats, letting guys run after the catch.
Remember, Sean Payton.
Saints go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say Sean Payton can win from the sideline as well as anyone.
Yeah, for sure. And here's a run up the middle, and Bucs stop that after a gain of about 2 from Damian Williams. Kevin Minter there to make the stop after Williams tripped up. And so it'll be 2nd and 8 from the Bucs 21-yard line for the Bears. So 8:44 and counting left in the third quarter.
Yeah, so I mean, clearly the Bears, they're not just, they're sticking to the game plan, right? They're still running the ball a little bit. They're still staying patient. They're not just bombs away deep down the field.
Yeah, Herbert has 14 carries for 92 yards in this game.
When was the last time someone had 100 yards on the Bucs?
One person? I'm not sure, honestly. Maybe Minnesota. Was there one? There was a long run in that game. Here's a quick throw out to Komet, and Delaney makes the tackle, but he gives up a couple yards after the catch. So 3rd and 2 from the Bucs 15 coming up for the Bears on offense. And this is obviously 4th down territory, so you could run on 3rd and 2 here just easily.
Yeah, and they are going no huddle. And they've got the Bucs with with Vita Vea off the field. So they want to keep it that way.
Right. Here's Fields from the gun. He's going to drop back to pass. Pressure around his ankles. He gets out and runs. Devin White closing on him. Kevin Minter batted it away at the last second.
What a
floated
play.
That pass. Great play by Minter.
Winfield coming in on the blitz there. Lots of pressure. I'm not sure who the flag is on, but regardless, amazing play by Minter. Great awareness.
And there's going to be a penalty here.
Yeah, it's holding on the offense. Minter had his head to the quarterback, but then was able to turn his head and had the awareness to know where the receiver is, just based on route distribution and kind of figuring it out with just logically, like where would a receiver be based on what the offense is doing here.
Right. And now you've got a 3rd and 12 situation. So accept it, decline it. Interesting. They choose to accept it. I probably would too. 4th and 2. Bears are obviously going. 2 yards is pretty high percentage.
Yeah. Yeah, probably
4th and 12, they might not even go.
Yeah, that's right.
Here we go. Fields back to pass, throws off the receiver's hands, intercepted. Jordan Whitehead gets underneath it. He's going to get up and run with it. Let's see if he was touchdown or not sure, but he's going to cross the 30 and be knocked down at about the 34-yard line of the Bucs. So Whitehead with the pick. That one was off Mooney's hands. He's had a rough one. He's a couple drops for him, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bucs offense with 7.5 minutes left on the third quarter.
And by the way, John, that incompletion would have done it anyway on 3rd down, but that penalty letting Vita Vea sub back into the game, without a doubt, he's helping a pass rush no matter, like, on every play, even if he's not the guy that gets in the backfield. So
yeah, for sure. And that's, again, not obviously he's not saying he's played well, but that's right on the money throw, and that just needs to be caught. Easy catch there. He didn't even have to jump for it, and right off both hands, and obviously an awesome diving catch by Jordan Whitehead, man. That was a great catch.
Yeah, that was. I mean, what a recovery. Yeah, you got to
he had to like kind of lean back and grab it while he was moving to this right. That was impressive.
Yeah. You feel for Justin Fields, right? I mean, it's just he's not in a good situation. And you said this earlier this week to me, like you pointed out the fact that quarterbacks that tend to go high in the draft, I know Fields dropped down a bit and the Bears traded up to get him, but they tend to go to pretty poor situations, right? So there's a bit of a circular effect there. But yeah, I mean, curious to see how he develops in the future. But
yeah, I'm too. I'm very curious. So I'm curious to see what happens in Chicago just in general. Like, is that a spot where, Bowles, I think, was considered for Nagy's staff at one point? Is that a spot where he gets consideration to be a head coach after the season? I could see them going with a defensive-minded, experienced head coach and hoping he can attract an offensive mind. Maybe, we'll see what kind of interest Leftwich gets around, but I think it could be a potential spot for him. It makes sense on a lot of levels to me. I mean, I wouldn't hire head coach, but I think I could see the Bears doing something like that. But
Bowles
for
or
Fields,
Leftwich?
that's just Bowles.
Okay.
Maybe Leftwich too could get consideration there. I just meant Bowles because of they want somebody more experienced. It's been a head coach before. More than anything, maybe they were interested in him before, so maybe he's a guy just that they like up top in that organization because I know Nagy interviewed him for his staff, and maybe we'll see. I mean, Ryan Pace could get fired too. So lots of changes are coming for the Bears, I'm sure, after this season. And what they do will affect whether Fields is probably good or not more than anything. We're seeing that this year across the board, though, right? Like, I mean, you're seeing Trevor Lawrence in a horrible situation. He's been up and down. Trey Lance is in a best situation, but he's the least ready of the guys. He's barely played football, barely played quarterback. People forget up to this point. He needs time. We're seeing Mac Jones clearly in the best situation, and he's doing the best of the quarterbacks, even though he's probably has the least upside of the quarterbacks. Zach Wilson in a horrendous situation as well right now. We'll see if they can figure things out at least. But for the Bears and the Jaguars, they're two teams that probably won't even have these same regimes in place by next year. So just tough spots for Lawrence and Fields especially.
Did you see that first down run, by the way, John?
Yeah, 1 yard for Rojo on first down.
Just making sure we're in sync here.
Yep. 2nd and 9 for the Bucs from their own 34-yard line now. So we'll see what they do. They go into the air still. We're under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. So you're assuming Brady's probably out by the fourth quarter. Quick throws, maybe something we see.
I mean,
we'll see.
I would hope they just keep running it. Oh no, they're going empty.
Nope, empty. Here we go.
Okay.
Empty for Brady. Quick throw. Tyler Johnson breaks the tackle, gets away from him, man, and get a pick up 12 yards. Good play by Tyler Johnson after the catch. He's got a first down as the Bucs move out to their own 46-yard line.
Yeah, great finish there by Johnson. That play had no business gaining that much.
Yep. Corners stop their feet, man. Corners who stop their feet coming up to defend. I'd rather you miss the tackle coming in full speed and slow him down a little bit by getting a good hit on him than I would stopping your feet and letting him move around you or run through you for extra yardage.
Should they still throttle down, John, as they're trying to make the tackle, or would you rather them kind of be full speed?
I think you want to be under control. You don't want to be totally out of control, but yeah, more than anything, I'm not worried. What is Aaron Stinney's out there right now? Is he the extra blocker to Josh Wells? No, Wells is out there too.
So is Kappa
they going huge jumbo. Wells and Stinney were out there, and Stinney gets a hold. So 1st and 20 for the Bucs from the 36-yard line.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you can't really blame the heavy personnel here, right?
No. I don't care about it at all. Stinny's PFF grade is going to be bad though. 1 play, 1 penalty. Well, he'll get in here. He'll get in here later, and he'll get a chance to redeem himself. Here we go. Let's see what happens on 1st and 20. This is one of those 1st and 20 situations. Only time you'll hear me say this all season, Paul. I wouldn't mind running it on this 1st and 20.
Yeah, no kidding.
It just doesn't matter. Here we go. They do run it. Ronald Jones up the middle. He's going to get a healthy gain. Wow, spins out of a tackle.
Nice.
Good run by Rojo.
Rojo looks just explosive, fresh. Did he fumble it? Oh, no.
Bears are saying he did, but I think the officials are saying he's down.
I mean, but these kind of the mistakes have been the reason he's not on the field more, right? Or why he's been off for the last few weeks. So it's just brutal.
We'll see. There's some discussion here, but 2nd and 8 looks like he's coming up for the Bucs. We'll see if the Bears try to challenge something here.
That's going to be a tough one.
We still haven't gotten a replay.
Yeah.
Did you see a replay yet? I haven't seen a replay yet.
No.
Bucs went to the huddle, so they weren't worried about it.
There's just no way there's a good camera angle of that, right?
Yeah, I would say. Ronald Jones is still in the game, by the way. Bucs in heavy personnel still. Wells is out there. Stinny's out there too, I think.
Yeah.
The big dog's up front. 7-0 linemen on the field. Here goes Ronald Jones. Boom! Makes a man miss. Little stiff arm, and he's down to the Bears' 32-yard line, 33-yard line, 19-yard run for Ronald Jones.
John, as we've always said, you got to establish the run.
That's right. We've often said that on the show. This is so funny, though. I mean,
that is specifically about when you're up 30 points.
Brady is on the field in this situation. The Bucs are up huge. You know they're going to run the football, and it just hasn't mattered. We've seen multiple double-digit runs for the Bucs offense in this second half already, and it's just really kind of startling. Here goes Leonard Fournette. He's going to get upfield. Easy big gain. 12 yards, barely even touched on the play.
Just awesome blocking, right? But then also obviously a great job by the running backs to see the lanes and make the cuts when necessary. Everyone is just doing such a great job executing on the ground in a way that we didn't see the first few. I mean, you remember, John, like the first few weeks of the season, this running game looked terrible. And obviously last year wasn't very good. But then these last, what has it been, like 2-3 weeks maybe? Like the run game has really gotten going.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, you see Alex Kappa there mauling Khalil Mack. I mean, that's just not something you see. Here goes Fournette dancing through tackles, getting 8 yards. And what's happened, Paul, that's changed things is that teams are used to the Bucs running inside, and now they are threatening them more on the edges, either outside the tackle or in the B gaps, and that's where more of the primary focus has been. And so that now teams are having to adjust how they play them. And it was kind of what we called for all last year, really diversify the run scheme and see what happens. And as Fournette picks up 9 yards there and gets them in a 2nd and 2.
Yeah, you were calling for that more than anyone. And you know, you're right. Look at how it's worked, right?
Yeah, there's Fournette dancing around a few people, pushes through and picks up 5 yards. So that looked like he was barely going to get the first, and then he kind of kept surging, and now he's down to the Bears 7, 1st and goal.
Two runs in a row where the run blocking didn't make it easy for Fournette, but he still manages to get through anyway, right? Just so again, like it's like if the run blocking is not perfect, then the running backs are making up for it. And you know, when both are perfect, then they're tearing off 15 yards at a time. Just unbelievable. And by the way, the other thing is last year, even when the Bucs faced light boxes and too high coverages, they still weren't good running the ball. Whereas now teams are, again, they're doing that even more against them, right? But the Bucs are actually able to take advantage. That was my biggest gripe last year is, okay, the Bucs, they're saying, hey, light boxes, we got to run the ball. But it's like, if you can't run the ball well, then it's all for naught, right?
Right. Here goes Ronald Jones up the middle, runs into the pile, going to be knocked down at about the 4-yard line. So 2nd and goal from the 4, gain of 3 for Jones.
I wonder if they get down to like the 3 and then just let Brady throw it in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they will. I think they're going to run it. Here's a flag here too, by the way. Well, this could change it. If they get a penalty here, we could see a throw.
People are saying there was a punch. Jensen got punched.
I mean, Jensen instigating stuff is not surprising to me. Oh, he did. He got punched by the little nickel straight up. And he got in his, he got exactly what he wanted. As soon as he did it, Jensen said, yep, he knew it. He knew he got him to go. Toss him. Is it an ejection? Are they calling it an ejection?
It has to be, right?
That's a square punch, man. You can't argue with that one.
Especially in like a blowout like this, like you don't want it to turn ugly. Like just if anyone does anything like that, toss them out.
Right. By the way, JC saying another corner injury. D. Delaney questionable to return. So now the Bucs Jamel Dean's come back, but now the Bucs are without, without other than Dean. Cockrell's out there, so they're without 3 of their initial 5 corners, and then
that's
Richard
so brutal.
Sherman as well. We'll see if Delaney comes back or not.
Delaney, one of the kind of unexpected bright spots, right? Coming off, like he's not one of the starters, obviously, really challenging the depth, and he's been showing out for them.
Yeah. So are they ejecting him? Is that what's happening here? I know he's coming off the field.
Let's see if we can get one of our common YouTube chat people to help us here.
Jensen, man, this is what he does, right? He just draws these mistakes out of people, man.
He's either making the mistake or incurring the mistake. Or
Vortex says he got ejected. Yeah, and it looks like he is walking off the field. So here we go. 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. Brady, quick throw, Mike Evans, and he's going to be stopped immediately, tackled quickly. So get loss of maybe half a yard there. The Bucs they went to that play a lot last year, to be honest. And now it's, that one, Bear sniffed it out quickly.
Yeah, so they have kind of like a stack formation almost, and they have the blocker right in front already in position. I didn't see what happened with the offensive line, but I would have to assume that they were run blocking. I mean, that's just, they do this a ton, right? I already talked about it in the first half, but
Tony says a Bears fan threw up in section 318. Probably watching their offense.
So
Brady
does that mean
timeout?
Oh, Brady.
Looks like Ronald Jones was late getting on the field. It's been a
does that mean we have someone listening while they're at the stadium?
Tony, are you at the stadium? Evans, he said Tony doesn't respond to that, but he says Evans is not good at yak. That one would have been a tough one to be good at yak on. He got drilled as he caught it by a perfect form tackle.
Yeah, look, I'm certainly not arguing that Evans is great at yak, but I think the yak stuff is more scheme than anything. It's just not a yak kind of scheme.
You wouldn't have thought that, but now they lead the league in yak this season. So,
do they lead the league in yak? Really?
They lead the league in yak. The Bucs lead the league. Part of it is volume. They throw more than other teams, but so, not totally more. I mean, it's also not.
A lot of that yak comes from the screen type passes, right? And Evans is not the beneficiary of those,
right? Exactly.
Proportionately as much as say Godwin or a running back.
Yep, I completely agree. It's not how he gets used really, and because it's not his strength, it isn't. I will say this: dude fights like crazy after the catch, like not a juker, not an elusive, not.
Well, you remember that touchdown against the Rams last year?
Right? Yep.
Yeah, that one really sums it up.
Yep. Absolutely. He's always scrapping. He's even there. It took a couple guys to get him down.
Yeah. I mean, he's just. He's so good at what he does, and he's so dominant, and it's so cool the way that the Bucs receivers they have such complementary skill sets to one another.
Yeah, but JC says that Bears fan is good at yak too. Somebody said, was Brady yelling at you, Rojo? I don't think he was yelling at him. I think he was just mad about them not getting the right personnel on the field in time, probably, and just overall execution coming out of a time, or not a timeout, but a stoppage due to the penalty. Yeah. Just hope that they would be better in that spot, I think. By the way, this is probably it for the Bucs offense. So if they hopefully can punch it into the end zone here, but this will probably be the last drive we see from Brady. Do they throw it again? That's my question.
I hope it's Brady to Evans, man. I need it.
4 touchdowns. That'd
be unreal. So Brady has 4, right? And then Evans has 3. So that would be the 4th for Evans. That's insane.
Yeah, there will be a 4th for Evans in this game. He had 4 in the season coming into the game, so he's got 7 on the year now.
Okay. Gotcha.
So here we go.
Okay, so they're gonna motion Gio into the backfield.
Brady under center.
And they're gonna go probably
they're gonna fake the hand up to Gio, and Brady over the middle of the field, incomplete. Oof. That one looked like it was thrown away. Eddie Jackson was all over Godwin.
Nifty little design there looked like.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a creative play. Bears were all over it, though. I didn't see anybody open.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't mind this type of stuff at all at the goal line. I think it's just so hard to stop. Because, I mean, obviously the Bucs have done it a ton They've done it a ton this year, and they've had really smart designs around the goal line with how they've schemed stuff up on these throws.
Right. All right, here's Brady under center. They threw it on first and second down. I'm very surprised by that. The way they were running the football, I just thought we were going to see runs, try to reward the backs. Here's Rojo leaping, didn't get there, got down to the inch-yard line, I think.
I think he might have fumbled
so it's
it.
4th and inches. Did he fumble it?
Or at least one of the Bears was signaling like that, but I think he just meant to say it was short.
Yeah. No, it looks like he held on to it.
Oh, someone did get a good smack on it at the end. It might have come out, but I think Jones just got back on it.
Inches short.
All right, go for it here.
This is sneak time.
Sneak
this is
would be
sneak
good.
time.
I don't see it happening.
You want Brady to get hit? That's the question, right?
Yeah, and they're really getting up in the A gaps there.
Play clock's winding down. Here's Brady takes the snap. Rojo up over the top. I don't think he got there.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians is going to be pissed about that.
Yeah.
Fournette's been pretty good in those situations this season, but I don't know if Rojo had a chance there. He got hit. Yeah, it looked like they washed down Josh Wells and washed down OJ Howard, and then there was just too much congestion. When Rojo had to jump, there was too many bodies in front of him because of Wells and OJ Howard getting blown up.
Yeah. I mean, overall, though, great drive, right? Killed a ton of clock, ran the ball very well. And sure, you didn't score, but obviously doesn't have any effect on the actual outcome of the game. And now you stick the Bears with terrible field position. So overall, certainly a successful drive and when the score is like this.
Right. Yep. I agree. You want to run that clock down and now get Brady out of there. But definitely would love to punch that one into the end zone. And I know they won't be happy with the way that drive ended there. And I know people will probably want to see Fournette in that situation. I don't really know that, especially in the last one, there's no way. Look at what actually happened on the play before you make that comment, because as much as I'll knock Rojo anytime, but come on. I mean, there was no way. Like, he had to jump from as soon as he got the handoff because Wells and Howard just got totally blown up.
There's not really anything a running back can do there.
Right. Even the third down play, like, he jumped and was very, very close, but get hit in midair. It's pretty hard. I just am not sure what else you want Rojo to do in that situation. I mean, I just don't think it's his fault at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely do think Fournette's been pretty good in those spots this year, but that one looked like it was more on the defense making a play. And I would say this: you get in, you throw on first and second, and you do get in a little maybe more of a predictable spot. Well, I wouldn't even say that, because you could still go to the air again on third and short.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just doesn't work out sometimes.
Yeah. I don't have any issue with any of the play calls there. Like the first one, I think it was an RPO and they threw it to Evans. Probably like the look outside, just didn't work out. Second down, they had that design, but just covered well. But again, seemed like a pretty cool play call. And then third down, just not able to punch it in, and fourth down.
Overall, though, running the football in this game, absolutely. It's been great.
Super impressive.
14 carries for 80 yards. Fournette averaging 6.3 yards a carry. 10 carries for 63 yards. For Rojo, averaging 6.3 yards a carry. Darden has 1 for 11 yards. So as a team, 24 attempts for 156 yards and 6.5 yards per carry. And they've scored once on the ground as well. Brady's had one of those lightly used days. He's only thrown for 177 yards because they barely had any yardage to go to score on most of their drives. And so that's made it difficult too. But here's the Bears from deep in their own end. Jason Pierre-Paul breaks through and Devin White breaks through, but they can't get the safety. Herbert leans out, loses a yard for sure. 2nd and 11 now. The Bears are backed up they'll be at their own 1. I think the last play may have been started from the 2 or 1.5 maybe.
Yeah, it looked like they were on the 1. On the 2.
Little end zone sack wouldn't hurt.
No, certainly wouldn't hurt.
Wouldn't hurt anybody.
We need to prep some blowout conversation talking points.
Well, might be what's happening in this Rams game right now. The Lions have a 1st and 10 at the Rams 40 with 8 minutes left. They're down 6, but that could be a little bit of an upset brewing. We'll see.
I should get that game going here as well. So keep an eye on it.
Matt's got most impressive for this game, I think, coming up over at pewterreport.com. So we might see Matt, have a 2,000, 3,000 word article just because who are you going to put on most disappointing for this game?
Right.
I'm honestly not sure.
The one
Scott's,
that
Scott's
the
going
last
to be
one
reaching,
there,
I think.
the
I
last
didn't
one
see
there on the
Scott
list.
say
I
it.
wonder if he gets heat for it. That might be a bit of a controversial pick. I'll have to tune in to read and find out.
Oh yeah, we'll
Right?
see. We'll see.
Well,
It's kind of hard at some points, but let's see here. We got start of the fourth quarter coming. Bucks up 35-3 still, so nobody scored in the third quarter. The Lions are driving. First and 10 at the Rams' 26-yard line. 8 minutes left in that game. See what happens. By the way, Jared Goff in his return to LA, 19 of 30, 244 yards and a touchdown, no picks, has been sacked twice. Stafford against his old team, 25 of 38, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns. Man, doesn't seem like it'd be that close looking at those stat lines, especially considering the Lions haven't. Well, they've run it okay. They've run it all right in this game.
I mean, it would just be so huge for the Bucs if the Lions can pull this one out.
Because the tiebreaker too, especially, and the Rams have to play the NFC West, which you assume they're going to lose 1 or 2 more, and yeah, definitely a harder road for the Rams if they can have a worse schedule than the Bucs. Not worry about the tiebreaker.
And Lions pick up a nice run there, gain of 13, moving the chains.
Yeah. And the Cardinals, by the way, are up 24-5 on the Texans. That's at the end of the third quarter, so Arizona looks like they'll be just fine as they. Davis Mills, 18 of 22 for 99 yards, averaging 4.5 yards. He's 18 completions for 99 yards. He's a
bell cow quarterback.
That's crazy. Don't see that very often.
No.
Philly's trying to make it a game again, but there's not enough time. 33-14, they're down. Here's the Bears offense on 2nd 11 from their own 1-yard line. Herbert going to be back to pass from his own end. Here comes Winfield off the edge. Herbert throwing down the field, way underthrown. Pierre Desir picks it off. Another interception. The Bucs are playing with nobody at DB, and they're still getting picks in this game. This is extremely one-sided.
I'd love to see the replay of that one. I'm really curious what happened there.
D. Delaney and Pierre Desir have picks for the Bucs in this game.
As we all expected.
This is just one of those games that you just laugh about. 5 turnovers for the Bears. 5
turnovers. Unbelievable.
They had 5 all season going into this game, Paul.
Wow. So that's just underthrown badly.
Yeah, that's just
badly underthrown.
Poor Allen Robinson. When's it going to change? He's on the tag this year, right? Maybe he finally gets out of this.
I think so, yeah. Is Brady still out there?
Yep, Brady's still out there. It is the fourth quarter. Bruce Arians is mad they didn't score. Fournette gets 2 yards.
John, I know you're always very well informed with the draft and all the prospects. So how did you have Fields' overall arm talent evaluated?
Arm talent was great. I think the questions with Fields were probably decision making at times, and actually is he quick enough to process and get the ball out in the pocket? Shockingly, in this game, that hasn't been his biggest issue. Is holding on to the football very long. The Bucs got him real quickly for 3 of those sacks, right? Winfield, JPP, and Shaq. All 3 of the strips were immediate. Here's Brady down the middle of the field, caught by Chris Godwin. Did he get in? Down the 1-yard line, it looks like. 34 yards to Godwin. Did he get in?
Man, you would have loved for that to just be a passing touchdown.
Yeah. Oh, that's really close. I don't think anything touched, did it?
I mean, you might as well just challenge it.
They're going quickly here, and Fournette's not going to have a chance. He loses 3. Goal line rushing has been terrible. I'm pretty sure Godwin was in.
I don't see the argument for going up tempo there, right? Why not give yourself a chance to see the replay?
Yeah,
and maybe challenge
it. Speed up at all there. Maybe
that's
you thought you could get the one. I don't understand that one. Not that it matters at this point, but
I mean, I get it in the earlier situation where they had that big throw to Evans and then you want to just catch him off guard. But in this situation where you might challenge it, and also obviously you just want to kill the clock as well.
Britt says his butt did hit. His butt hit down, I think. So that's the official. That's the ruling from the living room.
Cool. All right.
Okay, here's Brady from empty. Okay, 2nd and goal. Quick throw batted down at the line of scrimmage, and he had Brady. He had Brate too.
Yeah, they're trying to
Knocked
make it
out
look
the
like
line
a
of scrimmage.
They've run that a few times in over the season. They're trying to make it look like a pick play where you got two guys breaking in, and then Brate looks like he's cutting to the flat, but then Brate actually fakes that and cuts right back inside, kind of like an angle route would be from the backfield. Just obviously getting batted down at the line of scrimmage, but nice design, like you said, it was there.
I really think the Bucs totally screwed themselves by trying to hurt. I don't understand why they hurried up there. They were not even really ready, I felt like. Here's Brady back to pass again on 3rd and goal from the 4. And that
Same
one's
play.
dropped by Fournette.
Same play, though, up top.
Yeah, he always throws low in that situation. Try and fit it in with the DB closing over your back, and Fournette couldn't get it. 4th and goal, and the field goal unit up.
Brutal. From the 1 yard line.
Yeah, from the one, I mean, I think they just screwed themselves on that first play for sure. I mean, Brade's open on the second play, batted down at the line of scrimmage, whatever it happens. Lenny looked like he should have came up with that one maybe there at the goal line. But, yeah, I don't understand the first down just going fast. I don't even mind the play call, but they just weren't even really ready, set, and lined up. And, a bunch of blown blocks up front because it didn't look like everybody was even on the same page. I don't understand the pace.
And it's interesting that they decided to operate out of shotgun, right? A lot of times it's an under center play action type of situation when you are throwing. So,
yeah.
But I mean, certainly not criticizing it. I mean, like Brate got open, just got batted down. It happens. What can you do?
Yeah, good big one for Godwin too there. By the way, that catch, because he's got 7 for 96 yards now in this one. Puts him over for me on Underdog Fantasy, so I needed that one. Try to get some. Your boy was down ugly this weekend, man. Trying to get them things to hit, and we got Godwin to hit. So the rest are
nice.
The rest are NBA ones. We'll see how it goes tonight. But yeah,
I need that. Man, I need these Brady Evans touchdowns for fantasy. Damn.
Oh yeah. Well, you've gotten a good bit of those today. What are you complaining about?
Oh, I could use some more. I mean, even if Brady got that touchdown on that Godwin one, even if Brady gets the credit for the touchdown, that'd be good for me.
Godwin could use him too. I mean, he's stuck at 2 touchdowns this season. He hasn't scored since week 2, right?
Right.
He's obviously been productive since then, but he hasn't scored since week 2. So he's also looking for this be his second 100-yard game of the season. Is Chris Godwin's looking for. He had 105 in week 1. So he just needs a few more yards, but he probably won't get those now that they're up this big. But yeah, Arians is going to be real pissed after the game though about those. I mean, you and I, we know going 5 for 5 in the red zone in the first half, there's always going to be some level of regression with red zone usually. But yeah, they should be, now they're 5 of 7 and they should be 7 of 7, I think, like in his eyes.
Yeah, I'm glad that you pointed that out though, John, is because overall the red zone execution has still been great. Like even from the 1 or 2 yard line, you're not going to be able to score every single time. So that's a good reminder, just the fact that they were so crisp in the first half. So like you said, there's going to be some regression. You can't sustain that, and still excellent execution down there overall. But at the same time, it's kind of good that and I think you're right. Arians probably will challenge the team about that and will be kind of fiery about it, and hopefully set that bar high and keep trying to hit it week after week, right? Not being complacent and trying to be a truly dominant team. Yeah.
I think this has been, not that any of those plays were his fault, but I think this has been probably Brady's still a good game, but worst game of the season. And he's 211 yards and 4 touchdowns. So with no turnovers.
Yeah. It's either this or the New England one. And I don't think he was bad in that one either.
Yeah, I actually thought he was good in New England. I think he was worse in Philly than he was in New England, to be honest. I thought New England was really good, in my opinion anyway. But as I rewatched
actually, you're probably right. Yeah,
I mean, Philly wasn't a bad game. There was just nothing. Philly just didn't have anything hard to do. Like it was the way Philly played was so absurd that it just made all his throws very easy. I felt like,
and with Philly, he had the turnover worthy throw, which obviously docks him. But yeah, I mean, he just hasn't really had an actual bad game this year. So it's just like, what's the least good?
Right. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, either way, you're talking about a guy who should be at the top of the MVP conversation for sure. And by the way, at home, he hasn't thrown less than 4 touchdowns in a home game this year. I'm pretty sure.
Are you serious? Holy.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, because
people can check me on that, but I don't.
Cowboys, Falcons, Dolphins, and Bears. Yeah.
Yeah. Cowboys were 4. Atlanta was 5. Miami was 5. And now this is 4. So yeah. So, but on the road's been a different story. And so we're going to, as this game gets to the point where it's kind of meaningless what's going on here in the fourth quarter, we'll still call it out anything as we see it, obviously. But, let's talk a little bit about this next week's game, because I think it's going to be one of the hardest games for the Bucs all season, because they have not played as well on the road. They have not played that crisp at all times this season, even in games where they've won by a lot. They can play better. We're talking about by a very high standard here. But the thing is, the Saints have kind of always made things hard for the Bucs. And there's Winfield almost had a pick there, but instead it's caught by Kmet, and Desir will haul him down just across midfield on a throw from Fields. Winfield almost jumped that one.
And next week is in New Orleans, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Next week's in New Orleans, and that's just been a hard place for them. Obviously they got over it a little bit last year in the playoffs, but I would still say the defense made the difference in that one. Lots of turnovers, lots of short fields. It was a game not totally dissimilar to this one, where they looked, kind of off and on offensively. They made enough plays, especially.
I didn't think the offensive game plan was good against the Saints.
No, they ran a ton on first down. Yeah. They got away from a lot of things that worked against Washington. It was probably one of my least favorite offensive game plans of the season.
There was like zero play action, basically.
Right. So, we'll see. Looked like some Devin White got in there for the tackle for loss. Now, Dean's hurt. And the Bucs don't even have other people to be out there right now at DB. So, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, if G. Delaney, who's out for this game now, and Jamel Dean is also now in some pain, you're not going to get Carlton Davis or Sean Murphy-Bunting back next week. You probably won't have Richard Sherman. Like, you're going to have Ross Cockrell. We'll see what Dean's status and situation is. We'll see what D. Delaney is. But you could be – we'll see what happens with Dean. Well, you could be looking at Ross Cockrell, Pierre Desir, Rashard Robinson, Bleedy Ray Wilson, for a huge game against the Saints, who, yes, are the league's, second worst passing attack statistically in terms of passing yards and all that. And we'll see how they look tomorrow night against Seattle, who has probably one of the worst overall pass defense in the league. But I mean, at some point, how do you even recover from this many? If Dean and Delaney end up being out, and Dean is in some pain here now with his arm, and he's going to walk off, but he looks like he's definitely in some pain as he comes off the field. But how do you even weather all these blows at corner? Because you could be looking at a situation where Cockrell's the only one of your top 5 corners that plays next week.
Yeah, just that would be unbelievable. I mean, really, really poor luck in that regard. But
we should also say this. I don't get Jamel Dean's a young player, whatever, but look at your corner situation. He should not be in a 38-3 game. You need him. Like, you just need him. It doesn't matter what. Bears could score on every pass that they throw the rest of this game. They're only going to get a couple more. They're not going to win this game no matter what. You just don't need him out on the field.
But do they even have the players to put out there?
Yeah, Rashard Robinson, Bleedy Ray Wilson. Is Bleedy up? I don't know if he's up, but Rashard Robinson's here. So, I mean, you have enough bodies technically, but even if you're putting in backups at corner, you got to do it in this situation, I feel like. Yeah. I mean, especially with Dean. I mean, he's your top guy undisputably right now, Yeah,
that's a good point.
And here goes Cockrell. Oh, no, sorry, Jordan Whitehead flying in to drop Khalil Herbert in the backfield for a loss of 1. Great play by Jordan Whitehead. He, again, is having another really good season for the Bucs and getting himself a nice contract for the offseason, too. Been great in run defense, got the diving pick, been pretty stingy in coverage this year.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, I'm curious what the Bears' rushing stats are now for the game. Have they kind of they must have balanced out, right?
I'll check them in a second here. Here goes Justin Fields back to pass. Pressure coming up the middle. Devin White. Jordan Joe Schwenka almost caught it, but Herbert caught it instead. Vea knocks him down. He'll lose.
I don't know how he doesn't come down with that one.
Yeah, it looked like JTS could have picked that one. I'm curious to see if Devin White tipped this after it was thrown, or I think he did. He tips it or did he hit it before Fields' arm came forward? That might be a sack for Devin White. Might be his first of the year. And Fields is just, his arm was coming forward, I think.
Why is Fields still in the game, right? Like, he
on the sideline. Herbert caught it, didn't he? I don't know what happened on that.
It looks like they're counting it as a sack.
Sack, fumble, but the ball goes up in the air, and here's Fields. Vea's going to get him. No, he got away from Vea. Vea still gets credit for the
he just slides down.
Tackle there, but he got 1 yard, Fields did, so no sack for Vea.
I certainly don't blame Fields. Like, he just looked totally dejected on the sideline, right? Like, kind of looked over it, which is totally understandable. So, like, why put him back in? Why risk injury or anything like that for your future franchise guy?
Gotta learn. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes
It's
no
just
sense to me.
Yeah, when the pass rush is doing as well as, or is playing as well as they have, I don't see why. And now it looks like Brady's definitely not going to come back with he's got the cap on.
We'll see Blaine now. Pat O'Donnell back to punt for the Bears on 4th and 16. Chicago's waving the white flag. Darden saying away, away, away. And Blaine Gabbert might start this thing. Ooh, he stepped on the end line. What are they going to say here? Where's this ball going? Did he come back in? I think he reestablished himself in the field of play. So the Bucs are going to start from deep in their own end with Blaine Gabbert. Now we'll see the true magic of Blaine Gabbert. What does he do here? This is really where, Scott is tuned into the game, trying to figure out what's happening. Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah,
Trask is active. Is Trask active today?
That would be surprising, right? That would be the first time this season.
Yeah. What happened with the Lions? They blew it?
So the Rams have the ball. They're still up a touchdown.
Did the Lions blow it?
It looks like it.
Oh, Goff was picked by Ramsey at the Rams 12.
Damn.
Oh, Jared Goff.
Oh, man.
Oh, a chance to show him up, and you couldn't do it. Wow.
You got to just feel bad for the guy at some point. Like,
hate to see it, Jared. My boy Gabbert. Matthew Sam says, my boy Gabbert. This is Scott's boy Gabbert. Scott's the big Gabbert fan. He's the one talking that trash. No, are they going to take this ball to the 20? I think they're taking this ball to the 20. Did they say he did not establish himself back in the field of play? We'll see. The app says it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 20.
Okay. Lions got a huge 3rd and 1 stop. But
they're going to get the ball back?
Well, it's going to be 4th and 1 from the Lions' 31-yard line. So either the Rams end it by going for it, or they make it a 8-point game.
9.
9-point game. Yeah,
9
sorry.
Yeah, so it'll be over. So they'll kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Block it. Block it, Lions.
Yeah.
Get your big dogs up front.
Block return for a touchdown. You can do it.
We need like a Gabbert intro video, like a big dramatic Gabbert video to run on the show.
I'm surprised we don't have one.
Me too.
We would have played it like 4 times already today and gotten burned.
Yeah. I would think it's true. I would think that Scott would have asked Casey to make one special for this game.
Oh man.
Well, next week's not going to be as easy for the Bucs as we know, Paul. I mean, I think offensively they're going to have to be even more crisp in this one. It's hard because they obviously they are going to start from their own 20. By the way, Keyshawn Vaughn's in the game too. By the way, so we got Ryan Jensen still out there. Kappa's still out there. They might not have enough O linemen to.
But it is super encouraging to see the Bucs win in a blowout against both the Dolphins and the Bears, as they should. Right? I mean, we weren't able to really blow out the Eagles, but I kind of still count it as a blowout because of how much they were up early and then just kind of, chilled out. And that's what you want to see, right? From a dominant team, you should be really pounding the crap out of bad teams, not barely winning. And that's exactly what the Bucs have done. So it's awesome, man.
Right.
Next week, I'm not expecting a blowout. Like, if the Bucs can win any which way, it'll be definitely a great win.
This is very weird. The Bucs full offensive line is still out there. But Keyshawn Vaughn's out there and Deion Yelder's out there. But Chris Godwin's still in the game. He makes a catch, gets a great block from Wirfs, and he's going to have 100 yards. He gets chased down from behind. He gets 15, and he goes over 100 yards. So now get him out of the game.
Yeah, get him out of there.
Yeah, just what are we doing, man?
Because it would be such a season-changing injury if any of these guys got hurt.
It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. But Godwin does get his 100 yards, and so he's at 8 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. Evans with 6 catches, 76 yards and 3 touchdowns. And this is really the least Brady's probably spread it around in a game. Tyler Johnson has 2 for 16 Fournette 2 for 9, and OJ Howard 1 for 9. Bernard 2 for 5. Brate had 4 targets, but it didn't connect on any of them.
Good. I mean, you get it to your good players.
Yeah, that's right. Vaughn finds the hole, gets out of a tackle, and picks up about 7 yards. So 2nd and 3 coming now. And the Bucs offensive line been unbelievable today, and I really hope they get the starters out of there because, I mean, did Khalil Mack play in this game? Like we haven't even talked about him.
Haven't said his name once. Yeah,
erased.
I think he's there one-on-one with Wirfs in the example they just showed on this deep pass to Evans, and Wirfs just totally erased him.
Yeah. Tried to tell people it was pretty close last time, that battle. People only remember the one play, and that's how it is with O-line play. But Wirfs played pretty great last time too, as he pretty much always does. Here's Gabbert, handoff to Vaughn, and he's going to pick his way. And okay, Vaughn, some decent feet there to get 2 yards. Dion Yelder's out there as a blocker right now. I'm screaming to get guys out of the game. I am now imploring the Bucs coaching staff. Please put Josh Wells and Aaron Stinney into this football game.
I know you want to play those guys all the time in the middle of the game and take Antonio Brown off the field throughout all these weeks. How about put him in now?
Doesn't make any sense, man. Like, what are we doing? Brady's watching the whole thing, saying, these are my guys. If one of these guys gets hurt, still Marpet, still Smith. By the way, they don't have enough O-line to take everybody out active anyway. Here's Vaughn, big gain, breaking some tackles, stepping out of a few tackles, all the way down to the Bears' 37-yard line. This is going to be the best rushing day for the Bucs offense in a long time. Yeah, I mean they're up to 183 yards on the ground right now. Over 6 yards to carry.
Could you imagine if they became a consistently really good running team? I mean, that would be so unfair. But
in a word, no.
Yeah, true. But my only concern would be that if they became too run heavy, even more so than they are now on first down.
Yeah.
But But I mean, overall, I mean, they have actually, the way the stats have bared out, they've been a really good running team so far this year.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go. Gabbert going under center. They're not letting him throw much, man. The quick screen to Godwin, that was about it. Here he goes, Vaughn, the handoff, and he gets devoured. Loss of 1 for Vaughn on the play. So 2nd and 11 coming up. And now we're going to get to see Blaine uncork it, right?
I would think so. I mean, if
they're just trying to run clock, I don't know.
Well, I mean, they had the pass to Godwin earlier on 2nd down. So if you're going to do it then backed up on your own side of the field, you're certainly going to do it now.
Maybe Godwin I think he just wanted 100 yards there. That was the reason. Right.
Yeah.
Look at Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, 8 catches, 201 yards. There was a lot of conversation, Paul, at that time that the Bengals, they got a lot of criticism for not drafting Penei Sewell, the left tackle from Oregon. And I just didn't understand it. To me, Jamar Chase was clearly the better prospect and player, and I'm glad to see he's playing well. Gabbert gets out of a sack, flips it underhand, caught, but for a very short game by a short loss, half a yard loss to Dion Yelder. So 3rd and 11 coming up.
The big thing I'd heard about Chase so far is that he was getting free releases off the line, and that might have been a part of why he's had so much success. But today, the Ravens pressed him. They pressed him a ton, and he still just burned guys all over the place. It was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who was that you're saying, Chase? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, I agree with you. People said that. I think it's just because he overpowered guys in college, so they thought it won't work in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, everybody's learn how to get off press in the NFL, man. It's a different beast than college. And his season at LSU that was unbelievable. He faced like every top corner in college football in press man coverage all season long and roasted everyone. So
gotcha.
Yeah. It was always going to be there for Chase, in my opinion. There's an incompletion to Jalen Darden. Gabbert threw a little high for the diminutive Garden, and Darden, and it's 4th and 11 from the Bears' 38-yard line here. What are you punting? I guess analytics people will lose it.
I don't. Will they?
Probably not that situation.
Come on, John. Don't give them Don't give the analytics people a bad name to our viewers.
I'm just saying, does this go under Arians? Should have.
No way. And especially not on the 1% statistic. Okay, yeah.
35 up 35 in the 4th quarter. Yeah. Oh man, a good punt by Pinion. It bounced the wrong way.
I took your bait, John. I fell for it.
Yeah. Still down at the 14-yard line. So next week, let's talk about it a little bit, Paul. the Saints, they've just presented a huge challenge for the Bucs because of the way
Yeah.
that they play defense. They have one of the elite center fielding safeties in the game, and Marcus Williams, in my opinion. His range allows them to play single high more than most teams against the Bucs and get away with it a little bit. They also have one of the best run defending slot players in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And so, yeah, that makes it a tough challenge. And then you flip the script and you say the one thing the Saints have not done well this season is throw the football. They haven't done that well at all this year. But now you face if you have a secondary that has 5 corners out, all of a sudden it gets a little bit tougher. Here's Devin White. Did he get a sack there? What happened? Justin Fields, where did he step out?
But yeah, John, going back to what the Saints are doing, they have been a very cover one heavy team, even going back to last season. But think about what they did in the playoffs against the Bucs. They played a ton of 2-man. They were just saying, we're going to play man, and we're going to also have safety help over top. And that's why the Bucs kind of, I say, fell into the trap of running it, I think, like 19 times on neutral first downs and passing it only 4 times. And it was not successful whatsoever. They put themselves in a ton of third downs and difficult downs over and over again. So I don't see the Saints changing that. I think they're going to continue with that 2-man plan. My question is, do the Bucs approach it differently, or do they just execute better in the run game? Because if they can do either of those things, I think that could really help them out a lot, because I don't think what they did last time would work.
I agree. And the Saints have been a really good run defense this season. They're actually right up there with the Bucs. Probably after this game, the Saints will be the top run defense. We'll see what Seattle does tomorrow night, but good chance the Saints are the top run defense. These will be the top 2 run defenses probably in the NFL going against each other next week between the Bucs and the Saints. And I mean, the Saints are going to try to run the football, and they're also going to be creative about the way they get to those, whether you call it running the football or short passes, screens, swing passes, design jet, they do all kinds of stuff, motions. And Sean Payton's going to be creative, and then he'll dial up 2 or 3 deep shots, and you have to be ready for them. And you have to not be asleep when they happen, because those are ones Jameis can hit. I mean, they've hit a couple this year, and they've been wide open, very similar to the one in the playoffs that Jameis hit. But so they're not, doesn't take that much to hit them, but schematically you got to stay on your spots for sure as safety. So that's going to be a really hard game no matter what the Saints look like against Seattle. They could lose that game, and I still think it's going to be a very hard game. We'll see how the Saints end up looking health-wise, but that's just a big challenge. Dennis Allen understands how to play against the Bucs. We're going to get a great feel for how much the Bucs offense has evolved. Good for the Bucs that it's not. I think it's good for them. It's not a night game, and so it feels like that is kind of whenever there are night games, they just end up playing a little bit sloppier. But the fact that it's on the road still and against the opponent that's played them tough and is going to be looking for some revenge, and honestly going to be looking to get in the conversation for the division. If the Saints beat Seattle tomorrow night, and they beat the Bucs, they'll have the same records, right? Or the Saints had a bye, right? So I don't know how that factors in, but good chance the Saints would have the tiebreaker, I'd feel like, right, at that point.
Yeah, I can't remember what the record is and stuff like that, but definitely going to be a tough game. And yeah, like you said, on offensive side of the ball, they do a lot of they have a lot of that gadgety type of stuff, and they really do force their defense to communicate well. I mean, I think about last season, they induced miscommunication multiple times. There was that one playing the 38-3 game. I might have been the first touchdown where they faked a screen, and then they had 2 guys just streaking up the field. Bucs cornerbacks didn't communicate it well. Guy just wide open in the back of the end zone, and Breeze just lofts it up. So lots of stuff like that, lots of misdirection, lots of deception. And when you have guys that are coming off the street to play cornerback, I mean, obviously that's a huge challenge. But end of the day, the Bucs are clearly the better team overall, and they should be able to get it done. There's really no excuse.
I agree. I mean, it's one of those situations to me where they need to be able to prove that they are better than they were last year, especially when it comes to a team that gave them issues last year, whenever they played, offensively at least. And they need to be able to prove that in that game, I think. And I think that's really important for them, especially going into the bye week, that they win that game. And like you said, they're just the better team, period. And so I think that really matters in this one. So it'll be interesting coming back for that game. By the way, I would guess, this is a guess, we'll see. We don't know really a whole lot about what's going on with Antonio Brown. We know he finished the Eagles game on the sprained ankle. And I think Ian Rappaport that said this week that he doesn't think that he hasn't heard anything like that. It's very serious with Antonio Brown. So you'd hope he could be back maybe.
Because that would be huge. right? When you're playing a ton of man coverage, we've talked about this plenty. It would be huge if AB's able to get out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. He is one of the big difference makers for a game like that, especially because the Saints can match up pretty well across the board. They can play multiple coverages. They're a little bit deeper in the secondary. So yeah, no question, he needs to be out there, I think, for the Bucs. And Gronkowski, you'd hope again he could be back. The Bucs have been hopeful with him. He was running on the side. Devontae David, you'd hope if they can get David and Gronk and AB back, I think that it helps a lot, obviously, against that team. But the other part of it is, Paul, that you're talking about a secondary for the Bucs that even in a best case scenario, you've got Dean and Delaney out there in a best case scenario, because it's not going to happen with Carlton Davis or Sean Murphy Bunting yet. And I don't think it happens with Richard Sherman yet. So either way, you're looking at, Pierre Desir, D Delaney, Jamel Dean at best, maybe. And Delaney was ruled out of this one. So we'll see what happens. But God, I think he's at least probably going to be questionable this week. We'll see what goes on with Dean. But I mean, it's not far-fetched to think that you could have Pierre Desir, Ross Cockrell, and Rashard Robinson out there at corner.
Yeah.
And
that
Ray Wilson,
line,
who was signed a week ago, could be your fourth guy.
And that Saints offensive line is a lot better than this Bears offensive line.
Oh,
right? So
right.
It's not as if the pass rush is going to be able to help you out as much as they did today, because they made life a lot easier for the secondary. So certainly a huge test.
Yeah, nice little shot of KJ Britt wiping out, trying to chase down Justin Fields. Athletes are a little bit better in the NFL. KJ Britt, he just bit it trying to chase down Fields on that scramble. Bucs do have a lot of backups in the game now here as Fields goes out of bounds with 33 seconds left. Bears trying to get some garbage time yards, trying to get in the end zone. They take a shot here? We see a shot?
I think so. I mean, nothing makes sense at this point, right? Like, why is Fields even out there? So I have no idea how to predict anything. But they're going empty with
the second half, right? I don't think.
I think that's right. Yeah. So Bears, what they did there is becoming so common in the NFL this year. I mean, a lot of teams are doing it with running backs on a tight end. There, they did it with, I think, 2 tight ends where they go up and empty, but they have both guys on the line and chipping with help. So, and the Rams did that a lot, and that's why.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, the Bears just called timeout, dude.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to get those reps in. But yeah, typically when you think of empty, it's all quick game stuff, right? Because you're in 5-man protection, you have to get the ball out quickly. But the Rams, like, they're one of the teams that they've been able to really attack down the field out of empty, and that's how they've done it, is with that chip help. It's certainly not a new thing, but it's picking up. It's becoming more trendy.
Right. Yeah. And with the Bucs, I mean, you've got to kind of do that a little bit more, right? I mean, you've seen teams max protects more against the Bucs just because of how much they send pressure. They send it more than any other team in the league. So
yeah,
it's super valuable time out here for the Bears, man. Super valuable. 23 seconds left.
There's some chat in the Bucs or in the chat about Brady having an average game. I don't agree at all. I think the low completion percentage is a nod to the defense. I mean, despite the score, they actually did have a lot of reps with really strong coverage back there.
Yeah. For the Bears, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you completely.
I think basically I'm just saying, like, the completion percentage is more a product of that than Brady's misses. I think they're only 2 bad misses in my opinion.
Yeah. That one, Grant Stewart did not get. I don't think he got that guy on the ground, but that's going to be the final score anyway. Ref said, no, we've done it. We've had enough. We're not going to let you call timeout again. 38-3 is the final. Bucs win pretty decisively. They keep the Bears out of the end zone. 38 points and the 4 touchdown passes for Brady and the big game for Evans. People talk about that, gotten over 100 yards, and it all matters. But for the defense, man, this was exactly what I thought they needed. They needed the game to get their mojo back, to get their confidence back. This can't be the Bucs offense just carrying this team all game long, all season long. Like, they've got to get a little bit more from the defense. Finally got that, obviously. Very banged up and still able to come away with this performance. Great job by Todd Bowles. It's great stuff all around. And hey, we're going to be on the Pewter Report post-game podcast, breaking it all down. I'm excited for that. That'll be in about 30 minutes or so. We'll probably start that around 8 p.m., the post-game podcast. I'm going to set up the stream now. Scott's going to send me over the graphic for it. I'll set up the stream now, and you guys can jump in there and get ready for the post-game podcast. We'll bring all the Pewter Reporters through. And we'll make sure everybody gets their takes in there. We'll get our game balls up. We'll get all that stuff going on the post-game podcast. Looking forward to it. Excited for it. Thanks, everybody, for jumping in the game day stream. Bucs win 38-3, and we'll catch you on the post-game podcast.